NFL without the bad calls. I think Cincinnati's 0-4 right now.
Right. 1-3, their only win against your Rams, and you feel like the Rams should have won that game.
I do, yeah. I mean, there were a couple of really questionable calls. Rams had every opportunity. Cincinnati in a 1-3 hole in that division with Baltimore, Pittsburgh and Cleveland, still not sure, but that's really behind the eight ball early on.
A lot of Pittsburgh, I guess, depends on the Pickett injury and the severity of that. But
they're better without him, so with him being out, that's going to help them win games?
I guess. I mean, Trubisky's is it Trubisky's their backup? Is that who came in? Who came in for them?
I wasn't watching. 15 completions, 115 yards for Pickett in that game. 29th in the QBR this year for Kenny Pickett.
Okay, Bryce Young has got the deck stacked against him. His offensive line is terrible. But I am blown away what I'm seeing with C.J. Stroud. And then Anthony Richardson yesterday, watching him against the Rams. Yep. I was like, I'm excited he's back in that lineup because I think he'll play a bad game. He was fantastic in the second half. He is a much better player in the NFL than he was in college.
For those that don't know, C.J. Stroud's the quarterback of the Texans. They won again yesterday. Nobody, I think, had the Texans with a better record than the Bengals right now. 2-2 for Houston, and Stroud already throwing for 1,212 yards in 4 games. Impressive outing from that second-round pick. And D'Amico Ryan saying afterwards, this is the way I envisioned the Texans playing football when he took the job, the former Alabama linebacker. Nick Saban at the top of the hour. Monday Night Football tonight on our video platforms. We'll kick you off with our Monday Night Football. You can get plays at lanceslock.com. You've got to play on the game, so I want to ask you, how do you think tonight's game goes? Can the Giants hang in there? Can they make a game of it?
I mean, I don't know. This is a yucky game. Yeah, I mean, I think in New York the Giants can make a game out of it. I don't know. I mean, it's a tough one to handicap here. I thought Geno Smith, there's no way he could do this year what he did last year. There are times where he has. There are times where he hasn't. Which Geno Smith are you going to get? Which Daniel Jones are you going to get? I mean, it's kind of a yucky game. I guess if you made me lean, I'd lean Giants here, but I don't have a strong feeling.
Yeah, I mean, Seattle's a 2.5-point favorite. They have never lost at MetLife Stadium, 5-0, which is interesting. And they're 28-12 all-time on Monday Night Football. They've won 70% of their games on Monday Night Football.
That's pretty good. Yeah. I wonder who's the best record ever on Monday Night Football. I mean, 70% would feel like you probably are.
I think the Steelers have got to be up there, though.
Yeah.
Always good in primetime.
Yeah.
Raiders used to be really good on Monday Night Football back in the day.
Well, that was a wild game yesterday, them and the Chargers. I mean, every game the Chargers play is a wild game. But the Chargers do a bonehead play. They turn it over. They get bailed out by their defense, get an interception. Then they're facing 3rd and 10. Rather than run it and force the Raiders to use a timeout, they go deep, and it worked.
Oh, it did. To Josh Palmer, yeah.
I know. It's just crazy, some of the calls that they make. None of it makes any sense. But it's probably going to be enough to, again, make them what they always are as a team that's fighting to go to the playoffs over the last couple of weeks.
Seattle has the best winning percentage. Pittsburgh's number 2.
And this is a Monday Night Football history, huh?
Yep. Pittsburgh's 2, San Fran's 3, KC's 4, and the Raiders are 5.
Yeah, 5. A lot of games over the years for some of those teams, not as many for the Seahawks. They didn't come around until the mid-'70s after they'd already played 6 or 7 years of Monday Night Football. Nick Saban's news conference coming up next. The new AP poll came out yesterday. Still the same 5 teams getting first-place votes, but Georgia lost a lot of theirs. They lost 20 of their first-place votes. They've got 35 now. Michigan's got 12. Texas has 10 as Georgia, Michigan, Texas go 1, 2, 3. Ohio State's got 1 at number 4. Florida State is in at number 5. They've got 4 first-place votes. Penn State, Washington, Oregon, USC, Notre Dame round out the top 10. Alabama is number 11. And much more college football coming up. As you see the AP poll there, Forrester has it up. Louisville sneaking in. They get Notre Dame this weekend up at Cardinal Stadium. All right, when we come back, after a quick little hiccup at the top, you'll get Nick Saban's news conference from over in Tuscaloosa. Tide Nagy's this weekend. Thanks to Champy's Chicken, who brought you this hour. Highway 119 in Alabaster. Stop by and see Sterling and the crew. Until next time, God bless you and God bless America.
Start your day online with our website, nextroundlive.com. The latest videos, podcasts, and college football stories. It's also a great way to stream the show or shop in the Next Round store. Stay connected by visiting nextroundlive.com. That's nextroundlive.com.
Follow Rockstar on Twitter at RockstarBHM. Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown, and Rockstar. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, the next round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
So much good stuff on the show today, including Brandon Marcello, who slides back in with us at 10:25 Central Time, Hour 2, to talk about everything going on in college football. We've got some numbers from Sunday Night Football to talk about a little bit later on. And, of course, the start of the baseball playoffs. But no Braves until the weekend because you guys are just that good. But we want to start with what went on first down at the Monday Morning Quarterback Club yesterday. Emily Grace McWhorter, our reporter down there from the next round, covering that event. And when I saw you guys all talking about it in the chat and on our social platforms, I didn't know what the hell Hugh was talking about yesterday.
I don't think he does.
I don't know that Hugh did.
Yeah. So let's let you hear the sound, and we'll get the reaction from the guys who have been following this a lot closer than I have all afternoon and into the evening, into the morning. But down at the Monday Morning Quarterback Club in Birmingham, it's a tradition, off week for Auburn and Alabama coaches. They come and speak to these great businessmen and women who have been doing this since 1935, somewhere around there, with the Monday Morning Quarterback, giving a lot of money to charities. And Hugh Freeze is there to talk, football, answer some questions. And he goes down this rabbit hole pretty quickly.
Well, I mean, the game has changed, and I don't know that we coaches have the power to do anything to really slow the changes down. And obviously the conference realignment has happened within our conference, and I'm pretty confident that the SEC is pretty solid on where we are, and I think they'll enjoy the new rivalries when they get to see Texas and Oklahoma, and among the great rivalries that we already have in our conference. And there'll be some I'll miss playing Georgia every year because I just got to experience it for my first time, and I loved every minute of it other than the outcome. I loved competing against those type teams, and so there are some changes coming.
Okay, so he says that about Georgia. And Brownie, you're reporting when you talked to some folks around the SEC scheduling. What did you find out?
Well, Scott, I was recording with Peter Burns, The Burnout, which you can get at Disrupt the Media on YouTube. And when I got done, Scott said, "Hey, you got a second?" I said, "Yeah." He goes, "I want you to come listen to something." So I was curious, and I walked back there, and I heard that soundbite, and I looked at Scott like, did he really just say that? Because he said it so definitively. I'll miss Georgia. I'll miss playing Georgia, man. I just got that one game, loved everything about it. I mean, I was like, that is news to me. So we sent it out, and pretty quickly, a few people that are absolutely 100% in the know on this stuff reached out to me and said, "I don't know what Coach Freeze is talking about, but I can definitively tell you there have been no scheduling decisions for the SEC made beyond 2024. And to some of those that would even know this, I reached back out and said, when you say no definitive schedule decisions, you're talking about like 8-game, 9-game, one opponent, permanent versus 7, rotating 2-6, 3-5. What was the other one? There were several I asked, and the answer was all the above. In other words, nothing has been decided.
What we know in 2024, we've seen that schedule, and they protected the rivalries even with only 8 games, and that includes Auburn and Georgia. Nothing beyond 2024, as Brown is saying. I do believe that is sort of the threat that if for the folks who want a 9-game conference schedule, I do think that is the threat they hold out there, that you'll only have one rivalry game that is protected. Everything else will have to rotate through to get everybody playing everybody on the regular basis. So obviously it'd be Auburn and Alabama. So I do believe that is a threat that is out there, that if you guys don't come along with us who want to be 9 games, you're going to lose games like Auburn, Georgia, Alabama, Tennessee on the reg.
Yeah, I can see that. I think ultimately we're going to have the 9-game conference
Me
schedule
too.
Anyway. I think Hughes just caught up in the moment. Really good game on Saturday, coming fresh off that rivalry, and that was, his last image was playing Georgia, so I just think it kind of came out there. I mean, it was definitive. There's no doubt.
Yeah, it wasn't like, say we lost Georgia. I would hate losing Georgia. I mean, it was like, I'm going to miss playing Georgia. So he said it so definitively. you know how busy coaches are, right? That coaches, they probably, they got 8 billion things going on. Hugh's trying to recruit his way out of this hole. He's just gotten past Georgia. He's having to, do his part to break that game down. He's got a bye week, so this is a massive recruiting week for Auburn, massive on the bye week. He's hitting all these speaking spots, but he's also going recruiting. And you could see that somebody's like, hey, Coach, I just need to fill you in on something real quick. We got the 2025 schedule. Good news, no Georgia. Georgia's pretty good right now. We're going to replace them with Vandy. So, I was just going to let you know that. And, heck, a coach like that could think, oh, okay, well, that's been announced. I can openly talk about it, right?
Yeah. Well, look, I haven't seen these comments. I assume this is a follow-up.
Yeah, we need to get to this. It's the follow-up down in Mobile. Simone Sessions, who, a friend of the show, is a sports anchor, director down at the CBS affiliate Channel 5 down there. And this is after Birmingham. He goes to Mobile to speak down there. As Brown says, he's recruiting. He's making these speaking appearances, and he's down at their First and 10 club. And Simone and company says, hey, in Birmingham, you said this. So here's what he says.
Let's really clarify that statement. I have no clue what's going on with future schedules. That hasn't come to the coaches at all. What I totally meant by that was there's a lot of great rivalries in our conference, and there's new teams coming, and I think it's going to be exciting brand of football for people to see Texas. But should there be years where you're not playing some, that would be, I'm sure disappointing to some people from certain years. But I have no clue what the future scheduling is, nor has it been discussed with us as coaches. I know what next year's is, and that's as far as I know. So I was using a hypothetical, and certainly hope everybody clears that up.
Yeah. So thank you, Hugh,
Yes.
on the 6 minutes into the show as we clear that up. Just so you know, Georgia and Auburn started playing in 1892. They met 128 times. The only times they have not met, they played in 1892, and football was so new. I'm not sure they knew the sport was going to continue. So in 1892, they had not scheduled to play in 1893, so they didn't play in 1893.
Yeah, and apparently in 1892, Georgia had Auburn-like quarterbacks because they were shut out in that.
So they didn't play in 1893 because they didn't, hey, what
They didn't know this was going to be the Deep South's oldest rivalry.
Oh,
right?
do we play again?
Yeah.
Is that we can play each other again? So they did in 1894. They didn't play again in 1897 because Georgia disbanded their team halfway into the season.
Wow.
They suck so bad, we're not going to finish this year. So they disbanded.
Sad times.
The only other times they didn't play were because of world wars. In 17 and 18 because of the great one, the first great one, and then in 1943 in World War II. Other than 1893 because they didn't know we were supposed to reschedule these games, 1897 when Georgia literally took their ball and went home, and then World Wars in 1917, 1918, and 1943. Georgia and Auburn have played every year. Every year.
Yeah, it is, and it's why they call it the Deep South's oldest rivalry. The reason they call it the Deep South's oldest rivalry is it's not the South's oldest rivalry. I don't know if you guys know which one that is.
North Carolina and Virginia.
North Carolina and Virginia, very good, Jim, who date back to that same time, 1892. It was a big year in college football, apparently.
Yeah. Only 8 months separate those two games, and they're actually tied on the number of times they played now.
I would say there are a handful of games you have to protect moving forward in the Southeastern Conference.
Yeah, and
this is one of them.
Yeah. I would say for Auburn, Alabama, and Georgia are the only ones that are for sure protected.
Yeah, but there are a handful of games throughout the conference you've got to protect if you're Greg Sankey in the Southeastern Conference and the presidents and the ADs and all that. And this is on that list. If you start to make the list, it's not a real long list, really. I think you can get away with less than 10 games that you actually absolutely 100% have to protect. But that is certainly on the list right there, Auburn, Georgia. And that was everybody's reaction. Like, there is no way the SEC would move forward without this game. Now, then you got a lot of also, college football's quit listening to us fans. They don't care about us fans. It's all a money grab now. It's all about money. You got to stop and think. Part of the money grab is keeping rivalries like this. The money grab is based on TV ratings.
That's right.
And when you have games, for instance, I just saw the numbers. Number one in TV ratings this week, 7.5 million, I think it was. You know who it was.
Yeah, Georgia and Auburn.
No, USC and Colorado.
No.
It's Colorado every week right now.
Yeah, every week.
Until they play on the Pac-12 network Saturday. Number two was Georgia and Auburn.
Yeah.
So the only thing that beat
How
Georgia
close
and
was
Auburn. Give me two. 7.2 million for USC at Colorado, 6.4 million. It's about 800,000 total viewers. between those two games.
When number one's in trouble, man, people will tune in to watch.
There's no doubt that was a good game.
Hey, I'm looking at 1896, though, Georgia-Auburn. Reynolds Tickner's brilliant punt returns. They called him Tick.
Oh, Tick?
He weighed 116 pounds, and he had multiple punt returns. What would happen to Tick in today's game?
Tick would get cut in half.
Yeah, he was.
116 pounds.
Georgia, by the way, why Hugh had a smile on his face when he was talking about I'll miss playing Georgia, has won 7 straight against Auburn, and Auburn's only won 4 of the last 20 meetings with the Georgia Bulldogs. It's swung a little bit in Georgia's direction over the last 20. Hugh hopes to recruit his way out of that. JohnstonRVCenter.com. If you're on the road to chase down history of college football, you can do that with Johnston RV Center.
Yeah, you keep going to the Deep South's oldest rivalry every single year, we hope, and you can do it in an RV from Johnston RV Center. In fact, Cherokee RV is the number 1 selling brand in America and in Alabama. And if you would wonder, well, if it's the number 1 selling brand, who happens to be the top dealer of these in Alabama? Well, of course, it's Johnston RV Center. You can find them, I-65, exit 304 in Coleman, 334 in Decatur. And you can find them online, johnstonrvcenter.com. Now, you know on this show how much we love and appreciate our uniformed military. You keep America the greatest country in the entire universe. There are no questions about that. They love you at Johnston RV Center as well. So much so, they want to give you a great discount. It's just a small way to say thank you. Very small for what you've done for our country. Retired or active duty military, you get great discounts. I-65 exit 304 in Coleman, 334 in Decatur. Always online, johnstonrvcenter.com.
In the Vulcan Tire and Automotive chat room, LT, Patrick says Belichick would love Tick in the slot. He loves the skinny receiver there.
I mean, it's just crazy. I mean, he was just reading. Tick's got his big Wikipedia page. And he transferred from Auburn to Georgia and then became Georgia's quarterback.
The transfer portal sucked back then. It was ruining football, Lance.
The free movement. 116 pounds, Jay says. A few decades earlier, they would have shot him out of a cannon in Gettysburg.
That's true.
From Jace over there. Michael, using one of our sponsors, says, old Tick was on way to wellness back then to get to 116 pounds. They keep you at a healthy weight. They don't want to get you down to that kind of stuff. So that's a little history on Auburn and Georgia, and Hugh Freeze starting and then ending the conversation at his quarterback club meetings yesterday about the future of the Deep South's oldest rivalry. While we're talking television ratings, the numbers came in on Sunday Night Football. 27 million people watched the NBC broadcast. It's the most watched game since the Super Bowl.
Yeah, look, I told you this thing is the numbers are going up. It's fabricated. This is a fabricated relationship that is all about pulling in bigger and better numbers. And I wonder how long they push this thing along. You think it'll be the entire season? There's no way she shows up in Minnesota this week.
2 million
it's an indoor game.
2 million more females watch Sunday Night Football than usual. 12 to 17-year-old girls spiked 53% higher than the week before.
Whole new market, Jimmy.
Yep.
Yeah. 18 to 24-year-old women up 24%. 35 plus, my favorite age group, 34%. 34% up. A total of over 2 million new women watching on Sunday night in this past week, including my daughter, who walked upstairs and was like, oh, is KC winning? Has Travis caught a touchdown yet?
Yeah, I still don't understand what the fascination is. Like, just because you're a Swiftie, why you would want to watch a random football game?
Well, to see her, I think they showed her 17 times was the official count. And
yeah, it was free television.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're paying $1,000 to watch her for 3 hours in concert.
Yeah, but all she's doing is this.
You don't know that, though. You think maybe she'll break out into song. Lance, you never know when she grabs a mic and sings at halftime.
This shows you how easy we can be manipulated.
No, there's no doubt. There's no doubt.
I remember
that's exactly what the NFL's doing.
I remember a time, LT, when hundreds of people stood outside of the hotel down at the BJCC hoping that Michael Jackson would pull back a curtain and just wave at him. And he did, and they caught it on tape.
It was on live news.
Yeah.
They're like, let's go downtown live. Gene Lively is standing by.
Check out the alleged pedophile.
Gene's ass didn't leave the studio. Gene was doing
Gene
some
was
tossing.
kicking it to somebody down there.
David Mattingly was downtown.
Let's go down to David Mattingly.
Yeah.
David, have you seen the King of Pop yet? Gene, I have not.
No, is that true? Was David Mattingly related to Don Mattingly?
I have no idea. I just pulled. It's David Mattingly. Hey, he was a
that was a
real
David.
TV guy.
I think he took off and went to the Weather Channel or
He
something.
may have. I don't really remember.
Yeah.
But I mean, we talked about this the other day, and I extended this conversation with somebody into the weekend. I can't remember who it was because they heard us talking about it on the show. Like, there's nobody else alive that could do this for the NFL.
Who, Taylor Swift?
No, there's nobody else alive that could add these kind of TV numbers just by attending a game. Not one person. Not a single person alive could say, hey, I'm going to the Jets game tonight, and it increases the ratings, not tenfold, but you know what I'm saying.
Well, what's crazy is Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively was in the booth.
Nobody cares.
With him, with her the other night. You could see them in the shot. I think
B-listers compared to where T Swift is.
John Hamm, I think, was in there.
B-lister compared to T Swift.
Our guy, Jeremy Strong, played Kendall Roy, was there. I saw that.
Yeah.
C-lister.
Yeah, but they were all in her booth. I don't know if she paid.
Yeah.
Well, there's a
there's
a reel going around that we were shared today on Big Cat from Barstool.
Yeah.
And I mean, until I get that's probably a little more than definitive proof.
Yeah.
But I've said this before. I said it last week. I want to see them in a coffee shop together. I want to see like video evidence somewhere of not just her in a box in a suite that the NFL can orchestrate. I want to see them out in the wild together.
Sharkbait says, can you imagine if she goes to a Colorado game now?
Yeah.
The world would explode.
That's what I said. If Deion was dating her, I mean,
I know.
It would. You said that yesterday, LT. Would have shut her down. You're the way Big Cat was describing it there. He wants to see Travis in the box as well.
Well, yeah. I mean, he said he wants to see the sex tape. Yeah. Like, I'll believe it once I see the sex tape.
I'm going to pass on that one.
Yeah, I don't need to go that far.
Yeah, I think that's a bit over the top.
But if you can get them in Central Park somehow, where they're really trying to be exclusive.
A little paparazzi.
Yeah, I mean, I want to see some evidence outside of what the NFL controls.
Rockstar, do cameras still make sounds?
They do. If you've been to press conferences, yes. I want the loudest keyboard you got to make sure you know that I'm typing them.
What would be funny,
Those
Rockstar?
are just heavy, fat fingers, Rockstar.
What would be funny is if they leaked out like a paparazzi picture that's kind of a little bit blurry and Sasquatch is looking through the bushes at them.
Or Sasquatch is the one taking the pictures.
Yeah.
So
Lunsford says, never mind all the photos and videos of them at a restaurant. I haven't seen that. So,
so is Lunsford now clapping back? There are photos and everything of them dating in restaurants and stuff?
Yeah, y'all just don't care about it, so you're not looking at it.
Well, I know it's not.
My wife does, and it's showing it all to me.
No,
It's not on my feeds.
Yeah.
It's not
I'm
on
with
my feeds.
Lunsford. I don't give two rips.
Well, I'm just a little surprised. I mean, why would you not see this popping up everywhere, right?
Because you don't follow Taylor Swift stuff like my wife does and shows it to me.
So it's out there?
What anything Taylor Swift do you follow?
Technically,
on
I
social
do.
media?
I do, and I have not seen any of this. To be honest with you.
You don't have to
you follow a lot of
Lunsford,
people.
you're getting pissy about this. I mean,
no, because I've never seen dudes so mad that a girl went to a football game before.
No, I don't think they're dating. I mean, that's just my whole take.
Okay,
and I've said it forever.
What does it matter?
Well, I just think it's.
Everybody complains about how the NFL broadcast is full of it. Yet here y'all are talking about it the entire time too.
That's a good point.
Yeah. He's got you.
Yeah.
Salty Lance.
Yeah.
I'm not the salty one. You're the one that's bringing it up.
Seriously. I know what happened. I used to be part of your poker club. What did you finish last night? 11th? 10th?
7th.
Huh?
7th.
There you go.
7. Is that out of the money?
Yeah.
Out of 6.
That is
It
out
was
of the
higher than
down
Jim
away.
finished last night.
That is out of the money, yes.
Oh, did you play last night?
No. I was too busy.
That was the joke.
Yeah, but 7th, I could tell you woke up on the wrong side of the poker table.
I'm not the one bitching about it every 5 seconds.
I'm not
like y'all
bitching.
are.
I'm just, I am going to be right on this. And I think I was the first to go with this narrative.
How are you going to know you're right?
Because he's right.
I know.
No, I mean, it's going to come out they weren't dating.
There is another big guy who is going to a football game this weekend, I don't know if he's going to draw these kind of numbers, but it'll be a highly rated game right after LT tells us about our friends at Hemp Hill Services.
Yeah, Hemp Hill Services right now offering that 0% for 60 months for qualified customers, plus free 10-year labor warranty when you get to the next round. Call Adam, Chad, Andrew, the guys at Hemp Hill Services. Make sure that HVAC unit ready to keep up with this changing weather. 60 degrees when I walked out this morning.
Oh, just wait.
I can't wait. Plumbing, heating, cooling needs, all of them. Call Hemp Hill Services. Hard to stop a train, 205-229-2090 or hempillservices.com. It's going to, the high's like mid-70s this weekend?
Yeah, man. We're going to be down to 40-some this weekend, Lance.
Yeah.
It's going to feel like fall. You're going to walk outside and say, it's October.
Jay says LT is as confident as, Daniel says LT is as confident in this as he was on LSU winning the national championship.
Well, I don't think I was that. We have a national championship pick. I wasn't like, I'm going to go to my grave with this. Now, if you want to say I was as confident on this as I was on Oregon completely dismantling Colorado, that's fair.
Yeah. Michael says Zach Wilson's actually dating Kelsey's mom now. Why isn't this a bigger thing?
I think Zach could do a little better.
Zach likes those old ladies, though, I think.
No, he does. But, I mean, he's more in the cougar category where they are about to break into Botox.
All right. Here is Brett Yormark, who is the Big 12 commissioner, not going to the Red River Shootout, the last one of them in the Big 12 this weekend. The first time they've been unbeaten facing each other since 2011. But Greg Sankey is going.
What a power move.
And Yormark tells Heather Dinich that I'm yielding to the guy who is going to be the future with those guys. He tells Heather I'm not going to the game because I'm going to see him at other Big 12 stadiums this year. Greg Sankey's going to be there, and he should be, says Yormark to Heather Dinich. Because that's his future. And so he is not going to go there and collide with the SEC commissioner. Greg Sankey is going to have the stadium to himself at the Cotton Bowl in Dallas.
It's a power move right there, though. That's power.
Yeah, I mean, what is the best game in the SEC this weekend? I guess A&M and Alabama, yeah.
Yeah, A&M and Alabama, and I would imagine he probably ends up there, too.
Yeah, do a double dip.
Yeah, you do the double dip. He does it all the time.
Dallas to Austin.
Yeah,
Dallas to College
Station.
If you're Yormark, you're probably pulling for Oklahoma in this one. This one could really disrail the Big 12 winning a national championship. Because...
Yeah, I don't think Oklahoma's quite ready.
Yeah.
They haven't been quite as tested as Texas. You're right about that. If you don't want Texas to win the championship, you go Oklahoma.
Yeah.
And I'm guessing Yormark would want that.
I would think so, yeah. I don't think you I mean, I don't know. I guess you could claim it if you're the Big 12.
Yeah, I don't really know how hard you play that one if you're the Big 12. Like, who did we see? Who was? Oh, it was Florida Atlantic in the Final Four, right? You remember that? And then we were talking about, like, if you're Conference USA, how heavily do you beat that drum? Because
she did. You remember she went to all the NIT finals with UAB and the other team that was there, North Texas, I believe.
That's right.
FAU.
All the teams that were leaving.
But that's money in the pocket right there.
No, they were making money off of it.
Bigger deal for them.
Yeah.
All right, when we come back, we've got a couple new billionaires that I don't know if you know about. We'll get to that later in the show. 400 richest people in America, and they're all billionaires. I like
We've
that.
got 400 billionaires?
At least 400.
Wow.
This is the list of the 400 richest people in America, and one slides in with only $3 billion.
Oh, poor fella.
Yeah. How's he ever going to get by?
I know.
All that and a lot of college football as we move throughout the day, and a reaction to last night's Monday Night Football game. And some NFL news as we work our way towards our upset alert later on. That'll come your way in the 11 o'clock hour. Bandit in the house today. Rockstar, have you heard from the Bandit?
I haven't heard anything.
He's on a heater.
I've heard that.
Yeah. Only one loss this year, Rockstar, and I believe that happened week 1.
So it doesn't really count, technically.
I mean,
because you didn't
if y'all want to hold it against him, y'all hold it against him. He did lose the game, but, buddy, after that, focused.
Covered. Didn't win outright this week, I think. But
covered. Still cashed a check.
Cash that check. So we'll get the Bandit. Do you know if Brown, is he in?
He's told he's going to be here. I mean, with a streak like this, you think he's going to miss a day?
That's coming up at 11 o'clock Central to start the final hour of the show a little bit later on, being brought to you in part today by our friends at Bromberg's LT.
Yeah, since 1836, family owned and operated. Nothing like giving or getting that silver box from our friends at Bromberg's. Remember, they are the diamond specialists. You think about popping the question, go see our friends at Bromberg's today. Mountain Brook, Summit, 2 great locations. For more information, to shop online, brombergs.com.
Follow Brownie on Twitter and Instagram at Ryan Brown Live.
You have all heard of Red Wing Shoes, but what is Red Wing Shoes? It's the place where men buy boots, plain and simple. Who are Red Wing's customers? They are construction workers, warehouse employees, college students, the guy that fixes your AC, the guy at the end of the bar, the IT guy. Red Wing is a father, Red Wing is a son, Red Wing is a cult following shared by all men. A classic, comfortable pair of cool boots with a story to tell. What's your Red Wing story? Red Wing Shoe Stores, located in Pelham and Trussville.
IV therapy, B12 injections, cryotherapy, and compression therapy, all under one roof. It's our friends at Hydra Live Therapy. IV therapy treatments are packed with nutrients to increase energy, reduce stress and anxiety, and boost your immune system, and more. If you mention the next round at checkout, save 20% off any service. You can join the IV League today. Members are rewarded with deep discounts. Make sure you ask about that. Hydra Life Therapy open 7 days a week. Homewood, Tuscaloosa, and coming soon to Greystone. Stop by the New York Butcher Shop and pick up the finest in certified Angus prime beef steaks and burgers, premium pork chops, ribs, and all-natural chicken cut to order just for you. Their chef-prepared entrees and side dishes are the perfect dinner-to-go choice for your family and are ready to heat at home. With a great selection of fine wines and desserts, the New York Butcher Shop is your one-stop dinner shop. 2 locations to serve you, Cahaba Heights and on Highway 119 in Greystone. The New York Butcher Shop. Rare quality, well-done service.
Things fall apart. There's even a book about it, but that doesn't mean you have to break the bank to fix them. Ryan Brown here for the next round. Our friends at Mortgage Right have a new renovation option that will make repairs and other home improvements easy. If you've recently purchased a home and find yourself short on cash, or you're looking to buy a fixer-upper, Mortgage Right's renovation loan program can help you spruce up your space. Repairs can be made to your roof, plumbing, flooring, and more with the help of top-notch mortgage professionals. So get your fix by visiting mortgageright.com/TNR. And MLS 2239, Equal Housing Lender.
Remember the name Way to Wellness if you're battling weight loss in your life. I'm Jim Dunaway from the next round. There was a time I was over 216 pounds until Way to Wellness helped me lose 45 pounds, and now for over 2 years, they've helped me keep that weight off. Here's their website, aplanforme.com, aplanforme.com. That's a great name for a website because there's no cookie-cutter plan. Everything is designed specifically for you. No contract, no sign-up fees, and your first consultation is free at Way to Wellness. The next round golf card is back, and it's presented by Urology Centers of Alabama. For $89, play Limestone Springs, Cross Creek, The Meadows, and the renovated Woodward Golf Club. $247 in value for just $89. Or get bonus gifts with the Deluxe Golf Card for $119. No restrictions, good through September of 2024, but supplies are limited. Buy right now at nextround.store.
Back with you on the next round. By the way, Dabo Swinney got into a very exclusive club this past weekend.
Augusta?
Could
you imagine Dabo at Augusta running down the hill on number 10?
He's got a moon pie and your sun drip.
Every single time he tees off on 10, he just takes off running down the hill.
What is that? What's the gas station club there?
Esso Club.
Esso, yeah. He's probably been to that 1,000 times. No, Dabo Swinney became only the second coach, easiest trivia question of all time, only the second coach to win 100 ACC games.
Bobby Bowden.
Bobby Bowden. Yeah. But isn't that odd?
But Bobby Bowden wasn't in the ACC.
That's what I was going to say. I mean, he coached, I guess, the last half of his career in the ACC. Maybe less.
Won a lot every year.
Oh, gosh, yes.
But isn't it odd that only 2 people have ever done that? That you just don't stay a coach in the ACC that long?
Mac Brown's not going to get credit for the original tenure in North Carolina.
No.
Why would he not? Yeah, he would.
Well, I don't think they were in the ACC, were they?
Yeah, North Carolina has always been in the ACC.
Just off the cuff, though, who would you guess is third?
Mac Brown would be close. If I had to guess who was third, see, Georgia Tech, remember, was in the SEC for a long time when they used to win. And then they haven't been great
I don't
since.
think it would be
Virginia Tech was in the Big East.
Miami was in the Big East.
I know. I mean, I don't even know who I would guess is third.
Yeah, South Carolina was in the ACC.
Yeah, but they didn't win enough.
Yeah, I think I would probably go Mac Brown third.
Yeah, I mean, that's wild. I don't even know who I would guess.
Yeah, maybe Lunsford can chase down all-time ACC wins, not counting out-of-conference wins. These are ACC games, and Dabo is slides in there at second. I'm trying to think of what school has been good over the years. Virginia wasn't consistently good.
Nope.
NC State wasn't consistently good.
Nope. North Carolina really hasn't been outside of Mac Brown.
Wasn't there a Dooley like at North Carolina? Not Vince, obviously, but his brother
but
there
I can't
for a
remember
while.
his name. Yeah,
Wasn't Dooley's brother?
Yeah, surely he didn't win enough there though. I mean, I honest to goodness, I don't even know. Like, if my family was captive and I had to guess, I don't even know. I would guess Mac Brown.
I mean, Danny Ford, maybe.
I thought about that, but
yeah, it's an interesting thing. Let me tell you about our friends at Legacy. Maybe we'll get an answer here in a second. The holiday season's upon us. By the way, I said this yesterday. I think today we're 51 days away from Thanksgiving. 53 days away from the Iron Bowl.
How about that?
Yeah, 50. We're just about 50 days away from Thanksgiving. The holiday season's upon us, and a Legacy credit card is just what you need to manage your spending safely and wisely. A lot of people trying to steal your stuff out there. Credit cards offer better consumer protections against fraud when compared to a debit card, which is linked directly to your bank account. Legacy offers rates as low as 8.90% APR on credit cards compared to the major card providers who advertise rates as high as 29% APR. Look no further than Legacy and open a credit card online in minutes at legacycreditunion.com/join. legacycreditunion.com/join. APR is the annual percentage rate. Rates and offers subject to change. See website for details. Federally insured by the NCUA.
The guy you were talking about is Bill Dooley, and he coached in a bunch of different places. I am having a difficult time finding the answer. I think it's either going to be Frank Beamer or George Welsh.
Beamer did win a lot after they got there. George Welch was the guy at Virginia that moment with the
crusty coach
with the Rondé and the other barber.
Well, he had them number when they had Rockstar's favorite, the Fighting Moore family.
Herman
Moore, and then who was the quarterback? Sean Moore was
Sean
the quarterback.
Moore,
Yeah, they had two Moores, Herman Moore and Sean Moore. George Welsh was the coach then, and I think they were playing Georgia Tech, and it was like 1 versus 2 or some crap like that.
Fall of '90.
Yeah, back in the time when Georgia Tech, Virginia could be number 1 and number 2 in the nation. Seems like an eternity ago.
Here's what I've got on coaches. It's 127 of them.
Yeah, I'm going to say George Welsh.
Bobby Bowden 173, Frank Beamer 113, Mac Brown 103. So Beamer, as of now, is in front of Mac Brown. Mac Brown hangs out a couple more years, he'll be there. So, yeah, Bill Dooley 98. So he was right there. Those are your guys.
Yeah, I was just wondering, ACC wins only is what they're going by. That's a club Dabo went into this weekend. Alabama's heading to Texas A&M. Yesterday, if I'm right about this, you felt strong about Alabama. You felt strong about Texas A&M, right?
Yeah.
Going into this game. Point spread, mybookie.ag, still around 2.5, 3.5.
I'll look at it right now.
I think it's down to 2.
Down to 2.
Oh, what's that tell you, Lance?
That tells me the smart gamblers are out in front of A&M right now.
Out in front of A&M right now. Well, Anaya Smith is making it personal. This is cut 10, correct, Rockstar? Or is this 9? Number 9. We'll go 9 first. Anaya Smith. He knows what all of you think of Texas A&M, and don't shy away. You think this too. Here's Anaya Smith.
What narrative you want this team to set this year, and then how can beating Alabama help you guys accomplish that?
Man, I feel like personally, we do have a narrative of us being like, I guess you could say, the laughingstock of the SEC. A lot of times in the past, we had a lot of expectations on our back, you know what I'm saying, and then we ended up falling short of those expectations or whatever the case was. But I feel like that's the narrative right now, you know what I'm saying, just, well, they do good against good teams or whatever, and then y'all probably know better than me, you know what I'm saying? So, I mean, it's just, I guess you could say, changing the narrative. Let's go ahead and show what we really capable of, you know what I'm saying? Like, instead of letting the people talk for us, let's do the talking on the field. And I feel like if we get this dub against Bama, then we ain't going to have to say nothing.
Damn, that's strong. You know, I never called them a laughingstock.
But
I said maybe the
biggest
underachievers in the SEC. And well, you guys know, you guys are the ones saying it. You're the media. Look, things totally changed. They were able to beat Alabama 2 years ago. They almost beat Bama last year. They beat Bama here. They've got the upper leg to go to Atlanta for the first time.
What he's talking about is they'd gone 13 games without scoring 30 points versus an FBS opponent. They'd gone 13 games against the FBS without scoring 30 points. Since Bobby Petrino got to town, they've gone 5 games now, 27 plus, as they have done that. And that's the first time that's happened for a Jimbo Fisher coach team to have that many straight games, 27 points or more, since 2014 when he had who as quarterback?
Jameis Winston. Yeah,
and I'll tell you this. I don't believe that you need to score 30 plus in this game. I think if A&M scores 24 to 27 points, I think they can win this game.
Yeah, and that's the big number this week that everyone's going to point at if you're on the A&M side. Number 5 defense in America, Texas A&M. 86 scoring offense in America, Alabama. So Alabama scoring points against Texas A&M. they're going to have to overcome the first half of the season trends.
Boy, how the roles have reversed. I mean, you think about it, Alabama always had one of those top offenses, top defenses, and A&M always had the bad offense. I still think Alabama's defense is better than A&M's this year.
Oh, I think so, yeah.
But A&M's close.
I would say this, though. They can't really break the narrative he's talking about just by beating Alabama. No. And that's kind of what he said there. But that's not going to end the narrative that he's talking about.
No, because you know what's going to happen here is they're going to beat Bama, and then they're going to go to Knoxville and lose to Tennessee.
And that's how you break the narrative, is you beat Alabama, then you do something with it. Because when they beat Alabama before, they didn't do anything with it. When they almost beat Alabama last year, they didn't do anything with it. You got to beat to break this narrative. You got to beat Alabama and then do something with that win.
You got to get to Atlanta.
That's right.
Right.
Yeah.
And look, and I think Alabama, A&M, even LSU, if they can get this defense right, are good enough to win the remaining games on their schedule. But I'm kind of getting the feeling, especially in the West, it's going to be Pac-12 like. You're going to have 2, 3, 10-2s right there at the end.
So even in your houndstooth.rowback.com quarter zip today.
Okay, this is not an Alabama rowback, by the way.
It's got a crimson rowback.
An Alabama fan could wear it as one.
Yeah, absolutely.
Easily, yeah.
Oh,
especially with the promo code.
I told you I walked in somewhere and they were like, Roll Tide.
Yeah.
I was like, what?
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, yeah, this.
Yes.
TNR20.
TNR20.
Rowback.com. You can pick that up right there if you're a Bama fan. You want to wear that one. But you're doubling down. Right now you're saying Alabama, forget the point spreads, anything. They do not win the game this weekend.
I do not think they win the game this weekend.
Is that a 10 unit? How many units on you?
Hey, it's Jimbo Fisher coaching. It's hard to put a 10 unit on him.
Never gave Jimbo Fisher 10 units.
Yeah, but in seriousness, the Petrino experiment, for less than a better word, has worked so far.
Yeah, they're better.
Yeah, and we're going to see about Miami. You know, Miami might end up being a team that goes 12-0. Who knows?
That's right. They could be that good. People who cover Texas A&M reporting that Evan Stewart expected to play in this game, whether he's 100% or not. You'll find out, and they're going to hold that close to the vest. But those that cover the Aggies think the great receiver is going to play for the Aggies.
Yeah, that'd be huge. There's still speculation Alabama could get healthy at linebacker, which obviously would be big. I do think, even though I feel good about Alabama here, I do think it is a really, really difficult game. Like if Alabama wins this game, if I am right about it, it is going, I feel like, to go down to a final possession. You're going to sweat this one out if you're a Bama fan or it takes A&M.
And another reason that I wouldn't feel great about either side is because both of these quarterbacks can turn it over 3 times.
That's right. That's right. Yep. And that's something Maxey, 2 of them fumbles, but 3 turnovers in the last game in the win over Arkansas. Milroe had a clean sheet in that department this past week, right? No, he did throw one in the end zone, did he?
Nope.
No, he didn't have
interceptions.
interceptions.
That's right. No interceptions this past week. But, we've seen in college football, upsets happen. When it gets what? It gets
not cutting time.
When it gets personal.
Oh.
Yeah. And
believe
it or not, for Texas A&M, this has gotten
personal.
Personal. You guys suck at being Colorado players. Ride with me here. So for Texas A&M, this has gotten
personal, no
doubt. Yeah, personal.
And it's
just one word answers how we do the cheer here at Boulder. When Deion's walking around, when Coach Fromm's walking around, it's gotten what?
Personal.
There you go. Thank you. Here's Anaya Smith, who I did not know was the little brother of Maurice Smith, who at one point was at Alabama, wanted to go play with Kirby at Georgia. And old mean Nick Saban didn't want him to leave. Here's Anaya Smith, where it's gotten what, Brown?
Personal.
The way your brother left Alabama, does this game mean more to you? Is it more personal because of that?
I feel like this game is always more personal every time I play him. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. It's just what had happened. That's in the past now. Not able to control it, but every time I do look on that sideline, I do think about, what had happened. I kind of know what Nick Saban expects, from his offense, from his defensive side. And I'm not trying to be, cocky or nothing, but, his class, my brother's class, they was nice. They was real nice. And no disrespect to Alabama right now, but them boys was always 1, 2. You know what I'm saying? It was no question. And right now, with the rankings, I guess you could say that I ain't even going to say that. But, at the same time, I know what Nick Saban wants, and we're gonna mess that up.
Wow. I mean, all that needed was Jimbo Fisher to walk in with a pair of scissors and cut that mic cord as he was talking.
Yeah, all you need is like one beer in him, and he's about to let loose. He's walking that fine line that I don't want to let anything out. Yeah. And, boy, it's about to come out.
Boy, he got right up to the line, too. Oh, yeah, back in my brother's day, they were 1-2. Right now you look at this team, and they're – I ain't gonna say that.
This is the I don't know how to describe this, but it is a huge atmosphere game for Texas A&M. By this, they've already lost a game, but it's out of conference. Everybody's going to show up at Kyle Field, and they are going to be optimistic about this. Hey, we've got a shot. If we beat Alabama, everything is on the table for us. So they go in completely confident. They win that game. They come out confident. Oh, wow. Everything's in front of us. They lose that game, they are completely deflated. Yep. And I think they feel like their season has been flushed. This is a massive game.
What's funny is that the couple times A&M's beaten Alabama, Johnny Manziel, nobody thought they were going to beat them. In 2021, when Alabama was number one, A&M was struggling, nobody thought they were going to beat them. No. This time, a lot of the experts are saying A&M's going to beat them this thing. Who was the character that said, you see, what had happened is
I remember
it was
a trash open, wasn't it?
No, but there was also a Sports Center anchor. Was it not Stuart Scott when they fumbled? Like, see what happened every time the fumble.
It was Stuart Scott. What happened? Yeah, it was
every
good.
time somebody fumbled.
Yeah, really, really, really good there. All right, part of the show being brought to you by our friends at Moore's Marinade Browning.
And real quick, before I do that, there's no way this flips around to A&M being the favorite. It won't get bet down that much, will it?
No,
it's 2.5 at mybookie.ag right now.
If it does, that's not good for Alabama. Again, these things are not foolproof.
Right.
I'm just saying something like that.
Still got to play the game.
If this thing flipped around, 70% of the time that team wins the game, but it doesn't mean 100%.
Hey, my friend used Moore's for the first time this weekend, and he texted me last night. He said, I did some chicken, and I used that buffalo wing sauce on it. Perfect. Moore's marinade and buffalo wing sauce, you can put it on anything. You can dip it, you can drizzle it, you can slather it. Chicken fingers, burger sandwiches, pizza, pasta, tacos, fries, and more. See why grill masters prefer Moore's marinades and wing sauces when you visit mooresmarinades.com for recipe ideas and grilling inspiration. You can be the big winner this weekend, right? I don't know if Alabama's going to win. I don't know if the Dolphins are. I think the Dolphins are going to beat the Giants. But you can be the winner, guaranteed, with Moore's Marinade. You get out in that backyard, and you got that Moore's Marinade with the grill going. People are going to love it. I promise you. Find out where you can get it everywhere and see grilling ideas, recipe ideas, get some inspiration, and see all their products at mooresmarinades.com. That is mooresmarinades.com.
Okay, before we head to break here, before LT tells us about Harbin's Outdoor, who's doing some work at his place, how many of you have the new iPhone out there, the new 15? Apple would like to apologize for it overheating all the time.
But it's titanium. It's from space.
Oh, they show the commercial perfectly. I mean, the thing's on fire.
Yeah. So these things are overheating because they say a bug in some apps, some out bugs. Don't worry, though. They've got a software update coming that's going to keep that from burning a hole in your thigh or your ass, wherever you hold your phone in your pants there. So settle down. You spend $1,000 on that. It's going to work here soon. The new iPhone 15. Tell us about Harbin's. They're working at your house.
Yeah, really cool. Like, this is going to help me with the leaf blowing problem out back because they're going to elevate. We're going to come up about 30 inches in the backyard, and we're putting retaining wall, and then we're doing new privacy fence.
Ooh.
And I'm going to put some of that sport turf where you can come putt in my backyard.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah, I need that. I got to have a good layout for Chili and Bullet. Chili's home. Bullet gets home Friday. So Jeremy came out yesterday, put everything together. He's working up the proposal right now. He's going to get out the next couple of days. Can't wait. Again, Harbin's Outdoors, award-winning landscape company. They specialize in installing custom fiberglass pools, landscaping, hardscaping. Harbin's does it all, from the install to the lighting, final hardscapes around the pool, everything in between. It's beautiful work. You can find them on Instagram at Harbin's_outdoors. See it for yourself or call or text Jeremy directly, 205-300-0718. That's 205-300-0718.
Follow Dunaway on Twitter and Instagram at Jim Dunaway.
Hey, Lance Taylor from the Next Round. You've heard me for years talk about our friends at Bromberg's Jewelers, and we welcome you to stop by and see that great customer service at the Mountain Brook and Summit locations. But we'd also love for you to check out their new online shop. They've got plenty to choose from. Great gifts, big and small. Available online, they've got David Yurman, Tudor watches, select diamond and gemstone jewelry, William Henry, seasonal and favorite giftware items, and baby gifts as well. They've even got an online sale section. For more information, brombergs.com.
As summer bids adieu, get ready to welcome the arrival of fall. But hey, it's not just football season making an entrance. In the world of pests, it's fall invader season. Hold on tight, because we got 4 major troublemakers stepping into the spotlight: box elder bugs, kudzu bugs, ladybugs, and stink bugs. These pests don't just knock, they barge in like they own the place. But fear not, dial up Wayne's Pest Control now, 865-588-6686, and show those fall invaders who's boss. Don't let pests crash your fall. Take charge today.
The wait is over. Tonali has arrived. Beautifully distinctive Italian styling and performance. Come test drive the all-new 2024 Alfa Romeo Tonali plug-in hybrid at Alfa Romeo of Birmingham. The all-new Tonali offers best-in-class horsepower and torque, fastest 0 to 60 times in its class, plus best-in-class range with full electric charge. And best of all, qualified Tonali leasees are eligible for up to $7,500 EV tax credit factored into your lease. Hurry down to Alfa Romeo of Birmingham and experience the all-new Tonali.
The Next Round is so much more than the show you get from 9 to 1 each day. So make sure to head to our official YouTube channel at Next Round Live and subscribe to get all of our latest content. We, of course, have plenty of specialty content and shorts based all around the sports in the heart of the SEC. But we also talk pro sports, gambling, lifestyle and entertainment, and so much more. It's the Next Round YouTube channel, where you never know what you're going to find next. Subscribe now to see the latest content and get notifications when we go live. That's at Next Round Live on YouTube.
This is for the men who never settle, the ones who miss the fairway all day and still pull out the big stick, the type of guys who will always prefer to be behind the grill than in front of the camera, and the men who never let their friends forget about a high school nickname. This is the Lodge mentality. This is Twin Peaks.
Who wants to settle for a single TV? With more TVs, bigger screens, plus our fabulous scenic views, there's more to watch at Twin Peaks.
Support the show and grab some great t-shirts and hoodies right now in the Next Round store. Buy the Alabama State Map shirts in your team's favorite colors, the popular Y'all Can Have the Rest, or Next Round flag shirts are also online now. Just go to nextround.store. That's nextround.store. The traditional Next Round logo shirts are there too. Buy them for yourself, or they make a great gift for someone else. And let us know what you'd like to see in the store coming up. Nextround.store. That's nextround.store.
Hey, back with you on the Next Round. More college football coming up in the next hour with Brandon Marcello. Clay with us at the top of the hour as we continue on. The show being brought to you today by our fine friends at Hydra Live, getting you ready for another football weekend, which starts tomorrow night with Jack State in action.
Yeah.
A Wednesday night game against Middle Tennessee, 7 o'clock on ESPNU.
Underdogs. We're underdogs.
You love going to these tailgates. One thing, you're going to be in the sun. You're going to be having cocktails all day. You need to get that IV therapy. You can get it before, which I did this past Friday, or you can do it after. They're open 7 days a week, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. New location right there in Hoover, the Greystone location, one in Homewood. Membership benefits travel with the member can be used at any Hydra Live location. I know there's one in Nashville, so if you've got a membership here, it goes right there. Make sure you mention Next Round, though, at checkout. Save 20% on any of these services. IV therapy, B12 injections, cryotherapy, compression therapy, all under one roof. Follow them on Facebook and Instagram at HydraLife Therapy or HydraLifeTherapy.com for more information.
Okay, before we jump back to college football, Forbes magazine with a story on Michael Jordan, who is the first athlete in America to rank as one of the 400 wealthiest people in the United States.
Which is interesting because, when he sold his share of the Hornets, not long ago, it was rumored that he had to do that to clear the debt he had in that whole GameStop deal, which is interesting. I don't know if this was before that. I don't know, and maybe that rumor was not true. But there was a lot of speculation that he was having to do that to clear his debt, and he got upside down on that GameStop deal.
Well, let me give you the details of the story here. The Hornets sale got him to $3 billion now, as that does. He has made in his time $2.4 billion with his relationships with Nike, Gatorade, McDonald's, and Hanes. He only made $93 million as a player.
That's it.
$93 million. He's got $3 billion now.
But I mean,
$3 billion.
It is interesting. These guys make $93 million. I mean, the max guys in 2 years now.
In 2 years, and the greatest of all time made $93 million in his career.
Reportedly, though, that GameStop deal was about $500 million.
Yep. And then LeBron James and Tiger Woods. Welcome back to Tiger. LeBron is a billionaire for the first time, and Tiger Woods is back to being a billionaire again. Lost a little bit in the divorce.
He cleaned up quick though. He cleaned up good,
but he's back to the billion. Yeah. And I always hear the first billion is the hardest to make.
Absolutely, yeah.
It's easier to get to the 3 Bs after you get to the first B.
Yeah, there's no doubt.
Yeah. So those 3 athletes on the wealthy list there, LeBron and Tiger. Welcome back, Tiger, to the $1 billion club, the B club.
Good for them, man.
Yeah. It really is, man.
Yeah. $3 billion, but that Nike, Gatorade, and McDonald's deal that Jordan has still prints him money.
I mean, good. I mean, yes, absolutely, it does. And if he's smart, he'll never need for money again. But I mean, if you got tied up in one of those deals where you were trying to short a stock and somebody manipulated the price the way that happened, and I don't know if you guys want to see that movie or not.
See, I didn't know when I saw the trailer. I didn't know it was about that until they started to talk about it or had more of the voiceover on the top. I don't know. I mean, it is kind of fascinating because that all went down in a day, did it not?
Pretty much. I mean, yeah, I mean, it got turned upside down in a day. Now, Bobby says a lot of people don't know what GameStop deal is. So there was a hedge fund trying to short the GameStop stock, and a group of internet, Reddit users and people like that got upset about it. So they artificially drove the price up, and it cost people a lot of money.
It's when they had that app, and it people can invest
Robinhood
as a group, right? Yeah.
And Robinhood eventually stopped trading on it, which was a massive controversy.
Yeah, I've got a movie review coming up in.
I watched it last night too. I'll jump in with you.
Oh my God!
Worst thing I've ever
coming
seen.
Up in trash.
Yeah, we'll do it in trash.
Or worst thing I've ever seen.
It is the worst movie of all time.
Okay, they'll tell you what they're talking about coming up a little bit later on in trash. Last night, Monday Night Football, after I tell you about our friends at the Pants Store, they'll get you ready for game day this weekend. You Auburn fans may want to get ready for some great games coming up on the road and down the road. If you're heading to College Station with Alabama or back when the Tide gets home in the following weeks, get ready, game day ready with our friends at the Pants Store. All the game day polos, hats, and quarter zips. Names like Gentile, Cutter and Buck, Antigua, Elephant Head, Taylor and Mick, and the ladies look no further than your friends at the Pants Store for your rompers, your clear bags, your booties, and your skirts. Pantstore.com or any of your game day locations, 6 of them in Auburn, Crestline, Hoover, Huntsville, Leeds, and Tuscaloosa. Last night, Monday Night Football, Seattle wins it easily, 24-3. The Giants have been outscored by 68 points in the first half this year.
Oh, they're awful.
That is the 4th worst in the Super Bowl era. Daniel Jones was sacked 11 times last night. 11 times in a game that was not close.
Yeah, well, look, it's a little misleading. The Giants are terrible, and it was a terrible play on my part. I had the Giants plus 2.5. But it was 14-3 late in the third quarter when Daniel Jones made that horrific read. And one of the reasons he made a horrific read is he's feeling pressure nonstop.
11 sacks.
Yeah, the offensive line is terrible. He throws that pick 6. Instead of 14-10 or 14-11, it's 21-3. Game is over. If you're wondering what happened to Illinois, Devin Witherspoon, that kid is so freaking good. The cornerback, the rookie out of Illinois.
Yeah, perfect he's a perfect Seattle Seahawk, isn't he?
But, dude, he blows people up. He's so physical. He is going to be one of these shutdown corners. So you're get him while you can right now. Enjoy watching him because he's going to be like you talk about Kool-Aid. He's going to be somebody nobody talks about because they're not going to throw his way. But that guy is so good. But to put this in perspective, 11 sacks in one game. Your Tampa Bay Bucks, all of 2022, led the NFL in pass protection, only giving up 22 sacks the entire year in 17 games.
They gave up half that last night.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it is. And if you're the Giants, man, you get Dolphins and Bills on the road for your next two. You feel good about either one of those?
They're going to get destroyed.
And that Bills game, for some reason, is the Sunday night game in 2 weeks. That's your Sunday night game, Giants and Bills. Bills are a double-digit favorite in that game.
Well,
Easy, right?
Easy.
They do that schedule early before the season, right?
Clearly.
And the Giants were a playoff team last year. They don't look anything like that this year.
It'd barely be on Fox if they are doing the schedule right now. Fox would be like, I know we got the NFC deal. Do we have to carry the Giants to the Bills?
Yeah. Meanwhile, though, Seattle, you thought when they were trading Russell Wilson a couple of years ago, they were starting a rebuild. All they did was pull Geno Smith off the garbage rack, make the playoffs last year, and they're 3-1 this year. Nobody told them they were supposed to do a rebuild when they traded Russell Wilson. They quickly made the playoffs and 3-1. No drop-off for Pete Carroll's team.
No. And Geno, not as good as he was last year. Gets hurt, called it a dirty play on Isaiah Simmons last night. Probably not as good. He's probably the weak link of that offense. Honestly, that offense has got some major pieces. I'm not a DK Metcalf guy, though.
You don't like his game or like him personally?
I don't like the way. I mean, he seems like a dirty, really. There's something about DK. Very talented player, though.
It's wild, though, that Russell Wilson could leave Seattle, and Seattle has by far and away been the better team in that two-team deal.
Oh, they've
by far and away.
Playoffs and now 3-1
You
this
lose
year.
Russell Wilson. He goes to a proud franchise in Denver, and they have been awful.
Well, and the
with him.
repercussions for Denver over the next couple of years with all the draft stock they've lost, and Seattle's going to build upon
I
this.
know. I mean, it was such a good move by Seattle. They sold at just the right time on Russell Wilson.
One and I lived it, but I did not know it. Amazing fact before we get to the top of the hour, brought to you by our friends at Wayne's. For the past 50 years, Wayne's Pest Control has been serving our communities by doing the things they love, providing world-class pest control and terrible protection to those they care about the most. And they just want to say thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you for 50 great years. Visit callwaynes.com to enjoy $50 off pest control or termite protection. $50 off pest control and termite protection with our friends at callwaynes.com. Callwaynes.com. And if you're ever asked by anybody at Wayne's, just tell them, the next round. That's where you hang out, and that's why you're with our friends at Wayne's. Happy 50th anniversary. Callwaynes.com. On this day in 1995, O.J. Simpson found not guilty.
So what's so crazy about that, when you say that day, I think it was in 8th grade, is that we all had TVs in our each individual classroom.
Yeah.
And we stopped school because it was like around lunchtime. We had to stop school, and everybody watched the O.J. verdict at a middle school.
I can remember I was in school at Jacksonville State, and
crazy.
People were driving around campus honking their horns in celebration of it.
Yeah, one of the worst mistakes I made as a bookmaker in college was whether or not to put that verdict on our card for a Monday night, because it was on a Monday.
So just a guilty, not guilty.
Guilty or not guilty. Everybody was going to play the guilty. So I was nervous that we were just going to get completely popped on that. And I didn't do it. Boy, we would have raked it.
Oh, you would have raked it, yes.
Yeah. Let's see who's the closest.
All right.
If you already know the answer, just say, hey, I'm going to be honest, I know the answer.
All right.
That trial was televised
in
its entirety, as Rockstar was pointing out. Can you tell me how many days that trial lasted? Nobody look at the chat room. That answer was
over 100.
I was going to say 112.
Well, it started early summer.
112?
Yeah.
Okay.
122.
122.
October, I think a little bit more. I think it was 131.
252 days.
Man.
252 days. And it's burned court TV and all that stuff that came with that.
How many
24-hour news channels?
Players are dead. Johnny Cochran's dead. Is Lance Ito still alive?
Oh, I have no idea.
I don't know about Ito. Marshall Clark's still around.
Yeah.
Darbin.
Did Robert Shapiro die?
Robert Darden.
Yeah.
Shapiro
Shapiro's
died.
dead.
Johnny Cochran died.
Yeah.
Kardashian died.
Yeah.
Is Kardashian still alive?
No, I think he's dead.
OJ's still with us, remarkably. Yeah.
Yeah. Ush says junior year of high school, watched an ecology class.
Wow.
We'll never forget it.
That's very ecological.
Yeah. 5th grade, says Troy. Yeah.
That
How
was
about that?
That was back when I was a lot. I'm still naive to a point, but I was really naive back then, and I found it so hard to believe that O.J. Simpson could have committed murder.
Oh, yeah.
Nordberg would never do that.
I mean, that's what you think. Dude running through the airport for Hertz. He was just such a likable guy.
We've got our 4 downs, our upset alert, all still to come today, and a question that will I'll ask the panel that I want an answer to at 11 o'clock. Can Alabama score enough points to win out? I think I already got an answer from LT. We'll get back into that at 11 o'clock. All that is still to come. Don't forget, Bud Light Game Night is at the Crestwood Tavern this week. Have you ever been? I've never been to the Crestwood Tavern.
I have not been.
I'm looking forward.
I've been past it a bunch.
First visit ever to the Crestwood Tavern. I'll be there Thursday night with these guys. We're there 5 to 7. Shows 6 to 7 on our video platform. That's where you have to come to register for Alabama-Auburn tickets by scanning the QR code. It's got to be done in person. And 5 to 7 is the time to do it. QR code will be out at Crestwood Tavern this Thursday night for Bud Light Game Night. Back in a moment.
Call the next round now at 205-734-0923.
You could win a Dodge Challenger RT or your share of $25,000 in free play and cash at Birmingham Racecourse Casino. The more you visit, the more chances you have to win. Play the latest, most exciting games around with fun bonuses and big jackpots. You could be a winner too. Come win your share during the Challenger RT and $25,000 giveaway at Birmingham Racecourse Casino. Drawings October 27th and 28th. Located off I-459, exit 31, Derby Parkway. Must be 21 or older. Must be present to win.
Hey, Lance Taylor from the Next Round to tell you about one of our favorite places for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That is Hamburger Heaven since 1982. Hamburger Heaven has been serving Birmingham's best hamburgers, cheeseburgers, French fries, hand-spun milkshakes, and sandwiches made fresh to order. All of their ingredients are fresh and prepared daily. This includes their beef, always fresh, never frozen, hand-pattied each and every day. For breakfast, lunch, or dinner, visit any of the 4 locations, Highway 280, Irondale, Gardendale, and Homewood.
The Next Round Golf Court is here. Your chance to play 4 area golf courses for just $89. Get 18 holes of golf and cart at Limestone Springs, Cross Creek, The Meadows, and the newly renovated Woodward Golf Club. That's a value of $247 for just $89. Or get the Next Round Deluxe Golf Cart for just $119. It gets you all 4 courses with cart, plus an exclusive Next Round Golf t-shirt, koozie, golf tees, and a sticker. There are no restrictions. The cart is good through September 2024. Get your golf cart now at nextround.store.
Hey, there's nothing worse than waking up to a plumbing problem. Don't get caught in a flooded house. Call the guys at Hemp Hill Services. Adam, Chad, and the team at Hemp Hill are the only ones I trust to fix it and fix it right the first time. Hemp Hill Services does it right and always at a fair price. For all of your plumbing, cooling, and heating needs, trust the name that Birmingham has trusted since 1954. That is Hemp Hill Services. Call now, 205-229-2090. That's 205-229-2090.
Storm season is here. Make sure you have a plan of action in place right now. Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing should be your first call when storms hit. Insurance companies love working with Storm Restoration Roofing because of Greg Nelson's name and reputation in the industry. When storms hit, call Greg Nelson. He's local, 205-542-3531. He's the home of the free no-cost roof inspection. Greg from Pell City on Facebook, 205-542-3531. It's Storm Restoration Roofing.
Football season is here, and Legacy Credit Card is just what you need to manage your spending safely and wisely. Credit cards offer better consumer protection against fraud when compared to a debit card, which is linked directly to your bank account. Legacy offers rates as low as 8.9% APR on credit cards compared to major card providers who advertise rates as high as 29% APR. Look no further than Legacy. Open a credit card online in minutes at legacycreditunion.com/join. APR's annual percentage rate, rates, and offers subject to change. See website for details. Federally insured by NCUA.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown, and Rockstar. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, the next round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
Baseball playoffs going today. Here's your Maestro Dobel Diamante Tequila scoreboard update. Texas and Tampa Bay at 2 o'clock on ABC. Tampa Bay is a favorite to win the series and a tough one with the Rangers, who were in first place for most of the season. Toronto and Minnesota, 3:30 on ESPN. Then tonight, the National League. Arizona, Milwaukee, 6 o'clock on ESPN2. Miami and Philadelphia, 7 o'clock on ESPN. Maestro Dobel Diamante, made with 100% pure agave. All you have to do is ask for it by name when you get into wherever you buy your tequila. Maestro Dobel Diamante Tequila. aged in European oak barrels from the Balkan region, comes out crystal clear, crisp, and a perfect taste for tequila. It is Maestro Dobel Diamante Tequila.
All right, Clay Travis is with us now, the founder of Outkick, at Clay Travis on Twitter. You see him on Fox Sports, and he's on the Johnston RVCenter.com hotline. What is up, Clay? How are you?
Doing well. How are y'all?
Doing great. Thanks a lot. Obviously, being a Tennessee fan, you pay closer attention, I would guess, to the East than the West. So I'm sure you watched as much of Georgia-Auburn as you could, thinking, is this the same Georgia team I've seen over the last 2 or 3 years? Now, the Brew McCoy loss is a big one for Tennessee, but if you're a Tennessee fan, as you are, I think you got to feel a decent amount of faith in your chances in the East hosting Georgia a little bit later on.
Well, I mean, if you took away the first half of the Florida game, which was a disaster. I mean, Tennessee, I think, was down 26-7 at the half, something like that, 23-7.
You never win there, so you had to expect it.
Yeah, but it was that was such a god-awful performance that I think it's hard to have a lot of optimism. But if you looked at everything else, the season's gone pretty well. And Tennessee, under Josh Heupel, is 15-3 in the last 18 games at this point. And I do think we'll get a good test. I know I'll be down in College Station this weekend for the Alabama-Texas A&M game. That'll be an interesting game. But also then Tennessee has the bye week now. So Tennessee gets 2 weeks to get ready for Texas A&M. So there's some cautious optimism, I think, that with 2 weeks to prepare and a pretty decent team that Tennessee could beat A&M. And then if they could do that, you're halfway through the season, you're 5-1. The challenge is you've still got on the road at Bama, on the road at Kentucky, on the road at Mizzou, and Georgia coming to Knoxville, right? So there's still a lot of work on the back half. But if you told me Georgia was going to lose a game before, I think that's the challenge of the Florida game. I think it's hard to expect Tennessee to run the table the rest of the way. But if you told me Georgia was going to lose to somebody else, at some point, and look, the way they played against South Carolina and the way they played against Auburn, I don't think that's a crazy idea, even with their schedule not being particularly difficult. But if you told me Georgia was going to lose a game, then I would feel pretty good about Tennessee's chances to have that game in Knoxville before the SEC East, basically on November 18th. I think that's what most Tennessee fans are hoping, that Tennessee could be in a position where when Georgia comes to town on the 18th, that game is for the SEC East.
Hey, whatever your take on NIL and portal, I mean, look, we've got parity in college football. This is the first time I can remember being in the month of October and really knowing nothing. Like, I don't feel great about saying Georgia or Michigan. Either one of those teams is in the 14 playoff at the end of the year. I don't know I don't know if we've got an elite team. I don't know if some of these teams can lose 2 games. This is just, it's kind of an unknown, weird, uncharted territory for the month of October for college football. Do you feel the same?
Yeah, and that's, by the way, only with 4 teams making the playoff. Imagine if we had a 12-team playoff this year. I mean, you'd have right now in October 45 teams.
Right. Yeah, it's incredible.
With their fan bases looking around saying, hey, if everything goes well in October and November, we could find ourselves in the position to be a 12-team playoff member. And I think that's where ultimately it's going to strengthen college football. I think it probably weakens September. The heartbreak for Notre Dame fans, for instance, of that Ohio State touchdown, I think would be lessened if they knew, hey, there's a 12-team playoff, and if our team goes 9-3, we still have a really good shot, much like anybody who's an NFL fan. I mean, it feels like the whole NFL is basically 2-2 after 4 weeks, or worst case scenario, pretty much 1-3, 3-1. Like, everybody's kind of in that middle section. The NFL obviously has better parity than any pro sports league in America, but I do think that you're going to see more parity in college football than we have been used to, and talent's going to be more distributed. And whoever's got the hot hand of a good quarterback in November suddenly can ride that in a way that I don't think was the case in years past. I mean, I was looking, I don't know if the line's moved anymore, but Bama's only a 2.5-point favorite against A&M.
Yep.
I mean, you guys, it's not like A&M has performed like a top 5 team. for a line to be that low for an Alabama game, I think is kind of a testament to how much parity there actually is. And I think by the time Georgia rolls into Knoxville, it wouldn't shock me if Georgia's only a 4 or 5 point favorite in that game. I think right now they're around a 7.5 point favorite. But if Tennessee beats A&M and plays well against Bama and takes care of business against Kentucky like they typically do, even though Kentucky obviously is sitting at 5-0 right now, then I think that game's going to be electric in November in Knoxville.
Who's your number one team right now? If you were voting number one in the country over what they've done,
I still have Florida State number one because I think, again, I only rank teams based on the quality of wins. And I think if you look, although that LSU win continues to wobble, which is why I'm not as confident in Florida State, but I had them 1. They're on their bye. I've got Texas 2, and I've got, I think it's Oregon 3, and then Michigan, Penn State, Ohio State, I believe, is my current top 6.
All those teams in front of Georgia then, because I don't disagree with you on that, but you've got all those teams in front of Georgia.
Yeah, 9-11 9-11 is the combined record of the teams Florida State's beaten though now.
Yeah, they've got the one good win that
they won a neutral and they've won in Death Valley. I mean, how many teams have 2 better wins on their resume right now than those 2? And look, I understand you can make the argument they didn't look very good against Boston College. The LSU win does not look as impressive as it did in week 1 based on what we've seen from LSU against Arkansas and certainly last weekend against Ole Miss. But I think it speaks to the fact that I think probably the best win that any individual team can point to is Texas over Alabama at this point. But even Texas A&M is kind of a tough read because they look so awful against Miami, right? So I just think there's basically every team has either a half or a full game that you can point to after 5 weeks and say, yeah, I don't really believe in this team at all. And so I think that's kind of the challenge that everybody's got. I think it's good ultimately for college football. But, for instance, USC's 5-0. I've basically written them off as a national title contender because their defense can't stop anybody, right? And so I think you can point to pretty much everybody almost and say, hey, they've got kind of what would typically be in college football a fatal flaw. But when everybody seems to have a fatal flaw this year, it really creates a lot of uncertainty.
The one thing we don't know about is Michigan, Clay. Clay Travis with us on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline, and we really want until they play Penn State November 11th. It's crazy how easy this Michigan schedule is until they get into the second week in November. I mean, just they don't play anybody with a pulse.
Yeah, it's funny. My oldest son was on summer camp at the University of Michigan's campus this summer, so I was up there visiting him. And, they have the football schedule in all the Ann Arbor stores. And I remember just standing in front of that schedule and thinking, everybody's talking about how crappy Georgia's schedule is.
Oh, yeah.
I picked Michigan to make the playoff just based off looking at that schedule. And I do think there's a possibility, to your point. Penn State has looked really good. I don't think it's crazy to think that Penn State, Michigan, and Ohio State could all end up in sort of a round robin 11-1.
Yeah,
it wouldn't stun me if Penn State loses at Ohio State, if Ohio State loses at Michigan, and if Michigan loses at Penn State. That is all out there, and I'm not sure who else. Probably Wisconsin is the toughest game for Ohio State against the Big Ten West. I know Maryland's 5-0. But it doesn't feel like there's really anybody else who's likely to give any of those three teams a run.
This Trevor Bauer situation is amazing. Yeah. So it gets settled yesterday with Lindsey Hill. I watched the 4-minute video twice. I had multiple people watch it. If, in fact, and it seems like this is legitimate, what Trevor Bauer is saying with all of the evidence he's got now that she totally fabricated this, the dude has been exiled to Japan. His contract with the Dodgers was blown up. It blew a lot of parts of the Dodgers up. This guy's reputation will never be back to where it is. I think if you fabricate something like this, you should do hard time.
Yeah, I agree. I think if you make up a rape allegation or a sexual assault allegation, and it is proven that you made it up, I think you should face the punishment that the guy that you accused would have faced if he had been convicted. I don't understand how anybody could be opposed to that. First of all, if you're, someone who is of the opinion that sexual assault is unreported, okay, I'll accept that as being a truth. But you know what delegitimizes sexual assault claims more than anything? Lies. And so there should be consequences for lies in this context. And I think it also speaks to, this is a major issue, I think, of media failure in stories like these, because this is what I believe the identity politics world that we live in has created. And it's basically the idea that if you are, if you're a woman, you're telling the truth, right? That was hashtag believe all women that everybody was in favor of recently in the past couple of years. And look, the reality is men lie, women lie, white people lie, black people lie, Asian people lie, Hispanic people lie, gay people lie, straight people lie. You can't use someone's identity as a proxy for whether or not they are telling the truth. That's why Lady Justice is blind. And that's why I always try to go into the facts. I mean, I see this Trevor Bauer thing. I think the Mel Tucker thing is a perfect example. I think the whole rig job is in effect for Mel Tucker, too, and almost nobody is willing to point out how crazy all this is. I mean, he lost his job because she claimed that she had non-consensual phone sex with him. I mean, on a 36-minute phone call? How is that possible? Like, how months after phone sex can you suddenly say, hey, I didn't consent to this, he should be fired? I mean, all this stuff is crazy. And I think the reality is a lot of people who know better are afraid to say it because they're afraid that they're going to end up being a target, right? And how many people in Major League Baseball who demanded that Trevor Bauer be suspended have publicly said, hey, I apologize, I got this wrong? I haven't seen anybody.
No, and dude did 324 days, and now he's basically out of the league. I don't know if he ever comes back, and it's an amazing situation. And, there's people that are like, why would you bring this up? Well, because it was like the top story, and we killed Trevor Bauer, but now it's like the 4th-page headline because he's actually saying his piece.
Yeah, I don't even know if ESPN's covering the fact that he now has posted this video, for instance. I haven't had it.
Yeah, I checked it. It is on. It's not one of the top headlines, but if you go to the Major League Baseball section, it is on there.
Okay. To me, again, I agree with your position that if you lie, you should be charged with the exact same offense. I don't know why you wouldn't create mirroring laws, in all these different states. And when I say mirroring laws, I mean if you are judged to have lied about an allegation of sexual assault. I mean, what's so difficult about all these sexual assault cases in general is they almost always are he said, she said, because it's very rare that you have multiple people involved, obviously in the room or the location where it occurred. I mean, but look at what's happened just in the recent history here. I mean, Matt Araiza, the punter, like that whole story has blown up. It appears that woman totally lied. And now we've got Trevor Bauer. Again, I think it's crazy that Mel Tucker is losing his job over, again, non-consensual phone sex. That's the allegation. I don't know how we go from here to getting back to some semblance. Again, I just keep using it because I think it connects with people. Lady Justice is blind for a reason, right? If you look at the symbolic Lady Justice with the scales of justice in her 2 arms weighing guilt and innocence, she's blind. And the reason she's blind is you're not supposed to consider anything but the facts. And what we have created in the world of sports is an entire world where all that matters is the identity of the individuals who are involved, whether you're a guy, whether you're a girl, what your race is, what your sex is, what your sexuality is, whatever else, when all of that has nothing to do with whether you're likely to have told the truth or not.
All right, he is Clay Travis, at Clay Travis on Twitter, the founder of Outkick, and you see him on Fox Sports. Clay, thank you very much for the time. Have a good week.
Hey, appreciate y'all. Thanks a lot.
All right, Clay with us on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline.
We talked to Brandon Marcello about some college football when he comes back with us. The show being brought to you in part by our friends at Odie's, where LT and the gang will be back Wednesday night.
Yeah, tomorrow night, actually Brown is going to join us. Will Haver has tapped out for tomorrow night, so it'll be me, Brown, and Rocky. come out and see us. That's at the Crestline location. We'll start up about 8 o'clock. Get there early. Enjoy some of the great food from Rodney Davis. And again, there is a new location in Homewood right off of Broadway on the corner, Oxmoor Road. Stop in. Birmingham Institution, Odie's Tavern.
Hey, Dunaway, can I say something real quick?
Yeah, give me Cut 14 ready as Brown talks.
It's going to sound like something we used to bust on you for saying, if you'll stick with me here. Today, according to Yahoo Sports, today is the last day without NFL or college football until the day before Thanksgiving. Now, the reason that used to sound like some of you see, because this used to come later. Like, we're getting midweek football earlier than we've ever gotten it now because of Conference USA.
Get the Gamecocks tomorrow.
Gamecocks tomorrow night against Middle Tennessee.
And the Sun Belt's playing more weekday games, too, in the MAC.
It used to be November before we got these, before we got like Tuesday night and Wednesday night football. It used to be November.
Right.
But today, according to Yahoo Sports, because Jack State plays a Tuesday game next week, they have played a Thursday game, a Wednesday game. They got a Tuesday game.
I don't know about you guys. I don't hate this.
No,
if I was part of that fan base, I would hate playing on a Tuesday or Wednesday night.
Yeah, but it's good exposure. But this is the last day without football, pro or college, until the Wednesday before Thanksgiving.
Wednesday before Thanksgiving, then a rivalry weekend then. And that's just 53 days away or so, so that's not too far away. Rockstar, this is the Indiana Coaches Show last week, where Brown, his mind was broken over this weird comment from a guy who walks out of the crowd and the awkwardness of Tom Allen, the head coach. And LT and I think we diagnosed it perfectly, and turns out we get facts to back it up on Sunday. Remember how it sounded last week, though?
Sir. Okay, my name is Harold Simpson. I'm from Bloomington, Indiana, and Coach knows I've been to shows over and over again. Coach also knows that I've not been up here ever asking a question. So are you nervous or what? I'm nervous. I don't like being here at all because I coached football for 10 years and played 7 years of semi-pro football and, of course, did my high school career. So we got a background. I don't like being up here, but my section, all right, is extremely unhappy, and since I'm the biggest yeller in the stadium, okay, screamer, they are unhappy with the play calling, Coach, all right? And I'm going to tell you, to a man, they love you, all right? So my statement is, it's a business. And and you understand what I'm saying, okay? Because you're the coach, and we love you, all right? But it's a business. So we wanted to make that statement clear. Thank you.
One of the oddest, most boring radio shows of all time.
Oof, boy.
That guy must have, he might have some heat as far as one of the boosters.
Because what happened, let me finish the story and you react. Indiana fires Walt Bell, the offensive coordinator that he was talking about before that. They're 113th in scoring. Go ahead.
I mean, look, they've been terrible when you start to look at the numbers. I mean, they scored 3 in their opener against Ohio State, 14 against Louisville, and then 17 in that 44-17 loss to Maryland. So maybe it was time for Walt Bell to go. I just wonder, is this a situation where boosters are actually pushing to get this done? I mean, to have a coordinator fired in the month of September.
Not the only place it happened this weekend. Georgia Tech ends up demoting, not firing, their defensive coordinator, Andrew Thacker. He's just going to coach safeties now. I don't know how you walk back in the building and give the golden whistle over to Kevin Scherer, who has a history of being a defensive coordinator. He's now the defensive coordinator for Georgia Tech. All they did was get beat by Bowling Green this week. 38-27. Bowling Green went into Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech had their right uniforms on, the ones they wear all the time, with a black GT on the helmet and the black jerseys at home. They get beat 38-27. Why? Because of the transfer portal. Quarterback at Bowling Green, Connor Baselick. Remember him?
Oh, my gosh, from Missouri?
Yep.
Yeah.
He goes in there and lights up Georgia Tech, so they get a new defensive coordinator.
Brent Key injected, I know we got connections with Brent, and I hope he does well. He injected some life into that program early, but Georgia Tech's just a bad football program.
Struggling after the loss to Bowling Green. We'll see if a change at defensive coordinator. 2 coordinator changes off of the weekend, as LT was pointing out. That is a rarity. Billy Napier, not going to change his way. He's going to keep calling plays, he says, down at Florida. Way to Wellness, if you want to trim the fat on your coaching staff or on your waistline, you can do it with Leslie and her board-certified team at Way to Wellness, your journey to healthy living. Just go to this website, aplanforme.com, aplanforme.com. You'll find no cookie-cutter plans. Your consultation's absolutely free because you're a next-round customer. You have no contracts and no sign-up fees. So it's an easy way to just check out Way to Wellness. It's aplanforme.com. Just type that in, aplanforme.com. It'll take you to the Way to Wellness website. Leslie and her board-certified team will lead you through the process of losing weight, lowering your blood pressure and cholesterol numbers. It all works together. It is Way to Wellness, your journey to healthy living.
Follow John Lunsford on Twitter @JLuntz.
Hey, if you're looking for Birmingham's best pizza, you need to stop in and see our friends at Slice Pizza and Brew. It's as local as you can get, from the ingredients that go into every pizza to the beer on tap. For a great lunch or dinner, go see our friends today, Vestavia or Lakeview at Slice.
Follow Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. The social media team at Next Round Live will share the latest interviews and videos from UAB, Alabama, Auburn, and campuses all over the college landscape. You'll also get the latest highlights and news from the Next Round Live Daily Show. Jim, Lance, and Ryan will share their thoughts, and remember, you can always see the old shows on the Next Round Live YouTube channel. Subscribe, like, and don't forget to comment. Turn on the notifications so you don't miss a thing. It's Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube.
Going to a big football game? Walking around all day? Then you'll want comfortable shoes. This is Wes McClooney, owner of the New Balance Birmingham store. Score a touchdown with a new pair of ultra-comfortable running or walking shoes. Come to the New Balance Birmingham store. I'm telling you, we'll make sure you have a perfect fit and we'll treat you like the starting QB. Our job is to make sure your feet are happy. Visit the New Balance Birmingham store on Highway 280 next to Chick-fil-A. Your feet will thank you.
Do you need extra cash handy? Look no further than Legacy Credit Union for whatever loan your lifestyle requires. It only takes a few minutes to apply and request the amount you need to give you peace of mind. With affordable low rates and manageable payback plans, a Legacy Lifestyle loan is crafted just for you. Apply online today at LegacyCreditUnion.com/join. Lifestyle loans from Legacy. Terms and conditions may apply. Legacy is federally insured by the NCUA.
No one does happy hour like Twin Peaks. Whatever your preference, we have everything from tequila cocktails and an extensive bourbon category to local craft beers and handcrafted whiskey cocktails. And don't forget about that 29-degree man-sized drafts. It's Twin Peaks at the Patton Creek Shopping Centers. Hey, Lance Taylor from the Next Round to tell you about our friends at Gutter Cap. Gutter Cap's that patented aluminum cover system that fits over most existing gutters to keep out debris and eliminate that gutter cleaning. It's backed with a lifetime warranty, almost 20-year service record right here in Birmingham. Stay off that dangerous ladder forever. 45% off the retail price now if you call guttercapbirmingham.com. Call my good friend Chris Stewart now, 205-823-2212. Cap it, don't snap it. It's Gutter Cap.
Make sure to start your day at nextroundlive.com. Get caught up on the latest podcasts and videos from the live daily show, plus specialty shows such as the Mystery Fifth Hour. You can also learn more about the whole staff at Double Down Media, find all of our social media feeds, see the latest videos from our YouTube channel and gaming channel, plus find other ways to consume the show like the Next Round mobile app, which you can download direct from the site via your iOS and Android device. Make nextroundlive.com your homepage and stay up to date with everything from us here at the Next Round.
Back with you on the Next Round. Brandon Marcello standing by. So too our friend at Milo's. And Milo's, Brandon used to live here in our state. He knows how good Milo's is. And they've introduced this now, loaded fries to their menu. They're classic crinkle cut fries topped with queso, bacon, and jalapenos. That makes them Mexi fries. And 100% pure ground beef, grilled onions, and Milo sauce with queso on top of that for the saucy fries. Download the Milo's mobile app today. Use the promo code NEXTROUND to try one of those new loaded fries for free. For free. It's loaded fries with our friends at Milo's.
All right, Brandon Marcello, 24/7 Sports, covers college football for them. At @BMarcello on Twitter. Follow him on all social media. What is up, Brandon? How are you today?
Doing well. How are you guys?
Doing awesome, man. When you look at Alabama, Texas A&M, I was talking to Peter Burns yesterday on one of our podcasts on the Burnout, and he was just kind of going position group by position group. And when you do that, it does look like Texas A&M has an advantage in comparison. They've got an advantage of playing at home. When you look at this game, what do you see between Alabama and Texas A&M?
To me, it comes down to this. Texas A&M has the best pass rush rate in all of college football this year, right? They're getting pressure on nearly 15% of 15% of snaps. They're getting pressure on the quarterback, getting sacks. Alabama has the second worst protection rate in all of college football.
That's a bad combo right there for Alabama. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and that's just the start of the matchups to me. That's the number one thing that would give me big concerns going into this game. With Jalen Milroe performing well the last 2 games, but now going into a big-time hostile environment against a defensive line that, as I wrote today, actually, is starting to live up to those high expectations. I mean, listen, guys, on that defensive line for Texas A&M, they've got 3 guys that at one point in their high school recruiting career, so to speak, they were number 1 in the nation, regardless of position, the number 1 player in the 24/7 sports rankings at some point. They are starting to make that progress to live up to expectations. That 2022 class, of course, is the central piece, but they've had top 4 classes each of the last 5 years or whatever. And listen, level of competition is obviously going up playing Alabama this week. They just got done playing Auburn and Arkansas, but there is some things to pick up on there, and that is one, that pass rush. And what has really gone into that? One, of course, the talent, but also the scheme. They have changed things up a little bit. Just a couple of weeks ago, or a few weeks ago, against Miami, they only blitzed on 33% of their snaps, right? Well, the last 2 weeks, they have upped that. They've realized what their strengths are. And last week against Arkansas, they had 7 sacks. They blitzed on 66% of snaps. So they have doubled the amount of pressures that they're doing schematically. And that has really played into their hands because that's what their strength is.
So if Alabama doesn't pass at all, that throws all that out the window, right? if they go out there and throws 0 passes.
Service Academy, baby. Yeah. Run that triple option.
And then you got Texas A&M, who's got a nose tackle who I think this past game, he had a 16% pressure rate himself, a nose tackle.
Yeah. Wow. So run outside is what you're saying. Got to run outside a little bit. I hear you.
Sure. Yeah. So do whatever you want.
So who's got the quarterback advantage here? I mean, both of these guys, Jalen played clean football last week. Max turned it over 3 times with 2 fumbles. Both at times look really good, and then both at times look like they get shaken up a little bit.
I think Max more than Jalen kind of telegraphs his throws easily. Just look at that 1 interception he had. I think it was the very first play of the second half against Arkansas this past week. Telegraphed all the way. It was easy to jump the route. But again, home field advantage here helps out Max. They're going to do things to protect him, and he's got enough playmakers around him to where they can do that. I think A&M's rushing offense, the running backs are severely underrated and overlooked right now. Their top guys averaging 6 yards per carry. They kind of do a good job of balancing everything out. This is a team that is so deep with talent that it's different guys stepping up. And to go back on the defense, I mean, they got 20 sacks this year. They had 19 all of last year, right? But those 20 sacks are split among 11 different players. So it's different guys stepping up, and it just speaks to their immense talent.
Now imagine Alabama not passing one time.
It's like they unveiled the triple option against USC that one time. They do that.
Yeah. Is it a built-in excuse for? I'm a worst-case scenario guy for Jimbo Fisher that it is Max Johnson or not Connor Wegman? That it's not his number 1 quarterback? That if they do lose this game, that all of a sudden Jimbo can say, what if we'd had Connor, it'd have been a different game. Does he get a pass? I guess I'm asking.
Oh, hell no. He's gone past the pass phase. I mean, he needs to get some things done this year. He's got to challenge and win 10 games. We've talked about that all off season. It's an inflection point for the program at Texas A&M because Big Brother's joining the conference next year, and they spent the last decade running away from the shadow of Big Brother and done so mostly successfully. But things are going to get so much more difficult to be able to win, number 1, but also garner a lot of the attention from the state of Texas when it comes to the SEC program, because that's all about to go away, and A&M better show some progress that they're going to be able to contend with Texas when they join the conference next year.
Did we learn more about Georgia or Auburn this past weekend?
Georgia. Listen, any team that turns the ball over the way that Georgia did is going to allow someone to hang around, even an Auburn team that can't throw for 100 yards against anyone, it seems like. But Georgia has shown to me in several games this year that they can lose multiple ways. whether it's a turnover battle or their defense just unable to really adjust and being out-schemed. And being out-schemed, I mean that South Carolina game in the first half. They were just getting out-schemed there. There wasn't a talent advantage, and that worries me a little bit. And then against Auburn, you go on the road somewhere in the SEC, you turn the ball over 2 to 3 times, and you're unable to overcome that. That's a big-time issue. And, we talk about Texas A&M. Texas A&M was turning the ball over a lot against Arkansas, but yet that was a runaway victory for them. Georgia, they turn over the ball a couple times. They're in trouble. Not accustomed to seeing that from them.
Brandon Marcello is with us, 24/7 Sports, at @BMarcello on Twitter. Follow him on all social media. Support his work the way you do ours. Brandon does a great job with that. He's on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline. I don't feel as though Oklahoma is anywhere close to as tested as Texas. I feel like I know what Texas is, Brandon. In fact, it's maybe one of the few teams in the nation I feel like I've actually got a pretty good grasp on who they are. I do not feel anywhere close to that with Oklahoma.
Yeah, I would like to have seen OU play a tougher Big 12 opponent so far. They went to Cincinnati, and Cincinnati is what it is. And, the new Big 12 members, the 4 new Big 12 members, are combined 1-7 in the Big 12 so far. And that one win was BYU Cincinnati, the 2 members facing each other. So, we're still waiting to see about OU. But I will say this, at least defensively, the consistency week to week has shown up. And you cannot downplay the confidence that builds in them and into the scheme, but also their playmaking ability. I get the feeling that this could very well be one of those games that finishes in the 20s. That's relatively low scoring, even though OU's offense is explosive and Texas can be explosive. But I think that they're a team that can win on defense, obviously. But this game could be very close. I know Texas is favored and all that, but it's very intriguing to me because I think we're going to find out a lot about OU in this game, maybe more so than Texas. And boy, I can't imagine what the conversations would be like in Austin, Sunday morning if Texas loses to OU. And all of a sudden it's, what that conversation.
Oh, like if Texas loses to OU and A&M beats Bama. I mean, it kind of flips back around what you were talking about earlier,
Yeah.
Yeah.
We shared a bottle of bourbon in Nashville at SEC Media Days. I feel like I know this. You seem like a big romantic guy. I mean, you got to love the fact that this last dance for the Pac-12 and this last dance of Texas, Oklahoma in the Big 12 is such a perfect ending. It's almost a Taylor Swift song. The way these two are having such great endings here together.
Yeah, listen, I think a lot of us saw that the Pac-12 was going to be good this year just because of the returning talent at quarterback. And it's living up to the expectations. But starting this past week, I mentioned on the show here before that there's like a 5-week stretch here in the season where all these top teams, like top 6 teams in the Pac-12, are facing off against each other week after week after week. And so they're going to start eating each other a little bit. And we got to see our first one with Utah going down against Oregon State. And Utah, that one was coming because they have dealt with so many freaking injuries, not to mention, of course, the quarterback situation where they've been without Cam Rising, but they've been getting debilitated everywhere, and yet they kept winning, and they finally lost. So watch out this week, guys. There's some big games out there this week. I think UCLA is still hanging around out there that could potentially upset a team or two. But really great football out there. And the 2 teams I've been most impressed with now, and one of them to me is a little bit of a surprise, is Oregon. I'm actually quite surprised by how well they are playing defensively. I knew offensively they'd probably be putting up points, but I thought the offense would take like a half step back. I've said that, and you guys know that because of Kenny Dillingham leaving and the comfort level with Bo Nix there. But Bo Nix has picked that thing up and has just grown even from last season. Very impressive there. And then, listen, I've been a big Washington guy for the last 2 years. Michael Penix is the Heisman leader right now, in my opinion. And that defense is playing so much better. Arizona was only like a 1-touchdown game or whatever, but Arizona could keep up with you, score points. I really love this Washington team. The 2 best Pac-12 teams to me right now are Washington and Oregon. I got Washington right now in my top 3 nationally.
Yeah, I mean, that USC defense, when they got up 34-7, I was like, okay, here we go again. This is Oregon, Colorado all over. And then they just started chipping away. And we can't put a finger on it, and the narrative now is Lincoln Riley's going to have great offenses, and the defense is going to get him beat a couple of games this year. I don't know if this defense can get right.
I don't either. And the thing is that they've got the type of talent and depth to perform well for all 4 quarters. And this has been a recurring thing under Lincoln Riley, and for that matter, really Alex Grinch. So you just got to look at the common denominator. If things don't really make sense to you, like what's going on? The players are there. They're playing well in the first 3 quarters. The common denominator is the coaches. So until something changes there, that's going to remain to be the case. And, Lincoln Riley isn't going anywhere, but you do wonder about Alex Grinch. And I do wonder about the relationship there with Lincoln Riley and Alex Grinch, just, as professionals, and whether, Alex Grinch is just, listen, the way they play defense, the way they play in space, it's conducive to, make turnovers, then also maybe give up big plays. But when you are shutting someone down for 3 quarters or 2.5 quarters, and then all of a sudden it just starts breaking away from you, and effort and missed tackling and all that, that's a coaching thing.
Missouri has Brady Cook, hasn't thrown an interception in 325 passes, their highest ranking since week 1 of 2015. And here comes hobbling LSU. Can Missouri get a big win and it's still a ranked top 25 matchup this weekend? Do you like Missouri at home?
This is a coin flip to me, but I'll say this. LSU is just terrible defensively, and they've been showing it throughout the season. It's a bit shocking to see their secondary be as bad as it is on 3rd downs this year, especially 3rd and longs. It's mind-boggling to me. You guys saw the game Saturday, but it's been going on all season. Florida State, of course, that second half. 2nd and longs, 3rd and longs, just not coming up. And boy, Jaden Daniels looks like an inflatable waving balloon man when he gets on the run, doesn't he? He gets smacked by someone. I just keep waiting for him to snap in half. The guy is so small. But, Mizzou, I've struggled with Mizzou because I've got them in my top 25 because they got that win against Kansas State. And I do think Kansas State's pretty good, but are they top 25 good? I think LSU's got, top 15, top 20 type talent. Mizzou doesn't. So this one's a big coin flip for me. But I'll say this. If Eli Drinkwitz could get this win, it'd be the biggest win so far in his career there at Mizzou.
Oh. I mean, you just got a contract extension, but boy, if you win this one and go to 6-0, I mean,
listen, contract extensions don't mean crap anymore. I mean, listen, I was talking to him back in July at media days outside, and it's just like, yeah, we got a contract extension, all this, and I'm like, boy, but it's still a year-to-year thing, and he agrees.
Right. Yeah.
You'll get fired right away. That's why this whole idea that A&M's not going to fire Jimbo Fisher if they had a bad season because BS. They'll fire his ass, and they'll fire Eli if they have a losing season this year at Mizzou.
He is Brandon Marcello at B Marcello on Twitter. Go support all of his work there with 24/7 Sports. It is always a pleasure, Brandon. Thank you very much for the time today.
All right, see you guys.
All right, buddy. Take care, Brandon, with us on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline.
Before LT tells us about Dr. B, just a little point of fact here.
Okay.
I mean, Michael Penix Jr., Brandon says, still number 1 in his Heisman vote.
He's been tremendous, Jim.
He had 0 touchdown passes this last week as they barely beat Arizona. Did anybody notice that?
What's he got on the year?
Yeah, because we had Arizona at Lance'sLock.com. That was a fun game.
What's he got on the year? 14 or 15, though? And you're going to bust it for having 0?
He had 0 this past week against Arizona. They weren't playing Eastern Washington or Northern Utah Central. They were on the road in conference.
Okay.
And he had 0 touchdown passes.
And
you got 16.
USC hosting Arizona this week. What are the chances they shut out Penix and Caleb Williams back-to-back weeks?
Yeah, they got one bye week this week, and then they play each other, right?
No. USC and Arizona's this week.
Oh, USC and Arizona.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. What are the chances Arizona's defense could pitch shutouts against Penix and then Caleb Williams?
0, because Caleb Williams
he's got 21.
Should be your Heisman Trophy favorite, not Michael Penix Jr.
He's got 21 now. Caleb has to play a lot deeper in games than Penix.
Yeah,
because of that defense.
It was a 4-quarter game this past week.
I got you, Jim.
0 touchdowns, and that's why. The bloom will come off of Penix in Washington at some point.
Next week when they play Oregon?
Maybe. Yeah. Maybe, absolutely. All right. Tell us about Dr. B here.
Dr. B, again, when we first started this venture, started thinning out a little bit, asked around. Dr. Beckenstein is the name everyone said. Went to see Dr. B, and my hair has doubled in thickness since. 3 times a week, including last night. I do the non-invasive treatment on the couch, only 30 minutes each time. It's that simple. For more than 20 years, women and men have turned to Dr. B for a range of cosmetic and reconstructive procedures. He will use that experience, his advanced training, and genetic testing to help his patients fully understand the procedures they are considering. Call Dr. Beckenstein today. Book that consultation, 205-319-0316 or t3hair.net.
Amazing baseball fact in the playoffs today. You ready?
All right.
18 straight games the Minnesota Twins have lost in the postseason. They've lost 18 straight postseason games. 2004 ALDS is the last time they won a postseason game. They've been losers and swept every time since.
Yeah, the amazing thing is the majority of those times they've matched up against the Yankees. Guess what? There's no Yankees out there this year.
There is no Yankees this year, but there is a Toronto. Better than Minnesota? Not today, but in the short series.
We've got to play on this game today.
You do.
We've got 2 games up, lanceslock.com. We've got a side in that game, and we have got a total in your Rays-Rangers game.
Yeah, over or under the 7.5 is what you're saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, Glasnow pitching there for the Tampa Bay Rays, who won 99 games in the regular season. 18 straight postseason games, and the Twins come into the series with injuries to Buxton, Correa, and Lewis. They're all expected to play, but they're not 100%. We'll see what the Twins are able to do at home today. We'll talk more baseball, of course, a little bit deeper when the Braves get going later this weekend. When we come back, we'll do our 4 downs as we head to break here. Brownie, tell us about our friends at MyBookie. You can get on those over and under plays and everything at lanceslock.com by going to mybookie.ag.
Yeah, you can. I'm looking at it right here on my tablet, Jimmy D. I can click on that Major League Baseball. It's actually the first thing that pops up. I see your Rays are favored by 1.5. Toronto, 1.5. Philadelphia, 1. I play all those things right there at mybookie.ag, code next round. Mybookie.ag, code next round. When you sign on and make that initial deposit, they'll give you a bonus, a special bonus, when you use code next round at mybookie.ag. You can bet anything, anytime, anywhere with mybookie.ag, and you can do it with free money from them when they give you that sign-on bonus. You win once with it, it is yours forever. It's not one of those where they give you the bonus. You got to win it 5, 6, 7 times. Win once, and it's yours forever. MyBookie.ag, code next round. MyBookie.ag, code next round. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere with MyBookie.ag.
Follow the Next Round on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Next Round Live.
The wait is over. Tonali has arrived. Beautifully distinctive Italian styling and performance. Come test drive the all-new 2024 Alfa Romeo Tonali plug-in hybrid at Alfa Romeo of Birmingham. The all-new Tonali offers best-in-class horsepower and torque, fastest 0 to 60 times in its class, plus best-in-class range with full electric charge. And best of all, qualified Tonali leasees are eligible for up to $7,500 EV tax credit factored into your lease. Hurry down to Alfa Romeo of Birmingham and experience the all-new Tonali.
Hey, Ryan Brown here from the Next Round. Do you want to help pay for my kids' college and look great while you're doing it? You need to go to the Next Round store. Everything from hats to short sleeve and long sleeve t-shirts, sweatshirts, hoodies, zip-up hoodies, and much more. And we're adding new things all the time. Why would you not want to see my kids get a great college education and look great out in the public while you're doing it? Get the gear we wear all the time on the show, and there's only one place to get it. NextRound.store. That's NextRound.store.
It's NBA time, Birmingham, as we hoop it up with the New Orleans Pelicans and Houston Rockets, October 12th at Legacy Arena. Single game tickets are now available. Visit BirminghamSquadron.com or call 205-719-0850 for more information or to buy tickets. And the game is packed with former local players like Herb Jones and Kyra Lewis Jr. and Jabari Smith, and other superstars like Brandon Ingram and Zion Williamson. You can also become a Squadron season ticket holder to get complimentary tickets to this huge event right here in the Magic City. The Pelicans preseason game in Birmingham sold out last year, so get your tickets as soon as possible. Do that online at BirminghamSquadron.com or by calling 205-719-0850. October 12th, it's the Pelicans and Rockets at Legacy Arena right here in Birmingham. BirminghamSquadron.com.
Hey, Lance Taylor from the Next Round to tell you about our friends at Gutter Cap. Gutter Cap's that patented aluminum cover system that fits over most existing gutters to keep out debris and eliminate that gutter cleaning. It's backed with a lifetime warranty, almost 20-year service record right here in Birmingham. Stay off that dangerous ladder forever. 45% off the retail price now if you call guttercapbirmingham.com. Call my good friend Chris Stewart now, 205-823-2212. Cap it, don't snap it. It's Gutter Cap.
The Next Round golf card is back and is presented by Urology Centers of Alabama. For $89, play Limestone Springs, Cross Creek, The Meadows, and the renovated Woodward Golf Club. $247 in value for just $89. Or get bonus gifts with the Deluxe Golf Card for $119. No restrictions, good through September of 2024, but supplies are limited. Buy right now at nextround.store.
We're about to get to our 4 downs in a second. Vulcan Tire and Automotive Chat Room. Appreciate all the folks over there who are talking football as we get ready for the big weekend. You heard Brandon talk about LSU's defense. 121st in the country on yards per play. That's LSU's defense. 121st in the country.
Well, again,
yards per play.
I talked some with Peter. You guys know how Peter Burns loves LSU, and I was like, look, we forgave it against Florida State because you're like, it was really just one bad quarter against Florida State, kind of what we say about Alabama and Texas, right?
Right.
And then Arkansas, you were like, it wasn't great now, but LSU was never really in danger of losing that Arkansas game. So you kind of
you say that.
They weren't. I didn't think they were. I watched that game. I never felt like LSU was going to lose that game. Like every time Arkansas scored, LSU would answer. You know what I'm saying? Arkansas cut it to 7. LSU would push it back out to 14. You cannot forgive this one. You can't just dismiss this one and say, I'm going to make an excuse. I mean, they got 700 yards put on them by Ole Miss.
LSU, though, the LSU offense I've seen will score on anybody.
They will, but I don't know who they're going to stop.
Alabama, right. But, I mean, this is, to me, it's almost the USC syndrome where they're going to lose a couple of games, which they already have, but they're going to be able to outscore some of these other opponents.
That's the comparison. Is they're the alphabet of the South. The USC out west, LSU down south. They can score points, can't play defense this year so far.
That'll be a fun, I don't know, 2 teams that are 9-3 bowl somewhere.
I mean, but it's just weird to see Ole Miss at times struggle to run the football. Really, they'd only run it on Georgia Tech. Everybody else they had struggled to run it on, and they put 317 on them.
Our friends at Slice brings us 4 downs every day. Slice, 4 great locations, LT.
Yeah, and remember the carryout special, $75. You get 12 of the fire-baked wings. You get 2 of those specialty pizzas, half pan of the salad, 7 days a week, all 4 locations. The original in Lakeview, Vestavia, Montevallo, now Crestline Park. Local pizza, local ingredients. For more information, slicebirmingham.com.
First down.
Better 5-0 right now, Missouri or Louisville?
Missouri, because they've got the win over Kansas State, and I think they have a better top-end quarterback in Brady Cook than Jack Plummer. So I would go Missouri. Though Louisville gets I don't think it's a given that Notre Dame can walk right into to Papa John Cardinal Stadium and walk out with a W.
Yeah, the thing I would say about Notre Dame, Louisville had a tough win against NC State, and now Brennan Armstrong has been benched. We'll get more on that later, possibly in our upset alert.
Possibly.
But you look at Notre Dame's last 2 games and how emotionally, how hard they fought for 60 minutes against Ohio State in the loss and then against Duke in the win. Sooner or later, these games are going to catch up with Notre Dame.
Yeah, they play right up to the razor's edge. Cost them against Ohio State. They were able to survive it somehow against Duke.
Yeah, but those were 2 top 15 teams.
Oh, no, they're good teams.
Yeah,
but still physically, man, that team is grinding right now. And this is a tough game against Louisville.
I think Luther Burden is the best player on either team, and Missouri has him, and I agree with you. I think Missouri has the better quarterback play, so I'm going to go Missouri, and they've got the best of the wins in Kansas State. That's the best win. Louisville has beaten Georgia Tech, Murray State, Indiana, BC, and NC State.
Yeah, Louisville's got some losses coming up.
Yeah, I agree.
Second down.
And so does Missouri. I'm not convinced it's Saturday. I think they play right with LSU.
So C.J. Stroud has been the one of the big talking points so far in the NFL through 4 games.
Darling.
He's got a birthday today. He's all of 22 years old. So he's been doing this at 21.
Wow.
He's 22 today. If I asked you better career moving forward, I'll give you C.J. Stroud or the combination. You can have either one, Mac Jones or Bryce Young.
Oh, Mac Jones. I think Mac Jones will be out of the league soon. I don't know about Bryce yet. I am definitely taking C.J. Stroud based on what I've
I would
seen.
take C.J. Stroud for sure. Bryce would be second.
Isn't it funny, though, how everything changes? I mean, 5 weeks ago, I'm giving you C.J. Stroud or Bryce Young.
Yeah,
Everybody
I would
said
have gone Bryce Young. Yeah, before I saw the two of them play in the NFL.
Yeah, but I mean, the durability thing was always going to be there with Bryce. And
yeah, he's hurt very quickly in his NFL career, isn't he?
We'll see how quickly Mac can land somewhere else if he ends up out of New England, if he ever gets a starting job back.
Yeah, if you had to bet on him starting somewhere else, like as the actual starter, not some injury or something like that, do you think he'll start elsewhere?
I think he'll get one more try. I mean, Baker Mayfield has gotten a couple of tries.
Mac has not been good.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he has not been good. I just wonder what it's like if he's got talent around him. Like if he was in Brock Purdy's situation in San Francisco. If he was in...
Well, that
was
Joe almost Burrow, where he was, yeah.
Joe Burrow is great.
Yeah.
But if he had Cincinnati's talent, would Mac Jones look better?
You telling me Jamar Chase, who says he's open literally on every play?
Yeah.
If he had him?
I'm just saying... He is in a knife fight with basically.
They don't have a lot of great.
I
don't disagree with you on that, but I don't think he's played up to.
Oh no!
You can't just blame it on everything around him.
No.
He does contribute. I agree.
You do feel like force yourself sometimes to make some plays.
Third down.
A couple of musician birthdays today. Lindsey Buckingham is 74 years old. Tommy Lee is 61. Better career, Tommy Lee, Lindsey Buckingham.
I'd go Lindsey Buckingham. Yeah.
Does Lindsey not die?
No.
Christine McVie did.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know here.
Lindsey Buckingham. You lost me after that.
Tommy Lee.
Tommy Lee for me because.
I like the music a lot better, but I don't know. I mean, who's more iconic?
Well, I guess Lindsey Buckingham did a lot of the writing too.
Well, I think Fleetwood Mac is the more iconic group.
But not for me, it's not.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm just saying iconic takes everybody into consideration, not just you.
I know, but I'm answering for me.
Right. But he said who's more iconic. Fleetwood Mac's the more iconic group. He'd give me that.
I don't know.
I think they are. Rockstar?
I would totally agree.
Yeah.
But I'm not a big fan of Fleetwood Mac, but I'm really not a fan of Motley Crue.
But if you did Shout at the Devil, if you would have been Vince Lee for Blackjack Symphony, would it be different?
I would have loved.
He didn't sing that much either. Whew.
I would love to be able to have these type shows, like Fleetwood Mac would have to come out and they do a set of playing Motley Crue hits, and Motley Crue come out and do a set of playing Fleetwood Mac hits.
Landslide. Motley Crue does Landslide.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It'd be good to see the mashups.
Yeah.
I've been thinking.
I would go Tommy Lee just for the fact that Tommy Lee did a bunch of people outside of the band and Lindsey Buckingham did a bunch of people inside of the band.
Interesting.
Right?
Yeah. Hey, so album sales? Would you go Fleetwood Mac's out sold more than Motley?
It's just amazing how much money that how many sales that thing did.
And still does. Like when it circles back around to something, and Landslide's been covered by the Dixie Chicks has a very popular cover, and I think someone else does
Smashing
of it.
Pumpkins.
Yeah.
We need more Home Sweet Home covers, don't we?
I do like Home Sweet Home. It's a really good song.
Yeah. By the way, when I was leaving Bud Light Game Night last Thursday night, Mama, I'm Coming Home, Ozzy Osbourne was playing. It had the sunroof open, full moon, harvest moon out. It was great. The entire time I thought it was Tommy Lee singing. It was Motley Crue. And then I was like, this isn't Motley Crue.
It's Ozzy.
Tommy doesn't sing.
Yeah. He does sing.
Fourth down.
The one
he plays
Home Sweet Home,
He
right?
plays piano.
He doesn't sing in that one?
No, that's Vince Neil.
Yeah. Gwen Stefani, believe it or not, 54 years old today.
How about that?
Better career, Gwen Stefani or Tony Gwynn? I'm going to go Tony Gwynn just because he's the best hitter I've ever seen.
Probably the second best hitter of all time behind Ted Williams, most would say.
Maybe.
Yeah, I think most would say that.
And Tony Gwynn was strong and hefty, wouldn't be caught in a spider web.
Wow.
Man.
Don't speak of that.
Yeah.
But he wouldn't look good in a blue dress barefoot.
But Gwen Stefani has, for decades now, has just, been so consistent.
Stranger voice. Tony Gwynn's speaking voice or Gwen Stefani's singing voice?
She does it a little better than Britney Spears, but she's got that.
Yeah.
Tony Gwynn talk like this.
Tony Gwynn did have a
very strange
voice.
speaking voice.
Tony Gwynn by a mile in this one, but I did love Gwen Stefani back in the day.
Yeah.
No doubt.
No doubt you did?
Yep. That is 4 Downs, brought to you by our friends at Slice and also by our friends at Redmond Vodka, man. What a great weekend with Redmond Vodka. Hey, it's not bad to pair a little sliced pizza up with Redmond Vodka.
No. So many different things you can do with the Redmond Vodka. Again, it's gluten-free. It's 8 times distilled, locally owned and operated. Charles Barkley, one of the great faces behind it. Pick up a bottle, available in 22 states. Ask for it by name. It is Redmond Vodka.
Patrick says Tony Gwynn was no hollaback boy. Gwynn wasn't bananas, says Smuff23. These go on all day.
They do. Yeah.
Poor Tony Gwynn, man. How long ago has it been since he passed? It's been a good 10 years, hasn't it?
Probably so.
I was going to say 2015, but maybe before that. Yeah. When we come back, upset alert time. We'll give you 3 games. We think, two games that we think we'll get right in the upset, and I'll give you mine too. The Goose Egg has made it all the way through week 5.
How about that? In October, huh?
What's it called in the NFL? The knockouts. What are they called?
The survivor pool, suicide league. Yeah.
My upset alerts are survived all the way until October without getting one right. We'll do our upset alert when we come back. The show being brought to you by our friends at Bud Light. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Bud Light game night coming up at Crestwood Tavern this weekend. We're back in a moment.
Take the next round anywhere you go with official Next Round gear. Buy yours today at nextround.store.
DryTech Water Restoration is a locally owned company that specializes in mold remediation, fire and water damage cleanup, and SteraMist services. DryTech's goal is to provide clients with expert guidance when dealing with any home disaster. DryTech's highly trained specialists are available 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. They will work closely with you and your insurance company to make sure the process is stress-free as possible. Call DryTech today, 205-637-0143. The moment you discover damage to your home, DryTech's team will handle the rest.
Follow Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. The social media team at Next Round Live is dedicated to giving you daily news conferences and practice video from UAB, Alabama, Auburn, and around college football. Follow and compare to the sites you used to visit. You'll also get the latest highlights and news from the Next Round Daily Show. Turn on the notifications so you don't miss a thing. Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. See more at nextroundlive.com.
Hey, Lance Taylor from the Next Round to tell you about our friends at New Life Art. Daniel A. Moore has completed his original full-color oil painting honoring Bryce Young, Alabama's 4th Heisman Trophy winner. This painting depicts the memorable Heisman-worthy go-ahead pinpoint pass to John Mechie in the corner of the end zone as the Tide dismantled the vaunted Georgia defense in the SEC championship game this past year. Use code TNR for 15% off. You can order online at danielmooreart.com. Football season is here, and Legacy Credit Card is just what you need to manage your spending safely and wisely. Credit cards offer better consumer protection against fraud when compared to a debit card, which is linked directly to your bank account. Legacy offers rates as low as 8.9% APR on credit cards compared to major card providers who advertise rates as high as 29% APR. Look no further than Legacy. Open a credit card online in minutes at legacycreditunion.com/join. APR's annual percentage rate, rates, and offers subject to change. See website for details. Federally insured by NCUA.
There are so many things I love about walk-ons. Authentic, mouth-watering Louisiana cuisine, prepared fresh, daily from scratch. A great beer selection and TVs everywhere to watch the big game every day of the week. And of course, they've got 2 great locations on Highway 280 and 119 and at Hoover near the Hoover Met. Walk-ons is also a great place for happy hour, 2 to 6 Monday through Friday with $5 moonshine swirls, $5 house pours, and half-price appetizers. And it's an easy take-home experience for the family as well. Highway 280 and Hoover with walk-ons.
Follow Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. The social media team at Next Round Live is dedicated to giving you daily news conferences and practice video from UAB, Alabama, Auburn, and around college football. Follow and compare to the sites you used to visit. You'll also get the latest highlights and news from the Next Round Daily Show. Turn on the notifications so you don't miss a thing. Follow Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. See more at nextroundlive.com.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown, and Rockstar. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, The Next Round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
All right, final hour of the show. As always, the 11 o'clock hour, hour 3, brought to you by our friends at Champy's World Famous Fried Chicken. Here's a suggestion. You want to swing by Champy's on Saturday morning, see that good-looking guy there, not the one on the right, the one on the left, Sterling, and let him put together a big platter for you to take home to watch the Tide and the Aggies at 2:30 on CBS. Deep Southern fried chicken, cooked to order, Mississippi Delta recipe tamales, hand-cut chicken fingers, and a lot more. Champy's Chicken, Highway 119 in Alabaster for over a decade. Champy'sChicken.com for all your orders. Getting ready for a big weekend of college football. That's just one of many great games. Oklahoma and Texas on ABC. We told you Greg Sankey will be there, future SEC rivalry game. We talked a little bit yesterday. Who was on the show? We talked a little bit about the Red River with yesterday. Klatt, yeah, because he likes to call it the Red River Shootout like we do still.
Yeah, the Red River Shootout's what it is. I'm about as excited. I don't know if it's because they're coming to the SEC.
Same boat. What you're about to say.
Yeah, or because Oklahoma has gotten better this year, it appears. This is probably the most excited I've been about the Red River.
Remember last year, wasn't it Oklahoma that was supposed to win the game easily, and then Texas just beat the crap out of them?
Yeah, it was. They destroyed them last year. 2 years ago was the fun game.
Back and forth?
Yeah, where Texas had such a big lead with Bijan, and then you got Caleb Williams came in the game.
That's right.
And changed the dynamic, and it ended up being a great game.
And on top of that, I think the 11 o'clock window is your best window all day.
Oh, yeah.
And that's part of it. You got that. I don't know what Maryland-Ohio State is going to be.
Well, that's what I was getting to here. Maryland-Ohio State, another big game. Can Maryland pull the upset?
I mean, Talia has played really well, Lance. My bookie's right here. I think mybookie.ag, Ohio State's a 21-point favorite. Am I right about that? Does that sound right to you? That is a lot to overcome on the road in the horseshoe.
We're going to call
Maryland.
it dick whipping.
Yeah, I kind of feel the same way. 19.5, Jim, is where I've got it right now. Ohio State favored 19.5.
5 touchdowns versus Indiana. Top 15 in passing yards for Talia right now, 1,464 yards. 5-0 for the first time since 2001 is Maryland, but now they get Ohio State, a really true test there. Then the LSU-Missouri game also at the 11 o'clock hour. 2 o'clock, Washington State, UCLA with playoff implications.
Great game I can't watch, Jim.
For Washington State there. Alabama, Texas A&M, which we're about to hear more on. And then at night, Notre Dame and Louisville, where fighting chance for Louisville in this one at home. LT seems to think Notre Dame could run out of gas.
I don't think Louisville's great, but I think they've got a fighting chance.
And Michigan and Minnesota. Is any chance Minnesota and the PJ Fleck plays Michigan
terrible.
close?
Yeah, there is.
Awful offense.
They won't be able to score, yeah.
Awful offense. PJ Fleck has let that offense just go down the drain.
By the way, 30 points or more in every game so far, and not more than 7 points.
Who, Michigan?
Michigan.
They're playing nobody. They have played for any contender. I may not even say any contender. I mean, their schedule has to be the easiest in the country.
Yeah, but I will just say to hold teams to 7 points each and every week is so difficult to do.
No, I don't disagree. I mean, they've done – I always say this. Everybody's going to play crappy teams. There's a way a great team is supposed to play against a crappy team. And I'll say this. Michigan has done that. They have played the way – they have beaten crappy teams the way elite teams are supposed to beat crappy teams.
Michigan, Texas, Georgia, Florida State. That's my top 4 in that order. Michigan, Texas, Georgia, Florida State. That's the way I go.
I would go Michigan, Texas, Georgia, Washington.
I'm so fascinated. Y'all both still have Georgia in there.
Yeah.
It's wild.
I can't get it out of my head that they've won 22 straight games.
Well,
yeah. Oregon 5th, Penn State 6th for me right
See, the way I vote, they've won 5 straight games.
I know. I know that.
That's the difference in how we look at Georgia.
Jimbo Fisher, the only description this says right here, Jimbo Fisher talks really fast about Alabama.
They're a complete football team. They're a very good football team. We're going to have to play better than we're playing. We have to, as far as improving our mistakes and not that we have to jump up. We got to get better each and every week. That's our goal. We have to improve, and we have a good football team. We need to worry about us and prepare and look at what they do and be able to prepare against what they're going to be able to bring in here, which is going to be a very big, strong, physical football team and has skill. And like always, Coach Saban's a great coach. They do a great job with the staff, and it's about we have to go in and prepare well and get ready to play a great game and play another SEC. And I say they're double whammy games because it's an SEC game and it's an SEC West game. So, it counts double. And, this is the next game, so it's the most important game we have.
My Lord, how many cliches did he just use? I don't know that we can count them.
I couldn't even keep up with them. I don't know
picking a zit. He never slowed down while he was picking a zit.
Can you imagine if he was on an Adderall?
Oh, my Lord. I mean, that had to, no joke, there had to be 30. How long was that? 40 seconds maybe? There had to be 30
seconds.
There had to be 30 coaching cliches in that 40 seconds.
100%. And here's Jimbo now talking about the nameless, faceless opponent that is Alabama. Hard to do that. Bite your fingernails. Go, Jimbo.
You made it very clear in the past that you want your guys to approach every game like they're nameless, faceless opponents.
Mm-hmm.
But isn't there a certain human nature that would look at playing Alabama and think of it as
not if you understand what success is about and understand what winning and how you have to prepare. I mean, if you can get distracted by that and listen to the clutter and listen to all that stuff, you can. But what you got to focus on when you learn that you have to control yourself. There's nothing we can do about Alabama. Is Alabama, and they're a great team. What we have to do is get prepared to play Alabama and whoever you're playing, because each game is a big game. I know that sounds cliche, and it does because the public always says these things, and I get it in the media. I get where you're saying that, but as a player, as a coach, you can't do that. I mean, it's that simple, and I don't mean that any disrespect to them, but you got to control what you can control, and it's the next game and how you prepare, and you prepare for them like you would anybody else.
You believe that?
No.
You think Jimbo prepares the same for this team as he does anywhere else? I mean, his best performances have been against Nick Saban.
Yeah, and I just hope, I haven't seen notes fly out yet, that we don't have Saban's record against his assistants again.
Well, he added a win last time we had one. Lane Kiffin got, he added a win.
But this is, I mean, for a lot of teams in the SEC, when you play Alabama, you circle it, but this is their biggest game of the year.
Yeah, I don't think there's any way Jimbo doesn't know that. Obviously, he knows it. He knows that he called it a double whammy game in that string of coaching cliches. He knows to get to Atlanta, he probably has to win this game. I mean, there's a chance that you could go undefeated the rest of the year and Alabama loses too. There's that chance. There's no doubt there's that chance. But boy, that is a lot to hope for. I got to go undefeated. Excuse me. I got to go undefeated and they got to lose 2 games. That's just, this is the last year you got to worry about stuff like that. This is the last year you got to worry about that. But until this year is over, that is just a hill that is going to be really, really difficult to climb.
It is time for our upset alert. It's our spotlight on Tuesdays. Today, LT, it is being brought to you by our friends at Michelson Laser Vision.
Yeah, stop procrastinating. If you've been thinking about LASIK surgery, now is the time to at least get the consultation. If you wear the glasses, you wear the contacts, you're wasting money each and every year. 205-969-8100. Ask for Amy Toe. The Next Round sent you. They're going to hook you up with a hassle-free consultation. You have zero to lose to find out if LASIK is right for you. Again, I had the 2200 vision, got the procedure done, 2015 vision still. Dr. Mort Michelson, Dr. Jen Michelson. For more information, MichelsonLaserVision.com.
The College Football Spotlight.
Sound the alarm. College football's upset alert.
Weird alarm.
Brought to you by our friends at Michelson Laser Vision. Do we have a leaderboard?
Oh, wait a minute. Who's that?
Yes, we do. Upset alert scoreboard. Brown's got 8 total points now. Lance has 4 total points.
What a run.
And I've got 0 points. So not only have I not got an outright winner, and see, I've gone the Brown Bandit approach. I'm only playing the big ones now.
Yeah, that's what you got to do. That's the key to this, Jim.
And I keep...
but you know what you need to do?
I got to win one.
You got to win one.
Yeah, I played one close one time, but then it fell apart, and I didn't even cover. I hadn't even covered yet one time. Brown got a point last week for covering.
I apologize for that, guys. I apologize that I did not give you an outright winner, that I only covered. Yeah. I aim for higher than that. I hope you know.
Maybe the Brown Bandit in a second, but I'll start us off today. I've got a unranked team beating a ranked team outright this weekend.
What?
Yep.
Who you got?
I'm not buying quarterback. I'm not buying quarterback in this one.
Okay.
For the team that's going to lose. Give me the Cal Bears.
Wow. Look at that. How long did that take you?
Well, let's see what time the text was this morning.
So how long did that take you?
Oh, that took him an hour.
I'm going Cal Bears today.
Did you even go home last night? That's incredible, Jim.
Getting 9.5, the Cal Bears.
Jim, that's maybe the best one ever.
We also don't have any more blue ink.
Yeah, that's right, out of the blues.
Well, I had to tell Reed, I used your blue ink pen just in case he starts to write something important on his board in his office.
Wow, Jim, that's impressive.
So there's the Cal Bears.
That's a really good bear.
Yeah, thank you. I tried to set Brown up earlier. I said I'm going to bail out and just do the scripted Cal.
6:36 a.m. So you were up here scribbling that thing at 6:36.
Or before.
I was through at 6:36, 6:15.
No, you said
it took about 15, 20 minutes.
You said, "Is it bad that I just used the script Cal?" And I said, "Is that one of their trademark? Is that one of their protected marks?" And you were like, "Yeah." I was like, "That's fine then."
I'm
man.
a big fan of the California state flag. So
yeah. So did you call that? No, Texas is a sexy looking state. Is the California flag a sexy flag?
It is. It is.
Interesting.
Hind legs. You got to always remember hind legs of a bear bigger than the front legs
That's
of
right.
a bear.
That's
So
that might be the best state flag, by the way.
California.
Yeah, I think so too.
I like Texas.
I didn't want to steal the brown bandit,
right?
But I do have a California T-shirt at the house with this logo on it as the California state flag.
That's when you go zip up jacket and you unzip
almost.
it.
Yeah. I've got the
Done
Cal T-shirt with the silly bear on it, though.
Yeah.
That's a good one, Jim. Great artwork by you.
There we go. Cal is. I'm gonna put this here, and it's gonna fall 3 times. So
Let's
put
hope
that
not.
There.
Not with that bear
Cal
on
is my upset 9.5. I don't know if they'll win the game. I just wanted to draw the bear.
Yes.
How long ago was it when I asked for my colors?
Lance, that was in the last commercial break.
Yeah, and it took me about a minute. This is the worst drawing I've ever had. It's terrible, but I didn't have time to fill in the colors. If I went and erased and tried to get this back, but we are taking the orange.
Yes.
Syracuse.
Wow, Lance.
Very disproportional on the S there, plus 8.5. I really think last week against Clemson, the game is different if Garrett Schrader doesn't fumble on that 19-yard run where he crosses midfield on that first drive. They end up losing a tough game to Clemson where they cut it to single digits in the fourth quarter. But North Carolina coming off a bye, I think they'll be a little out of rhythm. The Syracuse rush defense is really good. They're only giving up 10.7 points per game. So I think Syracuse defense keeps them in this one.
That S is that's we didn't have a lot of money in the trailer park.
No, it's shaky. It's a shaky S.
When I was Superman, that was the S I had to wear.
Yeah. It's not good.
That's what we call it was a store called Kmart back in the day. That was the Kmart Superman outfit right there. Faded red, made it look orange. S was disproportional.
Superb boy.
Yeah. I was suck boy. Well, no,
wow.
I wasn't.
You suck boy.
Hello.
Let's bring in the Brown Bandit.
Hey, guys.
Hey, guys.
How's everybody doing today?
You sound like Brown.
Huh?
Nothing. Just a guy I know.
Jim, did they show the leaderboard before I got in here?
They did. Should we show the leaderboard again?
Oh, is there a leaderboard?
Yeah, they don't put the Bandit's name on there. Maybe we should just change it to Bandit instead of Brown.
Holy crap, look at that. I apologize. I want to apologize to everybody for only scoring 8 points so far this year. I try. How many points is it worth done away if the Brown Bandit picks a favorite of 3.5 or more and wins outright?
3.5 and wins outright?
Or 6.5 more and wins outright.
6.5. That's 3 points.
3 points? That's what I aim for every week. And I want to apologize for everyone that I haven't been hitting that.
You could be maxed out at 15 right now.
I could be, but I'm only at 8. Now, I know that's double what Lance has and 8 times what Dunaway has.
Or it's double what we have combined.
Yeah, it's double what those two have combined. But I aim for more. The Brown Bandit aims for more, and we're going to give it to you this week.
Okay, you should. You should.
Yep,
People expect it now.
People expect it now. You're absolutely right, Lance. Guys, the Brown Bandit came bearing gifts today.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yep, bearing gifts.
Can we play at home? It's a play at home kit?
Yep. We came bearing gifts.
It's in a morgue bag.
What?
It's in a body bag. Oh, no.
Oh, that's the wrong gift right there.
That's the gun.
Whoa, sorry, guys. Sorry, guys. Let me reach in the gift bag again and see what we got. Oh, I found them.
If you pull that sombrero out, that's going to be
Very impressive, right?
It's like magic all of a sudden.
Hey, Rockstar, do you have your phone? Do you have your phone handy, Rockstar?
Right here. What do you
Can
mean?
you look on the calendar just real quick?
Okay.
What started Sunday on your calendar there, Rockstar?
October 1st.
It's not October, Rockstar.
Oh, no.
It's Locktober.
Locktober.
I brought you guys some locks. Here you go.
Fresh Locktober.
Here, you and Jim.
Thank you.
Yeah, I brought you guys some locks.
Oh, we got to share?
Yeah. Well, no, it's 2. There's 2 right there. I've even got one for Rockstar. Rockstar, I brought you a lock.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, this is how we celebrate Locktober, man.
How much are these locks, by the way?
Huh?
I bet if we check the Amex,
Yeah.
you get $20 locks that we're just going to throw in the
this
garbage.
one holds
20 would be a good deal.
This one holds 5 keys. Rockstar's right. That's only on the sale rack.
Those are the house locks.
Yeah,
right?
Rockstar holds 5 keys, man. 5 keys. So everybody got locks. Let's don't open those just yet. We're gonna open them here in just a little bit, okay, Lance?
Yeah, or we're gonna hopefully you got a receipt.
We're gonna return them.
But so I got you two both locks.
What did you
Rockstar
like
locks.
about the lock? Oh, I don't know. It didn't fit the door.
I've changed my plans. I'm no longer going to rent houses for a living.
Am I the only one that doesn't get to use the TNR credit card? We can buy locks on this thing?
Locks.
I'll settle for locks and bagels.
Oh, here we go. Look, this thing sets up. So we're going to be able to, I know, it was a terrible joke, wasn't it? So it is Locktober. So we're going to start Locktober off with an absolute outright winner. NC State has been one of the most disappointing teams. I heard somebody pick them in their ACC championship game. I can't remember who it was.
That might have been me.
Oh, was it Lance?
Yeah, it might have been me.
Lance picked them in his ACC championship
Hey, season's
game.
not over.
Who are they
Season's
playing,
not over.
LSU?
They have been a massive disappointment.
Hey, but they're changing quarterbacks.
So much so they're changing quarterbacks.
MJ Morris, watch out.
MJ Morris coming in for Brennan Armstrong, the Virginia transfer. He's out. We're going to go to MJ Morris. I'm sure that'll fix things for NC State. Yep. You know when it won't fix them? It won't fix them Saturday. You know why? Can you hear what's coming in? Do y'all hear it? Do you hear it?
I'm listening. I can't hear anything.
Do you hear it? Wait a minute. I hear it off in the distance. You know what that is? You know what that is coming in, Rockstar? You know what it is? It's a thundering herd. That's what's coming in. The Marshall Thundering Herd. Rockstar, I don't understand this here in Locktober. You're going to have to explain this to me. They're giving them 6.5 points, Rockstar.
What the hell are you going to do with those points? What do you do with those?
We're going to lock them up, baby. We're going to put them in prison and lock them up, Rockstar.
Five keys.
I got 5 keys. They got 6.5 points, but guess who doesn't need those points? The Thundering Herd. We don't need them! Outright, Marshall wins in Raleigh, the state capital of North Carolina. It goes down, baby. The Thundering Herd of Marshall, straight up. You don't need the 6.5 points. It is Locktober. Welcome to Locktober, everybody. Congratulations, you've made it.
The Bandits spending that tobacco money as they go into Raleigh, Tobacco Road, and take on MJ Morris, the Morris family. Not good in tobacco trials. Give me Marshall.
It is my welcome to Locktober game of the year.
You know what game that or what channel that's on? Did you say
it's
it?
CW, if I'm not mistaken.
It is a CW.
I watched a little bit of their game. I can't remember who they had Saturday, but I watched a little bit of that.
That's the ACC game of the week on CW, Marshall and NC State. NC State's struggling to score points.
They are. Yeah. Change your quarterback.
MJ Morris. Yep. Watch out.
MJ Morris.
He was really good last year. So before Brennan Armstrong transferred out, they planned on redshirting him this year, but he played 2 starts last year, both wins. Didn't throw a pick. He was good.
Yep.
We'll see what happens, though. He's going against Brown Bandits. So
yeah, that has been a recipe for disaster so far.
Such a recipe for disaster. So we'll see if the Bandit hits again. That's our upset alert today. Flash the lights one more time for us, or just for the heck of it.
Flash them.
Because we only get so many light flashes in our lives. So there you go. Upset alert for week number 6. And we'll see if I can get on the board, if LT can close the gap on the Bandit. And we'll see if we can get the scoreboard maker, little T, to change Brown's name off of and just put Bandit on there.
The Bandit.
Because he's the one that's making all the picks. Hey, by the way, as we get ready for a great trash segment coming up, I want to remind you that you can manage your account on the go with Alabama Power's new mobile app. The new app features easy, safe, and reliable ways for you to access your account. Check your energy usage and set alerts so you're the first to know when something happens. Available for both Apple and Android devices. Simply search Alabama Power in your app store or visit alabamapower.com/mobile for the download. It's all right there, alabamapower.com/mobile, or go to your Apple or Android store to get the Alabama Power app. Trash and a little bit more college football in the next segment right here on The Next Round.
Call The Next Round now at 205-734-0923.
Stop by the New York Butcher Shop and pick up the finest in certified Angus prime beef steaks and burgers, premium pork chops, ribs, and all-natural chicken cut to order just for you. Their chef-prepared entrees and side dishes are the perfect dinner-to-go choice for your family and are ready to heat at home. With a great selection of fine wines and desserts, the New York Butcher Shop is your one-stop dinner shop. 2 locations to serve you, Cahaba Heights and on Highway 119 in Greystone. The New York Butcher Shop, rare quality, well-done service. Hey, Lance Taylor from The Next Round to tell you about our friends at Gutter Cap. Gutter Cap's that patented aluminum cover system that fits over most existing gutters to keep out debris and eliminate that gutter cleaning. It's backed with a lifetime warranty, almost 20-year service record right here in Birmingham. Stay off that dangerous ladder forever. 45% off the retail price now if you call guttercapbirmingham.com. Call my good friend Chris Stewart now, 205-823-2212. Cap it, don't snap it. It's Gutter Cap.
The Next Round Golf Cart is here. Your chance to play 4 area golf courses for just $89. Get 18 holes of golf and cart at Limestone Springs, Cross Creek, The Meadows, and the newly renovated Woodward Golf Club. That's a value of $247 for just $89. Or get the Next Round Deluxe Golf Cart for just $119. It gets you all 4 courses with cart, plus an exclusive Next Round Golf t-shirt, koozie, golf tees, and a sticker. There are no restrictions. The cart is good through September 2024. Get your golf cart now at nextround.store.
Hey, Lance Taylor from The Next Round. You've heard me for years talk about our friends at Bromberg's Jewelers, and we welcome you to stop by and see that great customer service at the Mountain Brook and Summit locations, but we'd also love for you to check out their new online shop. They've got plenty to choose from. Great gifts, big and small. Available online, they've got David Yurman, Tudor watches, select diamond and gemstone jewelry, William Henry, seasonal and favorite giftware items, and baby gifts as well. They've even got an online sale section. For more information, brombergs.com.
It's college football time in Alabama. This is Congressman Robert Adderholt. I grew up an Alabama fan, Roll Tide, but my wife, Caroline, grew up an Auburn fan, or Eagle. But no matter who you pull for, whether it's the Lions of the University of North Alabama or the Gamecocks of Jacksonville State or any other school in between, I want to wish all the players, the coaches, and especially the fans another great college football season here in Alabama. I'm Robert Adderholt, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Adderholt for Congress.
You want to look great while supporting your favorite show? You know the place to go is the official Next Round store at nextround.store. Yes, there are .store domains, and we have one. From shirts to hoodies to hats and all kinds of fun stuff, you can rep the Next Round anywhere you go. At the beach, Next Round hats to block out that sun. Up north in the winter, get you a comfy Next Round hoodie. Just need something to put your $20 beer in at a game? Get you a Next Round koozie and throw that thing in your pocket. You never know what stuff Jim's going to make me put in there next. Check it out. It's the Next Round store at nextround.store.
Bobby says he does appreciate the bandit staying in costume all the way to the break. Doesn't want anyone getting confused about his true identity.
Oh, we couldn't have that.
Yeah,
we don't
glad
need
to have
the
him
bandit
back in
unmasked.
here. Glad to have him back in here.
Yeah, who'd you go with?
I think Marshall. He went with Marshall. It's in front of you there.
Must be October.
Must be October. I was excited. I thought you were going to reach in the bag and throw me October candy or Oktoberfest beer or a
Almond Joys for everyone. Oh, man.
Or a Wiener Schnitzel for Oktoberfest.
Hold the schnitzel, please.
We only pull out the Wiener Schnitzel for rivalry weekend, Dunaway.
Yeah, so the locks were a little not up my. I don't have anything to lock up.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I was hoping for something I could eat. I'm a big boy over here. Part of the show being brought to you today by our friends at Storm Restoration Roofing. 205-542-3531. 205-542-3531. That gets you to Greg from Pell City's cell phone. You can talk to him specifically for a free no-cost roof inspection. Important to get that roof inspected to find out if you got any loose shingles or any other water entry points. He also does roof replacement, storm damage, all that. But start out with that free no-cost roof inspection, 205-542-3531, or look him up on Facebook, simply Greg from Pell City, A-plus rated and locally owned. It's Storm Restoration Roofing. Before we get to trash, remember baseball this afternoon, Texas and Tampa Bay, 2 o'clock, best of 3 series for all these. Minnesota and Toronto in Minnesota at 3:30 on ESPN. Then Arizona and Milwaukee tonight. Watch Arizona. Of all the upsets, the road teams have to be on the road for all 3. Of all the road teams, the biggest upset to me, Arizona over Philadelphia. I think that could happen.
You mean Arizona over Milwaukee?
Arizona over Milwaukee. I mean, Arizona can run the bases. That'll be a problem for Milwaukee. A lot of stolen bases, a lot of speed for Arizona.
Yeah, I don't see it. It's still a really young Arizona team. You look at Milwaukee, a lot of people believe best rotation in the postseason right now. They led the major leagues in ERA this year. There's a reason they're a massive favorite today.
And Philadelphia is playing Miami. Miami actually is in the playoffs with a run differential where the opponent scored more runs than they did this year, but they're still in the playoff, minus 56. One of the worst run differentials ever to make the playoffs.
I mean, when you consider the playoffs, relatively speaking, expanded or pretty new, that's got to be one of the first times that's ever happened. Maybe not the first time.
The reason why they're 33-13 in one-run games this year.
Yeah, so they win all the close ones. That's a good stat for the postseason.
Postseason, absolutely.
Yeah, so Miami and Philadelphia in an interesting battle there. And all the good teams waiting until the weekend for the division series after these wild card mini-series are done. Forrester from the back row asking, what is postseason baseball? You see, that's if the White Sox are ever good, they get to play in what we like to call October.
Yeah. At least you're not a Falcons. Oh.
Yeah. Falcons.
Tough life Scott's chosen to live.
Billy Napier, despite the criticism, going to stick to play calling. They were outrushed last week by Kentucky, 329-69.
Yeah, it was very embarrassing. That was an embarrassing performance by Florida.
Yeah, coming into the season, Montrell Johnson, Trevor Etienne, those are the guys we thought would be dominant running the football. And on the other side, Ray Davis, a guy that played at Temple, then Vanderbilt, now Kentucky. I mean, he's been a big story for undefeated Kentucky.
Yeah. And in a telling stat that is not good, it is rough on the road in the SEC. But Billy Napier is coach at Florida. He has lost 7 of his last 8 games away from the Swamp. He's not good on the road.
And he hasn't been particularly great at the Swamp. I mean, let's don't pretend like that has been a place where he shined. It has been a tough tenure for him, and I really don't know, guys. I mean, that Tennessee win obviously probably bought him some time, but, man, if they can't pull this thing out, I don't know what happens with him at the end of this year.
So let me ask you guys this. No, I don't, because they're not patient at all.
No.
But Colorado, they did Deion a solid by giving him a Power 5 job with not a lot of experience. Now, Deion has returned that solid by giving them more exposure they can ever imagine.
No doubt.
Do you think he feels a little loyalty to at least stay one more year and continue to build? He's got this bone to pick right now with Florida State, his alma mater. But if Florida came after him, this is one of the premier jobs.
It would be interesting, but Shador, if he doesn't go pro,
he couldn't transfer?
Can't transfer again.
He went FCS to FBS. He potentially.
Oh, that's right. That doesn't count.
Yeah, I don't know if that counts, but I was going to say he could potentially be graduating too. Now,
that's right.
I don't think he's used his graduate transfer, obviously.
But would that hurt the brand a little bit if he went in to try to build Colorado up and said all this stuff about Colorado, and then he left so quickly?
But hey, listen, he was building up. He ain't SWAC, I'm SWAC. Who's SWAC if I'm not SWAC, and all that, and left, and that hasn't hurt his brand.
Yeah, I just don't know if he can turn down a job like Florida.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's proven winner, 2 different coaches.
Who was it? Who was it on this show that said it?
Barkley.
Was it Barkley? You let him get somewhere with warm weather and watch him recruit.
Yeah.
I mean, look what he's doing right now. You let him get somewhere where the weather's good, watch out.
Because, he really would only have to recruit the state of Florida and a little bit in Georgia.
And the portal.
Yeah, and the portal, yeah.
That's it.
It would be unbelievable. It would be Florida State's biggest nightmare, having one of your own.
Oh, yeah.
Kicking you in the ass every year.
Yeah, Mike Norvell does not want to see that. I can promise you that.
He doesn't. If I was Mike Norvell, I'd leave and go somewhere else.
Give him the Florida State job.
Yeah, I'd go to replace a great coach somewhere else if that was possible. All right, let's do trash right here. It is brought to you every day by our friends at Mortgage Right. Rockstar, hit the big button.
I was in the bathroom taking a shave, and I heard a screeching. I saw that between a screech and a whistle. I said, what in the world is this? And I heard a boom.
LT's Trash is presented by Mortgage Right. Mortgages done the right way.
Buying a home, major milestone in life. Getting it right comes down to the right advice at the right time. That's why we're proud to partner with our friends at Mortgage Right, who do mortgages the right way. 2 locations, Parkway Drive there in Leeds, Highway 280 in Birmingham. For more information, 205-815-9200 or mortgageright.com/TNR. We start first in an epic story of both determination and sheer luck.
Hey, don't forget the movie review. We're going to do that on the front or the back.
We can do it right after this.
Okay.
Fisherman made headlines as he was rescued from the open sea while sitting on a unicorn-shaped pool float.
Wow, that has got to be so embarrassing.
Like the ones you see in Vegas, bridesmaids things.
This is crazy. The intriguing incident captured in a video posted on TikTok unfolded when a group of men on a boat stumbled upon the surreal scene 2 miles off the coast. Now, the video clip opens with the surreal footage of a lone fisherman sitting on a unicorn-themed pool float, casually bobbing up and down in the vast expanse of the ocean, and the surprising twist that remained unnoticed by the men on the boat. Initially, the men didn't realize the man on the float had hooked a 10-foot shark. It drug him out to sea, and he just fortunately had some dudes that were out there deep-sea fishing came across him, or he's dead.
All right, so this guy is fishing from a unicorn-shaped float, catches a shark in the he doesn't let go of the fishing pole. He lets the shark drag him out to sea.
And what do you do in that situation? I mean, I guess you let go. I wouldn't
get dragged out to sea by a shark.
Yeah, but I wouldn't feel comfortable about dropping off and swimming back knowing a shark's out there.
I start paddling out of the unicorn.
Yeah, the individual filming a TikTok video from the upper deck of the boat clearly exhilarated by the discovery. He alerts his friends on the lower deck about what he saw. Joey, there's a guy on the float. He screams, "Get out of there!" He answers because there's a shark in the water. There's the, well, we can pull the picture later, but it's pretty interesting.
Wow. I'm going to say fake. That the boat, they throw that float out there. I don't think that float would hold its air going up and down in the waves.
I'm with Dunaway. I'd like to follow this story a little bit.
I mean, it wouldn't surprise me.
Because what idiot doesn't just drop the fishing pole?
So the movie that we watched last night, the Carly Russell saga. Now, it's loosely based on some true events, and then obviously there's a lot of stuff made up. It was called The Woman That Saw the Baby by the Side of the Road, right? Or the toddler.
Right. Baby, the woman that saw the baby on the side of the road, very short movie.
It's hard to waste $1.99.
Oh, it was all the way down to 49 cents when I rented it.
Okay.
I caught the price drop.
Yeah, I think I might have paid $1.99. I don't know. But whatever it was, it's hard to waste 49 cents. But this was wasted. This was a wasted 49 minutes. It is by far the worst movie I've ever seen in my life.
So you had to pay for it?
Yeah, this is for rent it. 49 cents on Amazon.
Oh, it was on Amazon. It was not Netflix. Okay.
No, it was on Amazon. Okay. Yeah.
It might be the lady who saw.
No, the nurse. It's the nurse.
Yeah, there it is. The nurse that saw the baby on the highway.
Yeah. Now, I know when you look at the artwork here that Rockstar is pulling up, you're going to think this is Shawshank Redemption, but it's not.
Immediately when it cut on, I was like, oh my God, we got a porn on here.
No, it starts with a soft porn.
Yeah.
It looks like one of our headlines. Like, put this together quick. Okay, got it.
Yeah. That's true. You're right.
Did you put the toilet paper roll in there? I'll put it on post.
I actually used the that font on the highway. Why do you change the font for On the Highway? The nurse that saw the baby, and let's change font on the highway.
Dude, I love the deadbeat boyfriend, though.
Oh, yeah. He's a great actor.
Is that toilet paper and then Kraft cheese slices?
Cheez-Its. Rockstar, you've seen it, haven't you?
Those are huge Cheez-Its.
Don't see it. Don't see it. I'm telling everybody, don't waste your time. Just like I said, don't watch Dear Zachary. Do not waste your time. This is awful. And I can't believe Cheez-Its had to pay for product placement.
You know what blew me away is they film inside of Target. I told Jennifer I could not believe Target agreed to that.
I don't think they did.
It's got the Target. It's got the... that looked like a legit Target.
No, it was a legit Target, but if you notice outside of the Target, they changed the graphic.
Yeah.
What happens here, and this is Doug Lyman did swingers like this, is they went to a bunch of Vegas locations without getting permission, and then they would get thrown off the set. If you walk in with a cell phone, that's how this thing was filmed. You could walk in behind somebody filming them, and nobody's going to say anything.
Yeah.
And that's how it was filmed.
Yeah, it is.
So you think this was totally all filmed on the iPhone 13?
It was filmed in a good one-day shoot.
Yeah, so the way they did the Rocky's Playhouse a couple of weeks ago,
right,
with Rocky playing Lane Kiffin being thrown in the basement of Nick Saban.
That one was a lot better than this.
No, I'm just saying
the production value was.
Yeah, I mean, Laurel and Lunsford could have gone out and filmed this movie. We probably should have done it ourselves.
Rockstar was the best actor of anybody involved in all these.
Thank you.
This
complimentary.
I can't tell you the music behind it.
Awful.
I really didn't know what was going on outside of they were making fun of this chick because she was so proud to be a nurse. You got that, right?
Yeah, I guess. I mean, was it a comedy?
I was waiting for it to be. I don't know what it was.
Well, the whole scene on side of the road where the guy in the wig gets her and he's wearing a Make America Great Again hat.
I'd rather you light a pile of shit, and I'd rather watch that burn for 45 minutes.
Anyway, this is awful.
That's how bad this was.
I only watched it because it's a local story, and I knew it was going to be bad. And here's what's funny, too.
That they said it in Baltimore instead of Birmingham?
They said it in Baltimore instead of Birmingham, but they used the actual 911 calls from Birmingham. So she calls, and she's like, I'm on 795. And I see a toddler walking around on the road, and the 911's like, okay, which way are you headed on 459? I mean, I'm like, you don't even try to change.
And didn't they say to Tuscaloosa?
Yeah, Tuscaloosa. So you're headed towards Tuscaloosa.
Well, if y'all didn't read the script, it says right there, based off fake events, all caps.
It is true, though.
It is true.
So don't watch it.
Awful.
I don't think Alvin Gray's got much of a career in filmmaking.
Yeah, I don't think you're going to see this in the Academy Awards.
Nope, don't think so. 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom, self-sustaining bunker has hit the market for $300,000. Located in the hills of Mountain Grove, Missouri, the concrete home is custom-built underground property. For cell service, it comes with an 80-foot antenna tower. Described as the ideal place to hunker down during a disaster, features include full functional gas oven, stovetop, dining area, laundry room, and pantry.
Yeah, the gas oven's what's going to get you.
What are you doing? I'm watching TV in bed.
Yes.
There is a 24/7 surveillance system with a secure gate. It It's on 2.4 acres of land, bunker surrounded by orchid trees that bear fruit, spring-fed creek for fresh water, and expansive gardening areas. If I had a ton of money and I believed anything was ever going to go down, I mean, this is $300,000. We had a buddy of ours who does
okay, but look, LT, this is
doomsday prepping.
It's underground because they built the ground over it.
That's right. Yes.
So it's not that secure. Secondly, well, if it's a disaster, what good is the fresh water and/or the trees going to do you? It's going to be a disaster.
Right.
And number three, let's say it's a bomb explosion or something, an earthquake. That gas line down into your underground hole is going to fill up with gas smell, and you're either going to blow up or die.
Wait, you're saying you don't think they thought this through, Jim?
But we had a friend that listed a property in Claiborne County for $6 million, and it was an apocalypse place.
Yeah.
But it was ridiculous. I mean, all of the amenities of that.
Again, I'll go back to my stance. I've had a long-running stance on this show that if I have to live 6 months underground to survive whatever happens, I don't really want to survive it. I don't want to live in the post-apocalyptic world.
Yeah, I don't love that kitchen.
I do not like that kitchen. They got any pots and pans, Rockstar?
Yeah, just above the. We got a lot of space right here. What are we gonna do? White garbage can. Got you.
Hey, this one out of Knoxville, Tennessee. A woman who had previously been arrested for fighting a minor student has been charged again after trying to run her over with an SUV weeks after the original incident.
Hey, not bad.
Boy, she looks crazy.
Yeah, but to your point, Dunaway, you'd find a lot worse than that in prison.
If we were pulling out 50 mugshots that we've ever had on trash for a Miss Mugshot of America, she would be in the running.
Yeah, she's at least Miss Congeniality.
To your point, LT, she does look crazy, so I don't think she's going to be Miss Congeniality.
Yeah.
But.
Allison Coronado is who you see there, 35 years old, was taken into custody in August for trying to fight a girl as she got off her school bus.
Wow. Wait a minute. So an adult trying to fight a girl getting off?
I'm just reading this straight.
Okay.
Happened multiple times.
Allison Coronado, 35, was taken into custody in August for trying to fight a girl as she got off her school bus. Okay. So the minor was getting off the school bus. She tried to fight her.
Wow.
Now, according to the report, police spoke with a student who said Coronado had tried to hit her with her car as she was walking home from her bus stop. Victim stated she was walking home from the bus stop when Coronado tried to hit her with her white Ford Explorer while shouting, "Run, fatty," at the victim.
Wow.
Fat shaming her, too, trying to run her over.
Yeah.
Is there a chance that that girl had been bullying her little kid?
There's nothing that says why this thing went down.
I am going to say, though, if she goes to the pen for a little bit, she's going to make friends.
Yep, probably so.
It's going to be about the most popular one in there, I would imagine.
You can share my cell.
Yeah. Let's call her Piper and make her a main character in Orange is the New Black.
That's about right.
If she hits Aliceville, bad news for her.
Okay, how many Americans embraced their petty side? 3,000 Americans were polled, from everything to roommates, roommate battles, relationship grudges, or holding on to resentment in any way. 84% of Americans admit to being petty. Alabama, 96% had the highest level of pettiness, followed by Nevada, Georgia, Texas, Tennessee, Illinois. In contrast, District of Columbia stands as the least petty state. Here are some petty confessions. I almost ended the friendship over $3. Here's one. Before moving out of my old apartment, I took all the batteries out of everything my roommate owned.
Oh,
just the effort that takes.
That is ultra petty.
Hey, our buddy Chico, he lived with a guy named Joey, and I forgot what Chico did to Joey, but I forgot what Joey had done to Chico, but in return, Chico got his lawnmower out because Joey was growing fresh peppers, and he mowed his entire garden.
Oh, wow.
That'll make you sneeze, too.
Yikes.
Yeah. Another one, I'm the type that will slow down to 5 miles per hour if you tailgate me, then suddenly slam on the brakes.
I don't do the brake check because I don't want to damage my car. But if you tailgate me, you are not getting around me. I can promise you that.
This one put chewed gum in the door handle of someone who took a parking spot I'd been waiting for.
What are you laughing at?
You're the king of tailgating.
Huh?
You're the king of tailgating.
I don't tailgate.
You're the king of tailgating.
Got to get places, man.
You're the king of tailgating.
I don't tailgate.
Oh, my gosh.
No, I don't take it. That's me.
Okay, celebrity doppelgangers. Let's run with celebrity doppelgangers. We saw my doppelganger a couple of weeks ago.
We did. He's no celebrity. Don't see it.
Yeah.
Dak Shepard and
Zach Braff.
Those are two famous people, though.
Yeah,
well, I mean, they've just got the crazy blue eyes.
Yeah. I don't. That's no doppelganger at all. That's a little closer.
Is that Isla Fisher and Nicole
Adams.
Kidman?
Amy Adams.
Oh.
Amy Adams, a little closer. Yeah. I mean, red hair. That's the thing, yeah. Andy Garcia and Mark Strong.
You don't see that.
I don't know who Mark Strong is.
Yeah, I don't either.
He's usually a bad guy in bad films.
Yeah, same nose. Yeah, Mark Strong is a villain a lot. I've seen him in films. Bryce Dallas Howard and Jessica Chastain.
I see it a little bit.
Okay. Again, just the red hair.
Maybe 0 o'clock 30, dark 0:30.
0 o'clock, 0 dark
30.
I should have been in the military.
Now, this is insane, I think.
So that's
Leighton Meester and Minka Kelly.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
I've always thought Minka Kelly was better looking, but that is close.
I thought that was Mika Kelly on the left.
It looks like Minka Kelly on the left.
No,
It is.
That's the closest one yet. I would agree with you, Rockstar. That's the closest one yet. Gwyneth Paltrow and Avril Lavigne.
I don't agree with that one.
No, I think it's the hair.
Yeah, it's the hairstyle.
Yeah, 100%. It's the same hairstyle. I don't know this first guy, and Eli Roth.
Zachary Quinto played Spock in the new Star Trek. That they did.
Yeah. I'm going to say without the beards, you'd never think that.
They also look at the Property Brothers.
No,
they do a little bit. You're right.
Well, they look crazy. It looks like both of them had their head in a vice a little bit. They're a little off.
You told me they were the Menendez.
This one I get all the time. Thandie Newton and Zoe Saldana.
I can see that. Yeah.
See it.
Yeah, I 100% see that. Patrick Wilson and Will Arnett.
Bang, I think so. That.
Yeah, I can see that.
I thought they were the same one, same people. Yeah,
and that's it.
Yeah, it looks like Will Arnett lost some hair.
Yep. That's good. That's good. That's Trash Today, brought to you by our friends at Mortgage Right.
Yeah, again, if you're a veteran looking for a VA loan, our friends at Mortgage Right, they can help you out. As a veteran-owned and operated company, they have been son of a bitch.
Really good at what they do.
All right, here we go.
815-9200. You can go online, mortgageright.com/TNR, NMLS 2239. Equal housing lender.
Let's respect how long this one has made it without any issues. I think this might be the record winner right here. Yeah.
There we go.
There we go. It's the record winner, Dunaway. I believe this one has the clubhouse lead.
Anyway, advocating for veterans since their company began.
That's our friends at Mortgage Right.
Just throwing it out there.
The copy for that.
Oh, and our friends at Champy's world famous fried chicken. If you ever just want a break from what's going on in the world, go to Champy's. Enjoy a great lunch or dinner. It's open now and open this evening, this weekend. Perfect for your tailgate, perfect for your office parties, perfect for your holiday party. Champy'sChicken.com, Highway 119 in Alabaster.
Everything Next Round is on demand now in the podcast section at nextroundlive.com.
IV therapy, B12 injections, cryotherapy, and compression therapy all under one roof. It's our friends at HydroLive. Mention Next Round at checkout. Save 20% off any service. HydroLive's got 3 locations, Homewood, Tuscaloosa, and coming soon to Greystone.
Want more of the show? Download the app or visit nextroundlive.com for the latest podcast, The Mystery Fifth Hour, our Not For All Ages podcast, The Last Call, and the entire Double Down Media podcast family. All at nextroundlive.com and on the Next Round app.
There are so many things I love about Walk-Ons. Authentic, mouth-watering Louisiana cuisine, prepared fresh, daily from scratch. A great beer selection and TVs everywhere to watch the big game every day of the week. And of course, they've got 2 great locations on Highway 280 and 119 and at Hoover near the Hoover Met. Walk-Ons is also a great place for happy hour, 2 to 6 Monday through Friday with $5 moonshine swirls, $5 house pours, and half-price appetizers. And it's an easy take-home experience for the family as well. Highway 280 and Hoover with Walk-Ons.
Going to a big football game? Walking around all day? Then you'll want comfortable shoes. This is Wes McClooney, owner of the New Balance Birmingham store. Score a touchdown with a new pair of ultra-comfortable running or walking shoes. Come to the New Balance Birmingham store. I'm telling you, we'll make sure you have a perfect fit and we'll treat you like the starting QB. Our job is to make sure your feet are happy. Visit the New Balance Birmingham store on Highway 280 next to Chick-fil-A. Your feet will thank you.
If you're looking for a fun golf atmosphere that is laid back with a peaceful environment, the Meadows Golf Course in Harpersville, right off of Highway 280, is perfect for you. Just a short drive from Birmingham, this 18-hole, 200-acre track with rolling fairways and ample greens is the definition of peacefulness of the country just miles from the city. Enjoy a great lunch before your round and a cocktail on the wraparound porch after 18. Come see us today. The Meadows Golf Course in Harpersville, right off of Highway 280.
It's NBA time, Birmingham, as we hoop it up with the New Orleans Pelicans and Houston Rockets, October 12th at Legacy Arena. Single game tickets are now available. Visit BirminghamSquadron.com or call 205-719-0850 for more information or to buy tickets. And the game is packed with former local players like Herb Jones and Kyra Lewis Jr. and Jabari Smith, and other superstars like Brandon Ingram and Zion Williamson. You can also become a Squadron season ticket holder to get complimentary tickets to this huge event right here in the Magic City. The Pelicans preseason game in Birmingham sold out last year, so get your tickets as soon as possible. Do that online at BirminghamSquadron.com or by calling 205-719-0850. October 12th, it's the Pelicans and Rockets at Legacy Arena right here in Birmingham. BirminghamSquadron.com.
Just did a couple of steak bet updates from our friends at New York Butcher Shop. LT, tell us about the great folks at New York Butcher.
Great place to go to get steaks done away, I'll tell you that.
Man. New York Butcher Shop's a great place to go get steaks, I'll tell you that. What else should I say? No, it's a great place for
two
the
locations.
Meats. Yeah, 2 great locations, great wine selection. But the cut of meats, Brown, you go by there all the time, our friends at New York Butcher Shop.
Yeah, date night, steak night. Go by there and see Jim, and they cut me those fillets, and I got a ribeye. They got the Wagyu. But I'll tell you what they have. They have got rare quality and well-done service. Cahaba Heights and Greystone. It is New York Butcher Shop.
New York Butcher Shop right there. I'll give you the Jaden Hutchinson, what was a push the other night. We'll go with the win there. And I'll go ahead and give you T.J. Yeldon. T.J. Yeldon yesterday, by the way, turned 30 years old.
Yeah, I think he's probably
so
done.
At 30, I don't think he's coming back. So I'll give you the T.J. Yeldon.
What is he doing right now?
I don't know. But
not running
he's not
footballs in the NFL. Yeah.
So I'll go ahead and give you T.J. Yeldon, 23 yards short of that one. I get the win of Notre Dame straight up. So right now we're at 7 stakes that I'm up. It's down from 11. It has not been a good run for me lately. So back to 7 stakes for me as LT whittles those away.
Yeah, I'll get you hooked up Friday if you're around town. Are you going to be in?
I don't know what I'm doing Friday yet. I got a friend of mine passed away. I think I'm at a funeral. May not be in the mood for a steak, but that's we'll chase that down at some point. 7 stakes right now. Our friends at New York Butcher Shop bringing you that right here on the show today. Before we wrap things up, and do we know what the overtime is today? Yet anybody in the back? Do we have an overtime?
I think it's the burnout.
It's the burnout.
Burnout with Peter Burns. We talk a lot of SEC football, and let me tell you this: at the end of the show, have you guys ever heard Peter Burns' Ryder Cup story?
Yeah, where he walks in with Earl Party.
Yeah. He tells the Ryder Cup story at the end of the show. So stick around for all of the burnout. We talk a lot of SEC football, and at the end, I get Peter to tell his Ryder Cup story, which it's one of one. I've never heard a story quite like that one. You're going to want to hear it.
Yeah. Okay, so tell me this. Can Alabama score enough points to win out? Because Andy Staples has his new 12-team playoff projection out right now. And here we go. Penn State is number 1 by Andy Staples. Texas is 2, Florida State 3. He has Alabama 4. And then the way it would shake out in the rest of the way, so that means he has Alabama winning the SEC if you're playing the playoff model for next year. Ohio State and Washington, Georgia, Notre Dame, Michigan, Oklahoma, Oregon, and Fresno State. Fresno would be the group of 5 participant in that. So Andy flips to Alabama, running the table, winning the SEC now, and getting the auto bid in what the future 12-team playoff would look like. My first question is a simple one. Can Alabama score enough points to win out?
Can we do this? Can I just go game by game and you guys tell me how many you think they'll need? I mean, I think that's the way to do this, right?
Absolutely.
All right, so Saturday at A&M. You just give me what a comfortable point total for you for Alabama Saturday, or in all these games. Saturday at A&M.
27.
I think 30.
Okay. Arkansas at home.
I'll go 27.
Yeah, I would say 28.
Okay. Tennessee at home.
30.
I'd say 30 again.
All right, so just right at the jump here, they're going to need 27 to 30 to win those first 3. I think y'all are a little too high on those, but after a bye week, LSU at Bryant-Denny.
40.
40? If we've seen anything about LSU, you can score 40 on them.
I'm going to say 35.
All right, at Kentucky.
24.
27.
That is a tough spot to catch Kentucky, by the way, right after LSU. And then at Auburn.
27.
24.
Seriously? Wow. So you guys have got at least 24 in everything. So can Alabama score at least 24 in every conference game
I
they
think
play
they
the
can,
remainder
but I
of the
think
year?
there's 5 losable games.
Oh, they're probably all losable.
Well,
I don't think Arkansas at home, and obviously Chattanooga's not.
But
no, I didn't even include them. I just meant all the conference games. Yeah.
But you don't think they survived the weekend?
I don't.
So we're back here Monday with Alabama out of the playoff race.
Well, this is a weird year. I think there will be, I don't know if it's from the Pac-12 or the SEC, I think there will be a 2-loss team in the 14 playoff.
Wow.
Yeah, because I just don't think there's going to be a lot of undefeateds, if any.
It's kind of wild to me that Alabama, who is middle of the pack in scoring offense right now, has scored 24 against Texas, 17 at South Florida. You got to kind of put an asterisk by that one. 24 against Ole Miss, and then 40 at State. And you guys think they need to score at least 24 to win the remainder of their conference games.
It's just not a good offense right now. And I went back and I pulled this just to check it out. So Alabama's only got one receiver through 4 games that has double-digit receptions.
Right.
You guys know who this is?
Nye Black.
Nope.
Burton didn't play Saturday.
12 receptions is Isaiah Bond.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Okay, so if you go back through the first 4 games of 2020,
right,
Devontae Smith had 38 receptions.
Yeah,
but through that many games.
But this team only threw 12 passes in an SEC road game. What if they don't pass anymore? Do they have to pass to win? Is there a rule they have to pass to win?
Sooner or later, you're going to have to.
Do you?
Against LSU, you're not just going to be able to run the football. I mean, I'm not saying their defense is good, but I'm saying they're going to score so many damn points.
Didn't Ole Miss just run the ball right through?
No, they did everything.
They still had 300 pass yards.
Yeah, I mean, they had over 700 yards offense.
700 total yards.
So it didn't really matter.
Yeah.
Judkins ran for 177. Bentley rushed for 90.
The comparison of this team, I think, is back to 2009 Alabama. I think they're going to try to win football games the way 2009 Alabama won games.
Well, and that's when you brought a running back in to actually finish off a team.
Sometimes you had to. Now, you've got a much different quarterback this time than Greg. I mean, Greg was not the runner that Jalen Milroe is.
But so who would you rather have on this team?
Than who? Than Greg or Jalen Milroe?
No, I'm talking about McElroy or Milroe.
Yeah. Oh, I'd rather have Greg. Yeah.
I don't know. I think Milroe's going to end up being pretty good, though.
Here's what
does he not look better every game?
He does. I just don't know about this weekend, though.
But you know what I think? What I think, Dunaway, and I'll say again, I think Tommy Rees is getting a grasp on how to call this offense. It's taken 5 games.
Whomever's calling plays for Alabama.
Who are you all of a sudden, Lane Kiffin? I think it's taken 5 games, and probably not 5. I think Rees did it a little bit better against Ole Miss. I think he did it much better against State. Lance, to realize what this offense is not and what this offense is. And let me call from what we are versus what we are not. And I think Alabama's gotten better about that. I do.
No, I don't disagree. But I also think this is the best defense they're going to see.
The question becomes, is what they are, is that enough to win football games? All right, so if I just call plays from what Alabama is and I don't call from what they're not, is the what there is enough to win football games?
And I think it is.
I mean, it makes your defense play elite. Like, this defense cannot crack. Kevin Steele has done a tremendous job, I think, so far with his defense, but historically...
Or whoever's calling plays.
Historically, Kevin Steele's defense, there'll be a game where Alabama's defense cracks, and it's going to be on that offense that night to have a game.
Probably
Maybe it's
LSU. Probably the LSU game, yeah.
Could be. But there'll be a game where any great defense has a game where they just don't get stops. It happens to all of them. And Alabama's defense, I think, has got potential to be great. And it's been really good through 5 games.
Rockstar, give me cut 3 and then cut 6 real quick. Nick Saban, yesterday in the news conference, which you heard in overtime here, was asked about just the snaps that continue to just be mind-boggling how bad they are between the center and the quarterback.
Have you been able to pinpoint the issue on the snaps and maybe how to clean those up?
Well, we got to have just a little better focus, I think, on the importance of the snap, because this has been a pretty consistent, issue where it makes it harder for the quarterback to be able to function when, he doesn't have a dependable snap to deal with, whether he's faking, whether it's a play-action pass, whether he's trying to read coverage, because you got to take your eyes off what you want to be looking at to be able to catch the ball. So that's something we've been working on, and we certainly need to continue to work on it and improve, no question.
And then listen to Jalen Milroe, cut 6 Rockstar. Now this is team leadership right here. Milroe walks in. Now Milroe does not. It's not Nerf football in my backyard. He does not snap it to himself. That's correct, right? We all agree on that.
That is true. Yeah.
Here's Jalen Milroe.
Coach Saban talked about the snaps being a consistent issue. Is that something maybe you and Seth spend some extra time trying to clean up and work on in practice?
Yeah, I take full ownership of that. I should be more vocal, more louder, so it allows the snaps to be on point. So I take full ownership of that. Going to Mississippi State was a loud environment, and it took me being more vocal and at some points in the game. So that's definitely something me and Seth are going to get together about. It's not something to worry about. We're going to build and grow from it and learn from it.
Yeah, it's his fault, he says.
My bad.
That
is great leadership, by the way, because I don't think anybody blames Milroe. Now, the one really bad one against State was when Milroe looked like he was trying to check off, and for some reason McLaughlin snapped the ball. You don't know what happens. If that actually could have been on Milroe. But the ones that are high and low, I don't see how it's his fault. And I do think it's good leadership for him to take the blame and not roll the center under the bus.
For all your plumbing, cooling, and heating needs, trust the name Birmingham's trusted since 1954. That's Hemphill Services. You can call them up right now, 205-229-2090, 229-2090. For our friends at Hemphill, they bring you Lance's Lock every day here on the show. Lance'sLock.com. You can go play right now. How many baseball plays you have up today?
I got 2. I got a side and a total.
Side and a total. Same game?
Nope.
Different games. One side, one total up at lanceslock.com today. So play a little postseason baseball. 4 games today, starting in a couple hours down in Tampa. And then starting tomorrow, Brown, say it again. Starting tomorrow, how many straight days?
Every day until the Wednesday before Thanksgiving, Jim. Black Wednesday.
Every day until the Wednesday before Thanksgiving. Take one day off, and then you come back Thursday,
That's
Friday,
right.
Saturday, Sunday, Monday,
Tuesday. There's football, either pro or college, every single day from now until the Wednesday before Thanksgiving, as pointed out by Yahoo Sports.
That's sort of like what we do over at Disrupt the Media, where it's just nonstop programming. Go follow that YouTube page over there and War Damn Pods and Roll Tide Pods to get all your Auburn and Alabama exclusive content. A little flavor of that coming up when we're done here right now, where you'll get a little bit of Burnout with Peter Burns of the SEC Network and Ryan Brown. That starts at the top of the hour. You don't have to change anything. You don't have to go anywhere. Just enjoy the Burnout. Until next time, God bless you and God bless America.
It is time for the Burnout again. He is the SEC Network and ESPN's Peter Burns. I am Ryan Brown. We are presented by MyBookie.ag, code next round. MyBookie.ag, code next round to get that special sign-on bonus with your initial deposit. Burnsy, what is up, my friend? How are you today?
Don't forget Longhorn Network, Peter Burns, as well, too, because I was
You hook them? You hook them?
I had a good time in Austin. I mean, listen, it was weird not being on set for SEC Network because we had so many great games, but got a little bit of a sneak preview of a future SEC squad, Brownie, and it was, I mean, not only do they look like an SEC team, they might be the best team in the country right now, but just the idea of I mean, it's going to become everybody's favorite road trip.
Yep.
Whenever Texas enters, because a lot of times I think people love to go Vanderbilt, because it's Nashville and it's a great city, but sometimes the game isn't great. Like Austin will be the number one road trip for people going forward. So I was fired up for that.
And the great SEC rivalry, the Red River Shootout, is coming up this weekend. So I'm excited for the Red River. Yeah. I think that is going to be such a cool addition, just that rivalry. Obviously, Texas and Oklahoma are a cool addition, but having that rivalry as an annual SEC game is really, really exciting to me.
Yeah, and then getting A&M and Texas back, especially right now, because, I mean, I know we're going to get into it, but I mean, how A&M is starting to kind of come together, and both of those teams definitely want the upper hand when they get into this conference. So fired up, and you can barely hear my voice. It was a long weekend for yelling at LSU's defense and yelling amongst the fans over there in the 512.
Yeah, so I'm glad you got to do that. That's pretty cool. And that Kansas team is a surprisingly good team. That was a good win by Texas. Like, as they go into play Oklahoma this week,
yeah,
Oklahoma has not been tested. You cannot say the same of Texas. They have come to Tuscaloosa and they won the game. I know Baylor is down, but it's still a road trip in conference to a semi-difficult place to play. And I know people will turn their nose up at Kansas. That's a pretty good football team this year. I think Texas, I would have them number one. If I were an AP voter again this year, I would have Texas number one right now.
I mean, especially now that Bama's starting to look a little bit better, right? And
Yeah.
I think that was kind of they were, the litmus test of last year, like, oh, we're not that far away, but can we actually really beat Alabama, especially in T-Town? And I mean, just the amount of what it does for your program when you beat an Alabama, right? And I don't even know if we say that about Georgia yet. Of course, we haven't really seen them lose lately, but what it does when you beat Nick Saban, like the belief in your quarterback play, the belief from the fan base, the belief from in the head coach, the belief of, hey man, we did it. We climbed the Saban mountain. There's not a whole heck of a lot of guys that could say they could do that. So yeah, they're all in right now on Texas, and this weekend will be great, and next year is going to be even better.
Yeah, as we talk about our first topic here, the best, the West best, who is the best in the West, I firmly believe, having watched Alabama over the last couple of weeks and seeing a little evolution, that Texas win in Tuscaloosa is only going to increase in its value for them. I think by the end of the year, we're going to look back on that and say, dang, I guess right now the best win in the country is Ohio State going to Notre Dame, I guess. Or maybe it is Texas going to Alabama. I don't know. You could argue those two. I think at the end of the year, we'll know it is Texas going to Tuscaloosa.
Well, and I think, and let's start with Alabama, right? I mean, they end up getting a pretty easy win against Mississippi State, and there's nothing easy about going into Starkville because the fans are going to be rabid, and Zach Arnett traditionally has the defense ready to rock and roll. But I thought with Alabama, they starting to look a whole lot more comfortable of not what they're trying to be, just they recognize who they are, which is a defensive-minded team. They're going to play. They're going to run the ball pretty well. They're not going to ask Jalen Milroe to beat Tua or Bryce or even Mac Jones, and that's why you're going to see him. You're going to see Bryce. You're going to see Jalen with a bunch of probably 185-yard game, 225-yard games, but he's going to be able to use and move the chains with his legs. And I think that Reese and Milroe are starting to kind of figure out, okay, this is who we are 5 weeks into the season, and that's scary for everybody else.
So I'm glad to hear you say that because I know I'm not alone in thinking this, and I brought it up on our show today. It feels like Tommy Reese has gotten a grasp on how to call this offense now with the parts he has involved, right? He knows what they're not, and he knows what they are. And I'm going to play into what they are. I'm not going to play into what we're not, right? Okay. And then you got, I think, a championship-level defense. It's a defense that, save one quarter of football against Texas, has been locked down all season long.
Yeah. I mean, it kept them in all those, it shut down. I mean, Lane Kiffin, we saw how good, we thought LSU's defense was fairly good. I mean, I know the secondary was suspect, but we see what that offensive line and what Ole Miss offense is capable of when things click. And Alabama was like, no super
having
it. Right. So, yeah, I mean, I think it's a championship level defense. It's basically not pedestrian because there's nothing pedestrian about Milroe, but it's just an offense that's finding itself. And again, go back and look at the championship run that he had, in the last decade before all of the passing numbers started going down. It's old school Alabama football like we thought it was going to be at media days.
Except with elite special teams now. I think it's a little bit of the 2009 formula that Nick Saban had. Now, again, I'm not saying this team is going to win a national championship. That team did. I don't know that there's a Mark Ingram or a Trent Richardson back there. But I think it's that formula where I've got an offense that's competent enough to stay out of my defense's way. I got a defense now, Peter, that is keeping people from scoring. They're giving up 14 points a game, and they're scoring and leading two scores, right? They had a pick six against Mississippi State right before the half.
Right before the half, they set the offense up on the front porch for another touchdown to kind of close that game out before you even get to halftime. That's old school Nick Saban football. And now you've added in elite special teams. Burnip is punting out of his mind right now, and he's having to do it a little bit more than Alabama wants. I know that. And you got a kicker in Riker that never misses. I mean, there are elements here that you look at this team and you're like, boy, if they could just maybe incrementally improve some on offense, they've got the elements they need to be a factor.
And when we talk about coaches and I was talking about this with the guys in the Longhorn Network about developing players. Like, what the hell does that really mean? People say, oh, he's a great, he develops his players. Well, sometimes it's also kind of just developing your team and over the years, not just in one season itself. And I think that's the thing with Nick is like Nick always had the best defensive linemen, the best running backs, the best offensive line. But then you get the kicker and for whatever reason, it just wasn't working. All of a sudden he's like, no, we're going to fix that. We're going to have the best of the best. And now it no longer becomes kind of an internet meme of like, oh, it's an Alabama kicker. What can they do? Well, you think they're going to be pretty damn good now. So he's developed. And again, right now it's scary about, hey, you had to make sure after the Ole Miss win was like, okay, but is Lane and those guys really that good? And then to follow it up with just that dominant of a victory over Mississippi State, you start getting a little bit of your mojo, a little bit of your swagger back, and a little bit of the brand that scares the hell out of everybody else, which is this joyless murder ball that Alabama's just going to come out there and crush you no matter where the game is being played.
All right, now let's do LSU. So we've spent a lot of time on this show here on the Burnout talking about LSU. Against Florida State, I was willing to say, okay, it was a bad quarter of football. Against Arkansas, you and I talked about it. Against Arkansas, I'm like, I never really felt like LSU was in danger
playing
of
with
losing
their food a little bit.
Yeah. I can't excuse this one. I mean, I can't look at this one and just say, I'll write this off to something. That's just bad defense. It's what it is. It's bad defense. You gave up 700-plus yards. You could not stop Ole Miss. It's just bad defense.
And then late, when Ole Miss needed to score fairly quickly late into that game, it wasn't like 40-yard passes. It was, everybody was just wide open. And then Lane was just like, well, we're just going to run it. Like, you can't stop us right now running the ball. And they would get 8-9 yards a clip. And you're like, what is happening? And again, it's just shocking right now amongst LSU fans, because you're like, we are wasting arguably the best offense that we have seen, of course, since 2019, but quite possibly the second best offense in the history of LSU football is being wasted because the defense can't, catch a nosebleed right now or stop a nosebleed. I mean, it was out of control, and I've never seen something like that. I mean, to the fact of, I never thought the days would be here, Brownie, where I would beg for a team to score against LSU so we could get the ball back quicker. I mean, and that's what's happening right now. I mean, they had to bring in Pete Jenkins, the old 82-year-old, Yoda defensive line master, to come back in. Like, the man's been retired 9 different times, and they kept be like, Pete, like, if Pete was that easy to call, why in the hell didn't they call him like from the beginning? It's like he's costing $7 million and they can't afford it. Like, Pete, can you get over here? Like, all right, I'm coming. Like,
I got nothing to do. Yeah.
Unbelievable.
But all that said, to your offense's credit, to LSU's offense's credit, and Ole Miss couldn't stop LSU either.
Right.
You still hit a receiver in the hands of the end zone to win the game, right? I mean, so if you're an LSU fan, you're like, well, at least there's that. But man, I mean, you cannot ask your offense to do that game in, game out, and they've been doing that. And I mean, the competition ain't going away. I mean, this is a tough schedule for them.
Well, and that's why, we started the show today on SEC Network. Was that Lane's marquee win?
It was, yes.
And you think it is, right? But then again, I mean, ball hits the guy in the hands on the last play. He makes that catch. We're talking about Lane completely different, right? It's just amazing about how one play changes everything. Like, remember Ryan Day in Notre Dame, and Ryan Day goes off on Lou Holtz because he said his team wasn't soft. Well, if they don't get that 4th down conversion on the last second play of the game to score a rushing touchdown from the 1 against 10 Notre Dame players, Lou Holtz was right? I mean, like, one play can completely change narratives, but it's one that Lane needed, because had Lane let that one go, I'm sitting there going, Well, it's just what Lane's and Ole Miss are always going to be. Really fun, cool to talk about, but they just can't win a game because they don't play complementary football, and you get a win. Now, the question is all those other good wins that Lane had, they ended up not looking that good because everybody kind of fell apart and they weren't, they were good on paper. I'm curious on whether or not this is a good on paper win against LSU right now.
All right, so we're going to talk right there. That's where we're going to talk Alabama, Texas A&M. So we'll keep the A&M discussion, if we can, to just the Arkansas game. Max Johnson making his first start there, Bernsey. And this is an Arkansas team that is having trouble finding their way a little bit this year. They've played without Rocket Sanders.
Yeah.
A solid win. I mean, Max Johnson was far from perfect, but he also didn't get you beat.
Yeah, I thought he looked great right off the bat.
Yeah, he did.
And they kind of slipped a little bit there at the end of the game, but they're starting fast. They're doing everything that honestly Georgia hadn't been able to do this season, which is, hey, first couple of plays, scripted plays, are you moving the ball and putting yourself in a position to succeed? And that's huge. Like, we ran this stat today that was incredible. Over the last 20 years, A&M is the first team in 20 years, 2 decades, to score on the first and second drive, at least points, right? Either a touchdown or a field goal in the first 5 games of the season. Like, wow. They haven't screwed up the script from the get-go. And that's why they were asking about Bobby Petrino to bring. And it just looks now, I mean, I understand that A&M lost to Miami. They just look comfortable. And they look like a dangerous team. And they really, I mean, they exposed how bad that offensive line was for Arkansas. And that's tough, man. I mean, I know in Fayetteville, they're upset about what's happening right now because their offensive line guru coach doesn't have an offensive line. That's tough to swallow right now. But I think that has a lot to say about what A&M brought in that game. And there's something about that game being played in Dallas that, every single year just feels like A&M has Arkansas's number.
It does. That's one, like we were talking about the Red River earlier. I want to see that game stay at the Cotton Bowl. I like that game in Dallas. I think it's really cool, state fair and all that.
Right.
And I'm generally, that is against type for me, Bernsey, because I am not a neutral site guy. That said, I am very glad that I think it is next year is the last game that game's played in Dallas, and they move it on campus. Am I right about that? So,
there's something I can't remember about who is a designated home team and how many they have back. Because remember, somebody gets one because, if I'm not mistaken, in 2020 because of COVID, they had to play that one on campus. Somebody gets a return trip up there, and then it'll be back. But I think that game should be played on campus. But again, I mean, something to switch it up. And to see KJ Jefferson, who I think is one of the more talented quarterbacks that we've seen in a while and such a likable guy, for them to only have 174 yards of offense. And Rocket Sanders played, in that game. It is stunning to say the least.
Yeah. So Arkansas is a team in a little bit of disarray. We're going to talk more about the West coming up with Alabama and Texas A&M in just a moment. It is the Burnout with Peter Burns of SEC Network, ESPN, and Hook 'em Horns, the Longhorn Network as well. Oh, man, I'm way out of room. The Hook 'em Horns, Longhorn Network. It is presented by MyBookie.ag, code next round, MyBookie.ag, code next round. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere with MyBookie.ag. And when you sign on and get that first deposit, they will match it with a special sign-on bonus when you use code next round at MyBookie.ag. Also, don't forget Lance'sLock.com, Lance'sLock.com. He is coming off another weekend of winning football in both college and the NFL. It is nuts. And he's back at it again. Monday Night Football. We got Wednesday night college games, Thursday night NFL and college, and then back to another weekend. He'll have it all right there at Lance'sLock.com. Daily packages, weekly packages, monthly, yearly, right there at Lance'sLock.com. And use those plays at MyBookie.ag, code next round. All right, one West team we didn't talk about was Auburn because I wanted to save it to talk about Georgia here. Georgia and Kentucky are coming up. Before we get to this weekend's Georgia-Kentucky game, let's look back at Saturday's game, Auburn and Georgia. That was an impressive performance by the Auburn Tigers. I said, Burns, they were basically running a service academy offense, couldn't throw to save their life, but boy, they somehow found a way to run it on the Georgia Bulldogs enough that came down to a clutch Georgia drive just to win at Jordan-Hare Stadium.
Yeah, a couple of takeaways on that one. Georgia was kind of weird how slow they looked towards the edge, right? I mean, like up front and in the middle, they looked pretty stout, but the fact that Thorne was able to get out, they didn't, it was just rare to see because it seems like they pursue so well and they just kind of look sluggish. And again, Georgia to be the number one team in the country, to be 5 weeks in, and the point differential was 0 in the first quarter against opponents. And they haven't played great opponents yet. It's just they keep getting off to these slow starts. But the credit I want to give to the people, and I say people plural, are the fans at Jordan Hare. Neyland was fantastic. Oxford, right? Was unbelievable environment over on Saturday night. Death Valley is always a great environment, but I now truly understand that the biggest force multiplier as far as a home field advantage is without a doubt at Jordan Hare. It was electric. I would watch it, and this is a day game, and I'm thinking, I got goosebumps just thinking about how loud. I want to be in that stadium right now. And there's a lot of times where that Auburn team had not been good. You go back to last year with Cadillac and what that whole place was like. This weekend, it was incredible. And I think it's easy to say now that the biggest amplifier as far as a home field advantage in the SEC resides down in the Plains.
For those watching this that have never been, you can take my word for it, I would hope. I have been to countless Iron Bowls and Auburn, Georgia games there. And I have always said, when it's a tight game, now if Auburn is bad or Georgia is bad or Alabama's bad, whatever, this doesn't play in. But if the teams are close, if this is a big game, and I've seen some big Iron Bowls there, right?
Right.
It's easily worth 7, if not more. And I'm talking about like Georgia teams and Alabama teams that are composed everywhere else they play, right? Crowd doesn't bother them anywhere else. And they go to Jordan Hare, and it's just a different game.
We remember we looked at it. We were surprised when you saw, why is the line only 14?
Yeah, there you go.
Auburn can't do anything. Georgia's defense has been great. They're going to get it figured out. Nope. Vegas always knows, buddy. They know. My bookie, they don't come out there and they just kind of guess on feelings and stuff that. There's a science to how they set that line because and more often than not, they're right.
That said, Georgia is a 14-point favorite over Kentucky this week. This game is in Athens.
Yeah.
The Cats coming off an extremely impressive win. Nobody was more impressive, I don't think. Alabama blew out State, but we've kind of seen that. Yeah. But what Kentucky did to Florida, a Florida team that we thought maybe was resurgent, Bernsey, after that Tennessee game, and Kentucky just smashed them in Lexington. That was so impressive what they did.
And I think it was the way they did it, right?
Yep.
Because the two things that I thought I knew about Florida, or what would scare you if you were a Wildcat fan, was Florida's D-line's pretty good. They're probably going to be able to stop the run. They're pretty physical. And 2, they're going to be able to run the ball. They weren't able to do either of those things, right? I had Ray Davis on the show this morning, and he is awesome, right? He had 280 total yards, and he said, hey, we saw some things on tape that we wanted to take it to them. And I thought that was interesting because sometimes you kind of get away from what we considered a team's strengths are. But Kentucky was like, F that, man. We're just going to run right at you. And if you could stop it, good. They couldn't stop it. And there had to be nothing more demoralizing than just being able to run it over and over and over again. And so it was really impressive. And the reason why I had picked Kentucky to beat Florida in that game is that I saw little things that they've worked on the last 2 or 3 weeks, and it felt like they got a little bit better each and every week. And I didn't feel like they had played their A game. In Kentucky and Florida, that's a rivalry, man. For 31 years, Florida used to kind of pat them on the head and be like, oh, little brother, Kentucky. Not anymore, man. 3 straight wins, and Georgia's going to have a live one on their hands coming up this weekend.
Yeah, and the inclination would be to look at the Auburn box score and not dig deep in it and say, hey, listen, now if Auburn can rush for 210 on Georgia, what's this Ray Davis cat going to do, man? I warn you to –
It's a different style, though, right?
That's right, it is. A lot of those Auburn rush yards came from the quarterback position. In fact, 61 on one play came from Peyton Thorne. So when you dig a little bit deeper, I don't have the numbers in front of me, but I think it was 20 21 carries or something like that for less than 100 yards from the running back.
Yeah, I mean, it was more RPO and
That's
just
right.
kind
Yep.
of, perimeter stuff. Kentucky doesn't really play that. Kentucky's just going to be
That's
like,
right.
we're going to play, smash mouth football.
Yep.
Can you do it? Great. If you stop us, you're just better than us. The thing is, though, I still don't think that we've seen Kentucky's A game, right?
Mhm.
Like, that's the scary part about it. Like, I thought defensively they played pretty good. They run the ball extremely well. I still haven't seen that game that I think they're capable of, where Devin Leary and Dane Key and Barry and Brown and those and Robinson, those guys, like, they get off as far as that wide receiver crew. So, like I said, I actually think this is going to be a very good ball game coming up on Saturday down in Athens.
So the winner of this game obviously has a leg up in the East. And
Yeah.
if you look at the rest of the East right now, that is a devastating loss for Tennessee to lose Brew McCoy. Just a difficult injury to watch in real time.
Yeah.
Tennessee goes on and wins handily over South Carolina. But moving forward, that loss of Brew McCoy, it's going to be very difficult offensively for them to overcome that.
Yeah, I mean, you lose him, and we had Coach Josh Heupel on our show this morning, and he was just like, man, it's just so brutal. You could just tell, too, about some coaches, hey, this guy's injured, next man up mentality. You just like – because Brew was exactly a guy that they needed in that class to kind of take that big step last year, and then he was going to be the dude once Tillman and Hyatt went out. So, that was brutal for them. But – they also got Cooper Mays back, and I thought that was as good as their offensive line has looked all season long. Milton still made some bad throws in that game, and that's an opportunistic South Carolina defense. But, they got pressure on Radler, made him throw a pick six. I still don't think Tennessee is as good as a Kentucky team. And then I kind of start wondering about what about Missouri? I mean, Brady Cook and Luther Burden Luther Burden's the most exciting player in the SEC. It's no ifs, ands, and buts about it. Like, you tell me that I can watch one player in the SEC, I'm sure as hell telling you that it's going to be Luther Burden.
And if only this week he faced a defense that struggles against the pass. Oh, wait, he does. And I'm sorry to bring it back up, but I mean, that is going again. I still trust that LSU brand. So I want to see Missouri do it. I know Kansas State was a good win for them, but they've beaten Vandy. I mean, come on. If they can do it against LSU, then all of a sudden you got my attention a little bit.
Yeah. And Drink knows it. He's got to be aware of it, And if I was Drink, I would go full like Dan Lanning, Deion Sanders, and building up all the hype. Because guess what? If you lose this game, people are just going to say, all right,
you're supposed to lose it. Yep.
You lost to LSU, but you win this game and you had called your shot, then you're like, oh, okay, I'm going to pay attention.
Right.
And I think Drink is smart enough to know that, to where if he's feeling it, because remember, Dan Lanning was feeling it. He saw the film against Colorado, against Oregon. He's like, bro, we're going to just smoke these guys.
Yep.
If Drink goes into this week and he's a little chatty, that goes to show you he knows something about that LSU game. And it's going to be 11 o'clock at Faroe, kind of a similar feel to Kentucky and Florida was.
Yep. How Dan Lanning knew it is he invited the ABC cameras in the locker room for the pregame speech where he takes shots at Colorado.
Yeah.
A coach does not do that if they don't watch film and think we're winning this football game.
Although I do, again, I've told you this before, I want all of the excerpts from guys who talk trash and then it doesn't work out.
Oh, I know.
Like, I know. Just want to see those, like, well, that was a great speech. And then the narrator comes in, it's like, but they lost.
Yes. But the game was played. Yeah.
The game was played.
You knew Lanning, though. You knew he was feeling it when he was like, yeah. Come on in here. And y'all roll on the part where I'm taking shots directly at Colorado.
When
right?
he smiled after that fake punt,
Yeah.
And he was all like, they knew. Like, it was.
Yeah, they do. It is The Burnout. He is the SEC Network and ESPN's Peter Burns. I'm Ryan Brown. It's presented each week by MyBookie.ag. Code next round when you sign up at MyBookie.ag is important because they got that special sign-on bonus. You make your initial deposit, they've got a special match for you when you use code next round as a thank you to the Next Round audience, and we appreciate you supporting them. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere with MyBookie.ag. All the games with Major League Baseball postseason and all of that at MyBookie.ag. Also, our friends at Rowback, you see Burnsy sporting that Rowback hoodie. They are the softest hoodies in the world, Burns. I mean, it's like wearing, it's almost like wearing a bathrobe, right? It's the comfort of a bathrobe.
Yeah, I mean, I've gotten to the point where I'm just like, if I can go anywhere with them, I even brought this on the plane because it's like perfect because sometimes it's cold on the plane. So I bought the Roback on the plane all over to Austin. And
Yeah.
even when I got out, I'm like, it's 100 degrees. I'm like, it's still
matter.
like just so freaking comfortable that I end up still wearing it.
I know. TNR20 at checkout on your first purchase there will save you 20% at Roback.com. All the golf shirts, the quarter zips, the hoodies like Bernsey has. Roback.com. TNR20 at checkout to save 20%. All right, let's talk about Alabama and Texas A&M. Biggest game in the West to date, and it is coming up Saturday, 2:30 CBS there in College Station. Have you made it to a midnight yell? I know that's the title of this section here. I don't know if I've never been to one. I don't know.
Way back in the day, back when I lived in San Antonio, I went once on Friday night, and it was back. I mean, back before they would have this big bonfire before the Texas game and stuff like that as well too. But it's cultish, but it's everything that A&M football is, right?
Yeah.
And it's something that's unique. And this is a unbelievable game. I saw that. I think the line is 2.5 points.
2.5 or 3. I think it opened at 4 and maybe has been bet down a little bit. When I last checked at mybookie.ag, I saw it at 3, but I've heard it's 2.5 as well. So it looks like the general public likes Texas A&M here.
So let's go through this.
Okay.
Where right now, from an Alabama's perspective, do you say we clearly have the advantage? Head coach. I mean,
yes, absolutely.
He always will win that.
Yep.
Where else? I mean, maybe defensive back to a certain extent.
Yeah. And that's something, when we were talking about Alabama's defense earlier, nobody's throwing at Kool-Aid McKinstry. It's like he doesn't exist. You watch an entire game, you forget he's even out there. Everybody is throwing to the other side. So, I mean, when you've got a player like that, that's got to be advantage. And I think the whole secondary too. Like, I think Malachi Moore has turned into a tremendous player. Caleb Downs does not look like a freshman out there. He baited Will Rogers, an experienced quarterback, into a terrible pick late in that game. So I would say secondary Alabama.
All right, but you give it to head coach and secondary to Alabama. Yep. Outside of that, I think you go defensive front seven. I think you talk about even just the linebacker crew. I'm probably end up going to take Aggies as being a little bit more dominant. Okay.
Yep.
Offensive line. I'm actually going to go with Alabama's offensive line.
I think it's getting better too, Bernsey. I think it is improving. So I think I would go Alabama offensive line there.
No, I see. I would actually probably take A&M's offensive line.
Okay. All right.
I think it's just right up there. Okay. So I would say that it's not an easy nod to Alabama, but I do admit they're getting better. I still like Alabama or A&M's offensive line a little bit. So I would take A&M's defensive front seven. I would take A&M's offensive line. I would take A&M's play caller in Petrino. A&M's running backs between Moss and Anaya Smith in there sometimes. I would take the wide receiver playmakers. And I'd probably take the passing attack of Max Johnson over Jalen Milroe. And I'm probably taking, of course, a home field advantage at Kyle Field of 100,000 plus as opposed to being on the road. So, I mean, there's a whole hell of a lot of factors that make me want to take A&M in this ballgame.
Yeah, I mean, when you stack it up that way, there's no doubt. A game like this probably comes down to turnovers, and Alabama has done a good job creating turnovers, but they've also been a little loose with the football. Jalen Milroe did not throw that interception this past week, though. Now, State has not stopped anybody through the air, but I think a game like this, often when you lay it out the way you just laid it out, I would say 9 times out of 10, you could tell me turnovers, and I could tell you who won the game.
Yeah, and those can be fluky, as we know. But I mean, for those who just think that, well, I mean, it's Alabama and it's A&M. I mean, we have seen with an inferior team, A&M did be able to pull off the upset, which probably saved Jimbo or bought him a little bit grace.
Yeah.
When things are going bad. But this is a team that legitimately, I think, matches up extremely well. And I actually think A&M is the most complete team. And I consider Georgia in this conversation as well as top to bottom. If you tell me if a team is firing on all cylinders, I don't know if I'm not taking A&M, especially over Alabama, but even over Georgia right now, believe it or not.
Interestingly enough, Jalen Milroe actually has a start against A&M already. It was his only start coming into the year. When Bryce Young was out injured. Don't know if that helps or hurts. He didn't perform particularly well. He turned it over a couple of times. Alabama darn near lost the game, and Bryant Denny. It may help her. I don't know if it helps or hurts or even matters.
Yeah.
But for either side,
I don't know how much that is because it's just such a completely different animal, Brownie, about, being on the road. But where A&M got hurt against Miami was because Van Dyke could just sit in the pocket for a while, and they had unbelievable wide receivers, and they just kept throwing the ball. And, I mean, Van Dyke was awesome in that game.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's the style of fight that Tommy Rees wants to get in with Jalen Milroe and on the road. I don't think so. I think it's more of like, hey, buckle up the chin strap. We are in for trench warfare here. And I think that actually helps Texas A&M if it becomes that type of game.
Yeah, there are several ways you can slow down a pass rush for Alabama. One way to do it is you either force them to devote a player as a spy to Milroe, which takes a guy out of the pass rush game and the pass defense game, right?
Right.
Or you got some called runs that slow that pass rush down a little bit, because if they're successful, he's breaking off 10, 15 yards. You're going to say, okay, all right, we can't devote everybody to the pass rush, and that gets you back in the spy conversation. So I do think that's critical for Alabama in this game, and for A&M to try to stop is, how do you deal with Milroe early if you're A&M, and if you're Alabama, what kind of plays are you calling for him? That's one criticism Rees has gotten, is he hasn't called enough designed runs for Jalen Milroe.
And maybe they're saving that for the right times. And this will definitely be one of those games, because I think the West ends up being one, whoever wins in Kyle Field this weekend. And you'll probably see a lot of screen passes as well, too. I thought Rees is trying to do a good job of getting, not making him make 2 or 3 different reads in there, just being like, hey, let's get this to a playmaker on the outside. Let's move the chains. Let's get you feeling comfortable early. And, a credit to Rees for building it. But, again, there's too many ways. I think A&M beats Alabama this week.
Okay.
There's too many ways that I see that the Aggies have an advantage, and I think that they feel like this is a game that the style is going to be perfect for their style of fight.
Yep, 2:30 CBS for the top of the West right now. I think it's going to be a wild division, but certainly the winner of this game has got the leg up over everybody else in the division with this game behind them. So should be a fun game. 2:30 CBS from College Station. A great story coming up on the Ryder Cup. We're not going to spend much time talking about the U.S. crapping the bed again in Europe, because we've seen it time and time again. But Bernsey has an amazing story to tell. The Burnout is presented by MyBookie.ag. Code next round when you sign on at MyBookie.ag. Get that sign-on bonus that will match your first deposit right there at MyBookie.ag. Get that sign-on bonus when you use code next round. Code next round at MyBookie.ag. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere. MyBookie.ag. Code next round. You need some games to play there. Lance Taylor has been on fire at lanceslock.com. He's given plays by units this year, so you can make your decision on what you want to play there at MyBookie.ag. He's up big in college football. You can get on board now with daily packages, weekly packages, monthly, season-long packages. lanceslock.com. Major League Baseball in the postseason. Lance has told you himself, the end of the regular season is so hard to handicap, but here we are in the postseason now. He'll get back on that. lanceslock.com and mybookie.ag. Code next round. All right, just real quick. Not a surprise. This Ryder Cup was over Friday. We couldn't even get to the weekend, Bernsey, with this thing having any intrigue, because you said Jordan-Hare Stadium, we were talking about it being worth a touchdown. 14.5 or 14 points needed, depending on whether you have the cup or not, to win the Ryder Cup. I would say playing in Europe is worth 4 or 5 points for the European team.
Yeah, it's been 30 years since we won on their soil, and it just, again, golf is such a game of confidence, right? And so when any of that gets shattered just a little bit, it's such a huge fraction. That 1%, 2% against the best players in the world is a big difference maker. And we saw Justin Thomas play pretty good, right? I don't think he embarrassed himself being out there.
Not at all. He was playing by himself a lot, because Spieth was awful.
Spieth was
terrible
in that one. And I think that the biggest takeaway just from the Ryder Cup in general is the fact that, like, the Europeans over there, it's everything to them.
It is.
It's crazy, because you're talking about guys from different countries. They're not playing for their individual country. They're playing for Team Europe, right?
Mm-hmm.
As opposed to we're Americans playing for one flag, like one country. It's USA. And I think it goes to show you two things. One, the importance of junior golf match play Like the Europeans play a ton of match play growing up. They do a lot of that. In the United States, we do very little of it. We do it for the SEC Golf Championship final, but it's a lot of individual stuff in American golf. I think that hurts us kind of growing up. And the other thing too is the fact that, we just don't have that camaraderie, and I think those guys love each other over
They
there.
do.
And I'm not saying that the Americans have a bunch of beef and they don't like each other, but it's just more individual accolades rather than the team aspect of it.
All right. So you attended a Ryder Cup. This was the one at Whistling Straits. Am I right about that?
No, it's Hazeltine, 2016.
Hazeltine, okay. 2016 Hazeltine. The United States wins. The Sunday is widely regarded as one of the most entertaining Sundays.
Right.
Phil Mickelson and Sergio Garcia had one of the greatest singles matches we've ever seen. Very entertaining Sunday, and you were there for it. I am going to, as much as I can, get out of the way and let you tell the story. I've heard this story before multiple times. It really is incredible.
So we had a friend of mine who shall remain nameless on this podcast said, "Hey, why don't you come up to Hazeltine and we can find a way to be inside the ropes for the final day of the Ryder Cup?" I'm like, "Hell yeah, I'm in." Okay, so fly up there. We're inside the ropes. It's great. We're just having a great time. And one of the guys we meet was a pilot, a former pilot for Phil Mickelson. So he's like, "Hey man, if we win this thing, you got to come over to the team hotel. It'll be just the greatest party in the history of the world." We're like, "Well, hell yeah, we'll want to do that, right?" So we see this incredible day of golf. The Americans win, unbelievable matches all day long. So we go back, we shower up, we head out, and it's a Radisson hotel, in Minneapolis. So and that's where the European team and the American team are staying. So we get in like through some side door, that's kind of like creaked open, right? So we're there, and it's this huge lobby, and some of the players are milling around. You see some family members because it's a private, they've blocked it all off, but we got in. And so we noticed that there's like a room like over on the other side where all the players kind of keep ducking into, and that's where you can see like a DJ's playing and everything. I'm like, that's the party we need to sneak into. So me and my buddy there for about an hour, we're just hanging around, and we're like, you know what? We're not going to get into that party. We're texting our guy. He's not answering. Like, it is what it is. Okay. So we start walking down the stairs to get out, and I see the European team room is open. So we're like, we've had 20 cocktails at this time. We're like, screw it. Right. So we just walk in. And we walk in, and there's Sergio playing ping pong, and there's Harrington, and there's Darren Clark, and they're all singing, and Lee Westwood is absolutely hammered. And we're like, dude, we're actually snuck into the European room. Like, this is awesome. We thought they would be despondent, Brownie, and they're having the greatest chanting party. Right. They're just awesome. So we start helping ourselves at the bar, drinking more. Like, why not? What are they going to do? Kick us out now? So finally, we're just like, bro, it's 1 a.m. I got to go. I got a flight home tomorrow. Let's get out of here. So we start going out of the door, and I notice there's like an arrow, at the bottom of the floor. And I'm like, let's just follow this. Why not? Screw it. It's been a crazy night.
It's there for a reason, right? They put an arrow there for a reason. Yeah.
There's got to be a reason. So we go through the side door, then it leads us through the kitchen, then into an elevator. We punch it is like out of a mafia movie, right? So we're like, dude, this might be the way to that private USA party. Like, holy crap, I think we're going to do this. As soon as we walk up, we get off the elevator, there's a security guard there. And he's like, whoa. What are y'all doing? What are you doing? And I'm like, oh, sorry, man. I guess we got lost. And he goes, you need to go that way. Okay. I'm like, yes, sir. Well, come to find out, he had no idea who we were. He thought we were members of the European Ryder Cup team. And he was told, Brownie, if you come off this elevator, tell them to go into this room, which was the private party. So he thought we were like European. We look like golfers. Yeah. Yes. Oh, yeah. And so sure enough, we get in. The first person we bump into is Tiger Woods.
Oh my God.
He's there. We're in this party. There's a DJ playing. It is just absolutely, I've never seen so many people that are just hammered beyond their gourd. So this is where it gets really interesting. So really quick. So right as we get there, like the person in charge of the Ryder Cup comes into this, clear out the room. Everybody out of the room right now. We're like, okay. He's like, if you're not a player, get out of this room. We're like, dude, we just snuck into this thing like 5 minutes ago.
Right.
So me and my buddy are like behind like a partition in the back, like, don't say anything. We're going to get kicked out. They kick everybody out of the room except the players on the team. In comes Darren Clark, and he gives the concession speech for the European team. He
Right.
goes, guys, I just want to let you know this is what the Ryder Cup is all about. It was a hard-fought victory, but this is what the game of golf is personified. It was I'm like almost in tears, right? So it's just the Ryder Cup team, the captains, and me and my buddy overhearing Darren Clark, and we're like, oh my God, do not move, okay? So finally, that happens. They let everybody kind of in this room, and here's my favorite picture of all time. It'll be just 1 second there. So what that picture was, a picture of Jordan Spieth, Jimmy Walker, Lee Westwood, and Tiger Woods, okay? Lee Westwood comes in, and he has had some cocktails, my buddy. He is feeling it. Hey, where's Tiger at? Where's bloody Tiger Woods at? I mean, and we're like, oh my God, there's going to be a fight, right? What is going to happen? And he goes, Tiger, you're lucky you didn't play this week. I would have whooped your fucking butt, And we're like, oh my God, like this is serious. And everybody's just stopped. And then Tiger starts pointing a finger at Lee, and he goes, Lee, I'm injured right now. This is 2016. When I come back, I'm going to absolutely wax your ass on the golf course, right? I mean, they are going back and forth at it, and I'm like, oh my God, they're about to fight. And then finally, to break the whole thing, Lee says, you know what, mate? I'm just messing with you. He grabs Tiger Woods by the back of the head and French kisses him. I swear on everything that is holy in life, I saw Lee Westwood give Tiger Woods a French kiss. It was the craziest thing. Like, Jordan Spieth falls on the ground. Ricky Fowler's like, what is happening right now? Mickelson's like, what in the world? And then they end up having a good time. It was, again, to this day, the wildest. I should not have been there, and the wildest party I've ever been involved in.
Yep. Independently, I've confirmed this story. The friend he has not named is a mutual friend of mine and Peter's. And after Peter told me the story, I was like, dude, is this real? Oh, yeah, it's totally real.
Thank you.
So it's not that I didn't trust you, Bernsey. It's just an incredible story.
I don't trust myself. Even after I tell the story, I'm like, did that really happen? And it literally was the text to our buddies the next day. And I'm like, did we see what we think we saw? And they're like, yeah. We also overheard a conversation of Tiger hearing Phil Mickelson tell somebody that Mickelson thought he played the greatest round in the history of golf that day. I mean, it was
very on brand. Yes.
It was a fig jam. I'm good. Yep. Just ask me.
That's right. Yep. That's the nickname for a reason. He's earned that one. All right. It is the Burnout with Peter Burns. It's an incredible story. I love hearing him tell it. Don't forget mybookie.ag code next round. When you sign up, you make that deposit, you get a special sign-on bonus with mybookie.ag. When you use code next round, bet anything, anytime, anywhere. mybookie.ag code next round. Also lanceslight.com for all your plays. He's heating up in baseball now with the postseason, but he's been red hot in football. You can get on board right now with lanceslight.com and roback.com for the hoodies like Burns he's wearing, the quarter zips, the golf shirts, all at roback.com. TNR20 on your first purchase will save you 20%. All right, Burnsy, have a great week. It's always fun, buddy.
See ya.